exuding an air of dominance. Shun Shiyan, unaccustomed to such an intimidating atmosphere, felt his heart race uncontrollably. Zhou Yuqin remained as steadfast as a mountain, lifting his coffee cup to sip before asking, Shiyan, who did you borrow the money from? Shen Shiyan pointed to Ji Zhigua, saying, this is President Ji. Zhou Yuqin acknowledged with an O. Then bypassed Zhang Yabe to address Ji Zhigua directly. President Ji, we have brought the funds. I trust you have the agreement and promissory note with you? Ji Zhigua remained silent, directing his gaze toward Zhang Yabe. Bang! Zhou Yuqin slammed his palm on the table, exuding a commanding presence. His eyes colder than Zhang Yabe's as he fixed an unyielding stare on Ji Zhigua. I am speaking to you. Did you not hear me, or are you mute? Chapter 298. Negotiations. Shen Shiyan was taken aback by Zhou Yuqin's domineering demeanor, his initial anxiety swiftly dissipating. Zhou Yuqin's actions startled Ji Zhigua as well, who asked, who are you? I am Zhou Yuqin, Shen Shiyan's future brother-in-law. Future brother-in-law? Ji Zhigua scoffed. Then Mr. Zhou has no right to sit here. Shen Shiyan quickly interjected. My brother-in-law is here at my behest. He will oversee all matters today, including the repayment of your 26 million loan. Zhou Yuqin added. It is only right to repay debts. We have no intention of defaulting. However, I fail to understand why this gentleman and his muscular associates are present. Are they perhaps here to rob us? Finally breaking his silence, Zhang Yabe spoke. I am Zhang Qi's father, Zhang Yabe. Zhou, there is no need for theatrics. It serves no purpose with me. I can offer 5 billion in exchange for a word from Director Shen. What do you think? Shen Shiyan responded. I informed my father of the situation President Ji outlined last night. I believe you can surmise the outcome. Mr. Zhang, I regret to say my father did not acquiesce and reprimanded me severely. Zhang Yabe's eyes reddened, his voice hoarse. He is my only son. If he dies, I am capable of anything. Shen Shiyan was taken aback by the murderous intent emanating from Zhang Yabe, instinctively leaning back. Zhou Yuqin extended a hand to steady him, saying, Mr. Zhang, what do you mean by that? Are you threatening us? Zhang Yabe coldly replied, I merely wish for my son to live. Zhou Yuqin stated, whether he lives or dies is a matter for the judge and the lawyers. Our only concern is the 26 million. We repay the debt, you receive the payment. Is there a problem? Zhang Yabe, like a tiger ready to pounce, revealed a fierce expression, yet his words were, Mr. Zhou, Mr. Shun. Consider this a plea from Zhang Yabe. Zhou Yuqin sighed, Mr. Zhang, this approach is truly futile. As far as I understand, the second hearing for Zhang Qi is scheduled for the end of this month, in 15 days, while our repayment deadline is in 20 days. If you choose to decline, we will settle after the trial concludes. As for justifiable defense or excessive defense, my future father-in-law cannot manipulate the situation. Even if he could, he would not violate his principles to engage in such actions. At this juncture, Zhou Yuqin retrieved his phone, activated the recording function, and placed it on the table, stating, I will ask one last time. Mr. Zhang, President Ji, I have brought the 26 million owed by Shen Shiyan. Will you accept it or not? We accept. Zhang Yabe cast a deep glance at him before gesturing to Ji Zhigua. Ji Zhigua retrieved the agreement and 2 promissory notes from his bag and handed them to Shen Shiyan. After Shen Shiyan confirmed their validity, he nodded at Zhou Yuqin. Zhou Yuqin produced 3 checks and handed them to Ji Zhigua, stating, these checks, issued by Xiagua Commercial Bank, have a password of 123,456. You may verify their authenticity. Zhang Yabe interjected, no need. We can discern the authenticity of the checks ourselves. Zhou Yuqin rose, declaring, then let Shen Shiyan's collaboration with your company conclude here. I hope there will not be a next time. Shiyan, let us depart. All right. Shen Shiyan followed Zhou Yuqin as they exited the cafe, with the 4 plainclothes officers trailing closely behind. As the leading police officer passed by Zhang Yabe's table, he cast a fierce glance in his direction. Once they departed, Zhang Yabe lit a cigarette and picked up his phone, sending a terse message. Take action. A swift reply came. On it. Zhang Yabe removed his SIM card, snapping it in half, and murmured, since you refuse our hospitality, allow me to offer you a taste of punishment instead. He coughed violently, covering his mouth. Ji Zhigua promptly handed him a handkerchief, which Zhang Yabe used just in time to expel a mouthful of blood. It became evident that he was gravely ill, resorting to desperate measures to save his only son, lest the empire he had painstakingly built fall into oblivion. On the journey home, Shen Shiyan rolled down the car window, incinerating the IOU. Zhou Yuqin, exasperated, remarked, could you exhibit a modicum of civic responsibility? Shen Shiyan retorted, I am now free of debt. Zhou Yuqin chuckled, debt-free? Mr. Shun, let us not forget that you still owe me an IOU of 260 million. Shen Shiyan shrugged nonchalantly, no matter. I shall have my sister discreetly retrieve and burn that IOU in due time. Zhou Yuqin teased, your calculations are rather astute. How do you assess your performance in today's negotiations? Shen Shiyan paused, forcing a smile. Terrible. Zhang Yabe appears utterly deranged, and I confess, he frightens me a bit. Brother-in-law, are you not the least bit afraid? Zhou Yuqin smiled wryly. Have you forgotten? I am a consultant for the police technical division. Even if there were 10 Zhang Yabes, they would merely be insignificant to me. However, one must always be cautious. Zhang Yabe's obsession with his son means that his son's fate hinges on whether Uncle Shen concedes. I fear he might resort to desperate measures. Shen Shiyan's expression turned grave. Are you implying he might kidnap us to pressure my father? Zhou Yuqin nodded. It is a possibility. Shen Shiyan responded. Then the most vulnerable one is likely Xiaoya. Zhou Yuqin's eyes gleamed. Today, your sister will take Xiaoya to the Fairyland amusement park. Shen Shiyan urged. We must hurry to the amusement park. Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow. Aren't you afraid? Shen Shiyan declared resolutely. I am not. The safety of my sister and Xiaoya is paramount. Zhou Yuqin gave him an approving thumbs up, praising, you are quite the man. At that moment, Shen Shiyan's phone rang. A text message alert. He glanced at it. It was from Ji Zhigua. Zhang Yabe is terminally ill and has sent someone to abduct Zhou Xinyue. Shen Shiyan was momentarily bewildered, asking, who is Zhou Xinyue? Zhou Yuqin rolled his eyes and snapped. Zhou Xinyue is Xiaoya. What kind of uncle are you? Shen Shiyan cursed under his breath, dialing Shun Jingyun's number in a panic. Zhang Yabe intends to kidnap Xiaoya. Zhou Yuqin glanced at him, a slight smile forming. Chapter 299. Turning the tables. Hello? Sure to. Are you finished with your tasks? Sister, someone is attempting to abduct Xiaoya. Please take her to the nearest police station. You need not worry. Those individuals have already been apprehended. What? Shen Shiyan looked bewildered at Zhou Yuqin, who leaned closer to his phone, asking, Darling, when will you arrive at Fairyland amusement park? In about 20 minutes. What a coincidence. I will also take approximately 20 minutes. Let us meet at the east gate of the underground parking lot. No problem. After hanging up, Shen Shiyan furrowed his brows, pondering for a moment before realizing. Did you suspect they would kidnap Xiaoya all along? Zhou Yuqin smiled. Indeed. Their movements have been under our surveillance. It turned out that Shen Qingang had called Zhou Yuqin the previous night, informing him that he had dispatched someone to investigate Zhang Yabe. Discovering that he had cancer and not much time left, Zhou Yuqin immediately deduced that Zhang Yabe might resort to extreme measures to protect his only son. Consequently, he had Xian Yanhai bring several men to Lijiang Garden, where they observed a suspicious van parked at the entrance. At 6 a.m, 2 tattooed men emerged from the van and entered Lijiang Garden. Xian Yanhai followed them, noting that they headed directly to the underground parking area where Zhou Yuqin was, observing for a while before reporting back. Upon receiving Xian Yanhai's update, Zhou Yuqin notified Shen Qingang, who swiftly dispatched over 10 plainclothes officers to monitor them. The outcome was predictable. Just as the group received orders to act, they were arrested by the officers, exemplifying the phrase before the battle begins. One has already met their demise. After hearing Zhou Yuqin's account, Shen Shiyan questioned, if it was so dangerous, why did you still allow my sister and Xiaoya to go to the amusement park? Zhou Yuqin replied calmly, they are merely a band of clowns. There is no need to alter our family's routine for their sake. Besides, the security detail protecting them consists of 6 seasoned veterans, each battle-hardened. So I have no reservations. Such a commanding presence. Shen Shiyan marveled at Zhou Yuqin's strategic demeanor, suddenly reminded of these words. After a lengthy silence, Shen Shiyan sighed. In your and my father's eyes, do you think I seem particularly naive? Zhou Yuqin chuckled. To be honest, a bit. You have just stepped out of the ivory tower and remain unaware of the treachery of the world. Once you have experienced more and become a seasoned veteran, these devious tricks will seem trivial. Shen Shiyan shook his head, saying, family knows family matters. I will never become like you or my father. This incident has revealed to me the extent of my folly, and the most frightening part is that I was oblivious to my own ignorance, mistakenly believing myself to be astute. Reflecting on it now, it is nothing short of a farce. Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow. It seems the Zhang Yabe incident has left you quite reflective. Shen Shiyan bitterly smiled. It could be described as the most vivid and educational lesson in society. I would rate my classroom performance a perfect 10, and I owe that score to your assistance, which fills me with shame. Zhou Yuqin patted his shoulder. Do not be disheartened. I believe that with your intelligence, you will soon pass. Shen Shiyan's heart stirred. Let me pose a question. Can you guess who informed me that Zhang Yabe would kidnap Xiaoya? Zhou Yuqin laughed. This question is quite simple. Who else but the ever-loyal Ji Zhigua? Shen Shiyan's eyes widened in shock. How did you deduce that? Zhou Yuqin replied. It was all in the eyes. Today was my first encounter with Ji Zhigua. From his gaze, I discerned an uncontainable ambition. Zhang Yabe is terminally ill and soon to meet his end. His son, Zhang Qi, is a murderer, likely facing the death penalty. Given these circumstances, how could Ji Zhigua, the vice president of Yabe Group with a promising future, involve himself in a kidnapping scheme with Jean Yabe? On the surface, Ji Jigua dared not defy Jean Yabe's orders. Yet discreetly extricating himself was undoubtedly the most prudent course of action at this juncture. Shen Shiyan marveled, "Brother-in-law, you are truly astute." It was an easy deduction. However, Zhou Yuqin paused, brought the car to a halt by the roadside, his gaze icy as he said, "Ji Jigua has made a grievous mistake. Shiyan, you have three choices. If you seek vengeance against Ji Jigua, simply call Jean Yabe and inform him of the message Ji Jigua sent you. I assure you, Ji Jigua will not survive the next 12 hours. If your aim is to retaliate against Jean Yabe, the solution is even simpler. Send a message to Ji Jigua demanding he hand over evidence of Jean Yabe's crimes to the police by 5 this afternoon. Should he fail to comply, inform him that you will disclose this message to Jean Yabe. Alternatively, you may choose to do nothing and quietly observe as events unfold. Shiyan, make your choice." Turn the tables. Shen Shiyan was left utterly astounded by Zhou Yuqin's maneuvering. The power of a single message to dictate the fate of two individuals left him profoundly shaken. He swallowed hard and said, I choose the third option, to do nothing. After all, Jean Yabe is destined to die." Zhou Yuqin sighed. "You still need to hone your skills. Hand me your phone." Shen Shiyan, somewhat perplexed, complied. Zhou Yuqin opened the phone case, extracted his SIM card, and replaced it with a new one from his pocket. Observing Ji Jigua's number on Shen Shiyan's phone, he sent a text message. The message was straightforward. "Ji Jigua. This is Shen Shiyan. You are to compile all evidence of Jean Yabe as criminal activities and submit it to the police by 5 o'clock this afternoon. Failure to do so will result in the public revelation of your betrayal against Jean Yabe, and you will bear the consequences." Once the task was accomplished, Zhou Yuqin promptly destroyed the SIM card used for sending the message and replaced it with his own, handing the phone back to the utterly stunned Shen Shiyan. He smiled slightly and said, "If Ji Jigua calls you, claim that this message was not sent by you, just in case he attempts to record you. Do you understand?" Shen Shiyan snapped back to reality and replied, "Understood. You wish to keep me out of the conflict between Ji Jigua and Jean Yabe." Zhou Yuqin started the car and chuckled, "Precisely." Chapter 300. Shen Shiyan's transformation. Shen Shiyan asked, "Brother-in-law, why are you doing this?" Zhou Yuqin replied nonchalantly, "Firstly, Jean Yabe sent people to kidnap Xiaoya, an act I, as a father, cannot tolerate. I seek retribution. Secondly, Jean Yabe is a cornered beast, and at this moment, he poses a greater danger than anyone else in the world. While those thugs have been apprehended by the police, they will not betray Jean Yabe. Consequently, the police have no grounds to arrest him. Without his arrest, who can predict the extent of the peril he may unleash? Shiyan, remember this. You must never allow anyone the opportunity to harm our loved ones. Otherwise, you will regret it for the rest of your life." Shen Shiyan remained silent for a long while before replying, "I will remember." As for Zhou Yuqin, Shen Shiyan now held him in utmost respect, no longer harboring thoughts of contesting his wisdom. Upon arriving at the eastern entrance of the underground parking lot at the Ferry Amusement Park, Shen Shiyan received a call from Ji Jigua. "Mr. Shen, I am helping you. You cannot harm me like this." "What do you mean, Mr. Ji? I am not quite following." Shen Shiyan feigned ignorance. "Did you not ask me to gather evidence of Mr. Zhang's illegal activities? Have you made a mistake? When did I request you to collect evidence against Mr. Zhang? Wait, are you implying that Mr. Zhang has engaged in illegal activities?" Zhou Yuqin, standing nearby, smiled slightly and gave Shen Shiyan a thumbs up. "No, of course not. Then why the urgency and fear? All right, Mr. Ji, please refrain from calling me again. I wish to sever all ties with you and Mr. Zhang." Before Ji Jigua could finish speaking, Shen Shiyan abruptly hung up. Ji Jigua called 3 more times, but Shen Shiyan ignored all of them. After a while, Shen Jingyun, Zhou Qing, and Xiaoya appeared before Zhou Yuqin, accompanied by 6 or 7 security personnel. Upon seeing Zhou Yuqin, Xiaoya rushed forward, exclaiming, "Daddy." "Sweetheart," Zhou Yuqin replied, lifting Xiaoya and planting a hearty kiss on her cheek before addressing Xian Yanhai. "Old Xian, thank you for your hard work." Xian Yanhai replied, "It was my duty." Shen Shiyan did not accompany them into the amusement park. He had sustained injuries and needed to return home to change his dressings and rest adequately. Zhou Yuqin instructed Xian Yanhai and a security brother to escort him back to the government compound. Upon arriving home, Shen Shiyan found his father, Shen Qinggang, seated on the sofa, engrossed in a book. Hesitating for a moment, he plopped down beside him. Shen Qinggang glanced at him from the corner of his eye, set his book aside, and asked, "Is something the matter?" Shen Shiyan picked up his father's teacup and drank all the tea inside, saying, "Dad, I'm sorry for disappointing you and Mom." Shen Qinggang was taken aback by Shen Shiyan, who had always prided himself on his image, admitting such a thing. "Have you taken leave of your senses?" At that moment, Dai Wan, who was cooking in the kitchen, emerged, astonished at Shun Shiyan's demeanor. Throughout his life, Shun Shiyan had often been compelled to admit fault, but this time felt markedly different. He wore a bitter expression and confessed, "I have always believed myself to be quite clever. Despite my poor academic performance, I excel in other areas. However, this incident has revealed that among everyone, I am the most foolish. Even Ji Zhigua surpasses me, not to mention my brother-in-law." Shen Qinggang's interest piqued. "It seems that having Xiao Zhou accompany you to the negotiation has left a profound impact. Please recount the entire process to me in detail." Shen Shiyan appeared transformed, openly discussing his dismal performance without reservation, recounting the events from start to finish. Upon hearing how Zhou Yuqin had skillfully utilized Ji Zhigua's text message to turn the tables and compel him to expose Zhang Yabe, Shen Qinggang's eyes sparkled with excitement. And he slapped his thigh, exclaiming, "Well done." Daiwan gasped. Xiao Zhou's methods are truly ruthless, forcing Ji Zhigua to the edge of a precipice. Shen Qinggang retorted, "What ruthlessness? This is wisdom." Xiao Zhou is correct. Zhang Yabe is indeed the most dangerous individual at present. In his desperation to save his son, he is capable of committing any act. The optimal solution is to obtain evidence of his crimes and imprison him. Daiwan nodded in agreement. Yes, you are right. Turning his attention to Shun Shiyan, Shen Qinggang remarked, "In negotiations, you presented a facade of strength while being indecisive in action, lacking sound judgment. Xiao Zhou's 3 choices for you were a test, and yet you chose the third option, doing nothing, an undeniably foolish decision. However, your willingness to candidly acknowledge your poor performance is commendable. One can only truly change by confronting one's faults and weaknesses." Daiwan nodded. "Indeed, this represents significant progress." Shen Shiyan added, "Dad, Mom, on my way back, I contemplated much. I have decided to postpone my entrepreneurial ambitions for now." Daiwan blinked in surprise and asked, "What do you intend to do instead?" Shen Shiyan remarked, "Once I have finished dealing with the house purchase, I wish to join my brother-in-law's Kunping group for a while to enhance my skills. When I feel adequately trained, I will depart." Daiwan responded with a smile. "That sounds promising. What do you think, old Shen?" Shen Qinggang was genuinely pleased with Shun Shiyan's decision, yet maintained a stoic demeanor as he replied, "Your brother-in-law's Kunping batteries and chargers have already attained global supremacy, having established cooperative agreements with various mobile phone manufacturers worldwide. You may enter for training, but you must not interfere with the significant matters of Kunping Group." Shen Shiyan nodded, affirming, "I understand." Shen Qinggang hesitated momentarily before inquiring, "Are your injuries all healed?" Shen Shiyan feigned a pained expression, exclaiming, "Dad, now that you've mentioned it, I truly feel unbearable pain." Shen Qinggang chuckled, "With such poor acting, you might as well enroll in a film academy." Shen Shiyan burst into laughter. Daiwan, smiling, found her eyes unwittingly beginning to glisten. After so many years, it was the first time she had seen Shen Shiyan laugh so heartily in front of Shen Qinggang. During dinner, Shen Qinggang received a report from the police department, indicating that someone had sent over a recording of Zhang Yabe's subordinate abducting Zhou Xinyue. Shen Qinggang immediately recognized that Zhou Yuqing's tactic to intimidate Ji Zhigua had been effective. The recording was undoubtedly delivered by Ji Zhigua himself. Shen Qinggang ordered the police to proceed with the normal arrest protocol, ensuring that the enforcement was scrupulous. If Zhang Yabe's health was compromised, he could remain in the hospital under surveillance. In any case, they must not lose sight of Zhang Yabe. Chapter 301. The dust settles without witnesses. A solitary recording cannot serve as a basis for a court conviction, yet it is sufficient to identify Zhang Yabe as a suspect. Soon, the police apprehended Zhang Yabe. That evening, Shun Shiyan called Zhou Yuqing. "Brother-in-law, Ji Zhigua is dead. How did he die?" "In a car accident. It seems Zhang Yabe is quite capable." "Are you suggesting that Zhang Yabe knew Ji Zhigua betrayed him and thus dispatched someone to eliminate him? Isn't that the case?" "Shiyan, please do not tell me you believe this accident was merely incidental. I also think it was Zhang Yabe's doing, but I am just struggling to accept it for the moment. The phrase business is like war pertains not only to mere commercial competition. At times, it also involves the lives of leaders. I was too naive in the past. Brother-in-law, after I wrap up your property project, may I train at your Kunping group for a while?" "Of course. Which department do you wish to join?" "The marketing department." "Why?" "Because the marketing department allows direct interaction with clients, thereby comprehensively enhancing one's abilities. Over 80% of wealthy individuals have previously worked in the marketing department." "Very well." After hanging up, a smile crept onto Zhou Yuqing's lips. "This fellow seems somewhat different. Have you encountered some good fortune?" Shen Jingyun, who had just finished bathing the little girl, emerged from the bathroom and inquired curiously upon seeing Zhou Yuqing's smile. Shiyan actively volunteered to train in the marketing department of Kunping Group. "Don't you think that's a good sign?" "Really? That's wonderful." Shen Jingyun's face radiated surprise. In the past, Shen Shiyan had always held himself in high regard. He would never have considered deigning to work at Kunpeng Group. Now, his willingness to propose such a notion reflects a significant advancement. Zhou Yuqing remarked, the marketing department requires dealing with a diverse array of individuals. To thrive in such an environment is no simple feat for anyone. At least, I cannot manage it. Shen Jingyan chuckled. Since when has our Zhou become so humble? Zhou Yuqing shrugged. I have no issue with research and management, but when it comes to human resources, I genuinely struggle. I possess enough self-awareness in this regard. Shen Jingyan commented, if Shiyan could possess a clear understanding of himself like you, it would be splendid. Zhou Yuqing replied, it is never too late. At that moment, the little girl's voice emerged from the bedroom. Daddy, I want to hear a story. All right, Daddy will come right over. Shen Jingyan whispered. Do not forget to tell her that you will be traveling tomorrow. Otherwise, she will surely create a scene. Zhou Yuqing reassured her. Do not worry, I won't forget. Entering the bedroom, Zhou Yuqing embraced the little girl, regaling her with a story. The little girl particularly adored Zhou Yuqing's embrace, her eyes closed, a smile gracing her lips as she relished the moment. After narrating a story, Zhou Yuqing deemed it sufficient and mentioned his upcoming trip. As expected, upon hearing this, the little girl burst into tears. In the study, Shen Jingyan shook her head, feeling a profound sympathy for Zhou Yuqing. Yet she had no intention of joining him in comforting the child. Zhou Yuqing employed every sweet word he could muster, signing a series of unequal treaties before finally pacifying the little girl. Upon exiting the bedroom, he found himself sweating profusely. This little one is becoming increasingly difficult to manage. Zhou Yuqing lamented. Shen Jingyan chuckled. What? Can't you endure it? Zhou Yuqing replied, I can manage. Dear, I will be away for 4 or 5 days. Shouldn't you put on a good show tonight? Shen Jingyan stood up, approaching him, and softly said, Go take a bath. Zhou Yuqing embraced Shen Jingyan, exclaiming, Let us bathe together. Soon, peculiar sounds emanated from the bathroom. The following day, Zhou Yuqing led the technical department of Kunpeng Group to various battery factories for research. They began by touring their own factories and then proceeded to those that operated as subcontractors, including the battery plants of Nanming Group and Xingshan Group, which exclusively supplied their brand of mobile phones. Both companies expressed their full endorsement of Zhou Yuqing's meticulous work ethic. 5 days later, all the battery manufacturing plants were inspected, revealing over 20 issues of varying severity. It was not a matter of the quality of the batteries and chargers, but rather that certain safety hazards existed within those factories. After compiling the findings, Zhou Yuqing immediately dispatched a list of safety concerns, demanding resolution within a week. It is crucial to understand that these factories are involved in the supply of batteries and chargers. Any incident could potentially lead to breaches of contract for Kunpeng Group, which Zhou Yuqing absolutely cannot tolerate. The factory owners took Zhou Yuqing's safety concerns very seriously and promptly initiated corrective measures. They had no choice. They worried even more about the consequences of a breach than Kunpeng Group did. The reason was simple. According to the agreement, if the factories failed to deliver within the stipulated time frame, they would have to compensate Kunpeng Group for any losses incurred. Not to mention the penalties Kunpeng Group faced from mobile manufacturers would be sufficient to bankrupt them, leaving them with no option but to take this matter seriously. With the work successfully completed, Zhou Yuqing treated the brothers who accompanied him on the business trip to his celebratory meal. By the time he returned home, it was already 11 o'clock at night. Shen Jingyan had just lulled the little girl to sleep and was surprised to see Zhou Yuqing return with an additional suitcase. Darling, how much did you buy? Zhou Yuqing chuckled. I mainly bought some local specialties to give to my parents and your parents tomorrow. Shen Jingyan opened the box and found it filled with various food items. Did you not buy any toys for Xiaoye? She inquired. Zhou Yuqing replied. How could I not? The trunk and the seats still have 2 travel cases, one of which contains Xiaoye's toys. I'll go fetch them. Shen Jingyan sighed. Just a toy or 2 would suffice. Why did you buy so many? There's hardly enough space in Xiaoye's room. Zhou Yuqing reassured her, it's all right. Once we move to the villa, we'll have a separate room just for her, and there will be ample space for all her toys. Shen Jingyan retorted, You're just indulging her. Zhou Yuqing defended, She is my precious daughter. Who else should I indulge? Afterward, he went downstairs to retrieve the 2 suitcases. Zhou Yuqing asked Shen Jingyan to organize their belongings while he took some clothes and entered the bathroom. When he emerged, Shen Jingyan had already tidied everything up. The box contained only a few of Zhou Yuqing's clothes and some writing supplies. Shen Jingyan curiously asked, Darling, why did you buy writing supplies? Are you practicing calligraphy? Zhou Yuqing nodded. Tomorrow, I will visit my mentor, Professor Wu Zhenhua. His son is the mayor of Yunhai City, Wu Qingyuan. If I were to present him with an extravagant gift, he would undoubtedly refuse. After much consideration, I decided to give him a piece of my own calligraphy. Chapter 302. Masterful calligraphy. Having acquired advanced skills in running script, Zhou Yuqing had yet to put them to practical use. Just the day before, Professor Wu Jinhua called him, inviting him over for dinner. Zhou Yuqin readily accepted, but he could not arrive empty-handed. Apart from being an esteemed economist, Wu Jinhua had a profound passion for calligraphy and was a member of the National Calligraphy Association. Hence, Zhou Yuqin spent a considerable sum on the finest writing supplies available, intending to create a piece for Professor Wu. Shun Jingyan smiled. That's a lovely idea, but can your calligraphy truly stand out? Since we've met, I've never seen you practice. Zhou Yuqin confidently replied, I excel in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. A mere piece of calligraphy is a trivial matter. Intrigued, Shun Jingyan suggested, I'll prepare the ink. You write. How does that sound? Zhou Yuqin responded. That would be a labor of love from the beautiful Shun. Half an hour later, everything was ready. Zhou Yuqin stood at the table, picked up the brush, dipped it in ink, and without hesitation, fluidly wrote 10 large characters. Yun He Qian Yen Shou. Song Song Wan Gu Qing. The characters were dynamic and ethereal, flowing freely, yet their structure remained meticulous and orderly. After finishing, he took out his pre-prepared seal and stamped it in the lower right corner, smiling as he said, Wife, I noticed several pieces of calligraphy on your parents' walls. You must be somewhat familiar with calligraphy. What do you think? Shun Jingyun, without modesty, approached the table and examined the work seriously, remarking, It is fluid, graceful, and powerful. The harmony of motion and stillness, the connection of meaning and form, this can undoubtedly be considered a masterpiece. The calligraphy in our home was acquired by my mother for over 200,000. Among them are 2 pieces in running script. In comparison, they pale next to yours. Zhou Yuqin gave her a thumbs up, saying, The phrase the connection of meaning and form reveals your keen understanding of running script. Shun Jingyan urged, Darling, write another piece for my mother to appraise. Zhou Yuqin asked, What shall I write? Without hesitation, she said, Su Dongpa Shui, Diao Gu Tu, Ming Yu Ji Shi Yu. My mother adores that poem. Zhou Yuqin sighed. It's quite lengthy and requires larger paper. I'll go fetch some. Shun Jingyun promptly replaced the paper with a 4-foot sheet of Xian paper. Thankfully, the table was spacious enough. Otherwise, the paper would not have fit. Zhou Yuqin did not write immediately. Instead, he closed his eyes, centering himself. Composing a lengthy calligraphy piece is no small feat. Even a slight misstep could ruin everything. Hence top calligraphers often seek a feeling before they begin. After about 3 minutes, Zhou Yuqin opened his eyes, picked up the brush, dipped it in ink, and immersed himself in crafting this timeless ode to the moon. Watching Zhou Yuqin's gentle, wise gaze, his elegant movements, and his natural demeanor, Shun Jingyun felt an overwhelming surge of affection. From the moment he picked up the brush to when he stamped the seal, the entire process was seamless. Without a moment's pause, Darling, how does it look? Zhou Yuqin asked proudly. Shun Jingyun, lost in admiration, did not respond to his masterpiece. Her gaze was dreamy, her expression soft as spring water, and she embraced his neck, calling out, Husband. Zhou Yuqin, not oblivious to her demeanor, could no longer contain himself. He set down the brush and swept Shun Jingyun into his arms. A thrilling battle unfolded from the study to the living room and ultimately culminated in the bedroom. The next morning at 10, Zhou Yuqin visited a fruit shop to buy some premium fruits and, along with his calligraphy work, arrived at the new science community where Professor Wu Jinhua resided. The new science community was an older neighborhood, just over 1,000 meters from Yunhai University, making it a popular choice among faculty members. Professor Wu had taught at Yunhai University for 24 years and had resided in the new science community for the same duration. Even after retirement, he had not moved away. Knock, knock, knock. Zhou Yuqin rapped on the door. Creak. The door swung open to reveal a beautiful face. That of Jiang Wanyue, whom he had met at the hospital. Brother Zhou, please come in. Zhou Yuqin was taken aback to see Jiang Wanyue and smiled. Jiang Jr.'s sister. Hello. Upon entering the living room, Zhou Yuqin spotted Professor Wu Jinhua. Compared to their previous encounter at the hospital, Professor Wu appeared significantly healthier. Professor, I sincerely apologize for not visiting you sooner, Zhou Yuqin said. Professor Wu waved his hand dismissively. I've heard you've been quite busy lately, and your company has achieved great success. Well done. Zhou Yuqin placed the fruits and calligraphy on the coffee table, smiling, to receive such praise from you. Professor, I must indeed be doing well. Ha ha, Professor Wu laughed. A graceful middle-aged woman emerged from the kitchen carrying a fruit platter. Dad, this must be your most accomplished disciple. Xiaozhou, right? Professor Wu affirmed, indeed. Xiaozhou, this is your Aunt Zhu. Upon hearing that the mayor's wife was named Zhu, Zhou Yuqin promptly stood and greeted her politely. Aunt Zhu, it's a pleasure to meet you. Zhu Li set down the platter and smiled. No need for formalities. Please have a seat. Professor Wu glanced at the gifts Zhou Yuqin brought and furrowed his brow. Yuqin, why did you bring gifts to my home? Are you treating me as an outsider? Zhou Yuqin replied. Professor, this is my first visit. I thought it appropriate to bring some fruits. This isn't about being an outsider. It's a matter of courtesy. Professor Wu inquired, and what about this calligraphy? It must have cost quite a bit. Zhou Yuqin smiled and said, Professor, this piece indeed comes from the hand of a master. It is his first work. Knowing your fondness for calligraphy, I thought to present it to you. Professor Wu's expression darkened. Regardless of which master created it, you should take it back. You ought to learn from Wang Yue in this aspect. At his outburst, the atmosphere in the living room became noticeably tense. Zhang Wanyue sensed the precarious atmosphere and sought to ease the tension. Zhou Yuqing chuckled and remarked, Teacher, what if I told you that this calligraphy master is actually me? What would you think? Wu Jinhua was taken aback and asked, You wrote this? Zhou Yuqing rolled his eyes and replied, Teacher, could you please refrain from looking at me with such skepticism? During my time in Sioux City, I had plenty of free time and practiced running script every evening in my rented room. After several years, I was astonished to find that my calligraphy was almost on par with Wang Shiji, so I decided to stop practicing. With that, Zhu Li and Jiang Wanyue could no longer contain their laughter. Wu Jinhua, both amused and exasperated, said, You, my boy, are quite the braggart. Chapter 303. The admiration of the crowd. Zhou Yuqing stood up and declared, Whether I'm boasting or not, you will find out shortly. Allow me to demonstrate. Jiang Wanyue, suppressing her laughter, picked up the calligraphy work Zhou Yuqing had brought and gently unfolded it. The 10 grand characters, clouds and cranes, 1,000 years of longevity, ancient pines, evergreen appeared before Wu Jinhua's eyes. Oh, Wu Jinhua exclaimed, quickly donning his reading glasses to scrutinize the work. Zhu Li, seemingly knowledgeable about calligraphy, praised. The flow is like water, the form breaks, yet the essence remains. Truly exquisite. Seeing the awe on their faces, Jiang Wanyue couldn't help but glance down. Although she was not well versed in calligraphy, she could tell that the 10 characters were exceptionally beautiful. What a talent! Jiang Wanyue mused inwardly. Wu Jinhua inspected the signature and indeed found Zhou Yuqing's name, yet his eyes still brimmed with doubt. Yuqing, you didn't have someone else write this and simply used your signature, did you? Zhu Li interjected, Dad, what are you saying? Little Zhou, don't mind him. Your teacher doesn't mean it that way. Realizing he had misspoken, Wu Jinhua explained, I am merely struggling to believe it. Zhou Yuqing smiled and asked, Teacher, which calligrapher from Xia country do you think could produce such running script? Wu Jinhua pondered over the 10 characters for a moment, then shook his head. None. Not a single one. Even that old fellow Chao Wangda, the president of the Xia Country Calligraphy Association, seems slightly inferior. His running script is rather rigid and weighty. Unlike your free-spirited style. Zhou Yuqing replied, This is the first piece I created since mastering the art. If you don't want it, I shall take it back. Who said I don't want it? Wu Jinhua quickly exclaimed, Wanyue, hurry and put it away. In a while, the Xia Country Calligraphy Association will gather in Yunhai. And I intend to take this piece to give them a good shock. Let us see if those old geezers still act so arrogantly. Jiang Wanyue laughed, Teacher, your disciple is right here. You could ask him to create a larger piece to truly astonish them. Wu Jinhua's eyes lit up. Yuqing, what do you think? Zhou Yuqing responded, I have no objections. Splendid. Come, follow me to the study. Wu Jinhua took Zhou Yuqing's hand and led him into his study, where brushes, ink, paper, and inkstones were readily available, indicating that he had just practiced calligraphy that morning. While grinding the ink, Zhou Yuqing inquired, Teacher, what would you like me to write? Wu Jinhua contemplated for a moment and said, Chow Chow short song. All right, Zhou Yuqing replied. 10 minutes later, a piece of calligraphy titled Short Song was completed. Setting down the brush, Zhou Yuqing gestured for Wu Jinhua to take a look. Wu Jinhua, unable to contain his excitement, immediately approached, first observing the overall composition before bending down to appreciate it word by word. After finishing, Wu Jinhua raised his head, his expression one of disbelief, a masterpiece. Yuqing, have you really only practiced for 3 or 4 years? Zhou Yuqing held up 2 fingers and clarified, Actually, it has been 2.5 years. Yesterday was the first time I wrote in over a year. My hands were a bit rusty. He stated this to project an image of himself as a prodigy, hoping to dispel any future doubts about his accomplishments in other areas. The secret of the all-encompassing cultivation system was something Zhou Yuqing had to guard fiercely. No one could know. Otherwise, he risked becoming a mere guinea pig in an experiment. Wu Jinhua seemed quite disheartened, his expression turning bitter. I have been practicing calligraphy since my 20s, and after 50 years, my skill is still far below yours, which you have achieved in just 2.5 years. Truly, comparing people can be infuriating. Zhou Yuqing reassured him, Perhaps I possess a certain talent for calligraphy. Wu Jinhua shot him a glance and replied, It seems you have an abundance of talents. Zhou Yuqing shrugged, No matter how impressive I am still your student. Indeed, Wu Jinhua laughed heartily. Father, what delightful event has brought you such joy? Wu Qingyuan entered the study, pushing the door open. Zhou Yuqing promptly greeted him, Mayor Wu, good day. Wu Qingyuan waved his hand, saying, "Little Zhou, since you are at my home, just call me Uncle Wu." Zhou Yuqing smiled. "All right, Uncle Wu." "Wow, Dad. When did your calligraphy improve so much?" Wu Qingyuan marveled at the short song laid out before him. Wu Jinhua exchanged a knowing glance with Zhou Yuqing and proudly stated, "After many years of practice, a bit of progress is to be expected." Wu Qingyuan shook his head. "This is not just a bit of progress. It is a transformation beyond recognition. It's as if you are a different person." "Oh, Dad, this is not your work, is it?" Wu Jinhua sighed. "If only I could produce such remarkable calligraphy." "Qingyuan, can you guess which master penned this piece?" Wu Qingyuan pondered for a while and said, "There are only a handful of calligraphers alive today who could achieve this level of running script. It seems none can match it." "Dad, stop teasing. Could this possibly be Zhou's work?" Wu Jinhua chuckled. "Indeed, it is Zhou Yuqing's recent creation." Wu Qingyuan's expression mirrored Wu Jinhua's shock. And after a moment, he gave Zhou Yuqing a thumbs up. "Your calligraphy is truly impressive." It was not entirely Wu Qingyuan's fault for not guessing correctly. Zhou Yuqing was simply too young. Even if he had practiced calligraphy since birth, it would be improbable for him to produce such exceptional work. Thus, Wu Qingyuan instinctively overlooked Zhou Yuqing, assuming his father was boasting about a master's work. Zhou Yuqing humbly replied, "Thank you, Uncle Wu." Wu Qingyuan continued, "No need to be modest. I dare say this piece could easily be declared the finest running script of our time." "Little Zhou, aside from running script, what other styles of calligraphy do you excel in?" Zhou Yuqing shrugged. "I have only practiced running script for just over 2 years. I have never trained in other styles." Wu Qingyuan was taken aback and turned to Wu Jinhua. Wu Jinhua remarked, "Don't look at me. This young man cannot be judged by ordinary standards." Wu Qingyuan sighed. "It seems that true genius exists in this world. Dad, how about gifting me this piece?" Wu Jinhua nodded. "I originally intended to ask for it for you. However, it must wait until after I showcase it at the Xia Country Calligraphy Association." Wu Qingyuan chuckled. "Since it's a showcase, you might as well leave your own seal on it." Chapter 304. A shift in perception. Wu Jinhua's eyes brightened. "Yuqing, what do you think?" Zhou Yuqing replied, "Teacher, you may decide as you wish." Wu Jinhua exclaimed joyfully, "Excellent. At last, it was my turn to shine at this gathering." Wu Qingyuan cast an admiring glance at Zhou Yuqing and remarked, "Xiao Zhou, if you were not pursuing entrepreneurship, I dare say you could earn quite a fortune solely through your exquisite calligraphy." Zhou Yuqing replied, "The essence of running script lies in its spontaneity. Once it becomes entangled with monetary pursuits, I fear that spontaneity would be lost. Hence, I shall only gift my calligraphy to friends and family, never to sell it to the public, except in the case of charitable endeavors." Wu Jinhua praised. "Well said." The admiration in Wu Qingyuan's eyes deepened. Carefully rolling up short song with great care, Wu Jinhua entrusted it to Wu Qingyuan for mounting. The three of them exited the study and gathered in the living room for tea and conversation. Zhu Li and Jiang Wanyue busied themselves in the kitchen, preparing the meal. Wu Qingyuan had long heard from Wu Jinhua about Zhou Yuqing's insights on the future economic development of the world and found it quite enlightening. Today, with the perfect opportunity at hand, he engaged Zhou Yuqing in profound dialogue. Zhou Yuqing spoke candidly, undeterred by Wu Qingyuan's stature, elaborating on the trends and directions of technological advancements in Xia Country. The discussion primarily consisted of Wu Qingyuan's inquiries, Zhou Yuqing's responses, and Wu Jinhua's occasional interjections. "Xiao Zhou, you have achieved remarkable success in both the realm of online gaming and the lithium battery sector, and you have invested in a drone company. I am curious about your future plans," Wu Qingyuan inquired. Zhou Yuqing responded, "My true aspiration lies in the research and production of chips. This is a vast domain, amounting to trillions of dollars, and simultaneously represents the most significant obstacle to technological advancement in Xia Country. Both professionally and personally, I am committed to this pursuit. The authorities are already attentive to issues related to chip research and production, preparing to bolster support for domestic chip companies in terms of funding and technology. Should you wish to establish a chip company, you may apply for low-interest loans from the bank." "I will," Zhou Yuqing assured. Meanwhile, Shun Qinggang and Dai Wan were meticulously appreciating the peace water melody, "When Will the Moon Be Clear?" brought by Shin Jingyun. As a seasoned criminal investigator, Shin Qinggang was adept at solving cases, yet his expertise did not extend to the realm of art. He would alternate his gaze between a piece of calligraphy on the wall and Shun Jingyun's work, ultimately finding the latter to be far more fluid and natural. Dai Wan, in contrast, was a professor in the Chinese department at Yunhai University, possessing commendable calligraphy skills, excelling in both cursive and regular script, and enjoying a modest reputation in the calligraphy community. However, when compared to Zhou Yuqing's running script, her level of artistry fell significantly short. "Xiao Zhou is truly a prodigy in calligraphy. No, he is a genius among geniuses," Dai Wan declared. Shin Qinggang, intrigued, asked, "To what extent is his work exceptional?" Without hesitation, Daiwan replied. He ranks first in the nation. Even Shun Qinggang, typically composed, could not help but widen his eyes in disbelief. How can this be possible? He exclaimed. Daiwan responded. I too find it hard to believe, but the reality is as such. Jingyun, is this truly written by Xiao Zhou? Shen Jingyun nodded, stating, yes, I requested him to write it, and I witnessed him do so with my own eyes. Even the ink was ground by me. Daiwan sighed. Xiao Zhou's talent is indeed awe-inspiring. Hearing such high praise from her usually proud mother filled Shen Jingyun with a sense of pride. Mom, to be honest, there are moments when I feel I may not be worthy of him. Daiwan smiled and replied, let me share my honest thoughts as well. Initially, I believe Xiao Zhou was somewhat of a stretch for you. In terms of family background and educational qualifications, you surpass him by a considerable margin. Yet now, the facts attest that no matter whom Xiao Zhou marries, it is not an act of climbing the social ladder. For his talent and abilities are sufficient to befit any woman. Given time, he can indeed create miracles in any field. Shun Qinggang nodded, deeply resonating with Daiwan's sentiments. From the moment Zhou Yuqin arrived in Yunhai, he had repeatedly reshaped Shun Qinggang's understanding of talent. Zhou Yuqin's proficiencies were vast, each far exceeding the average person: martial arts, financial investment, game design, chip technology, hacking skills, mobile battery technology, drone technology, and now, he had surfaced as the foremost calligrapher in Xia country. He was nothing short of extraordinary. If Shen Shiyan had even one skill that surpassed Zhou Yuqin, Shen Qinggang would have far fewer worries. Daiwan carefully stored the calligraphic work in her bedroom. Shen Jingyun inquired, Mom, where is Shirtu? What has he been up to lately? Daiwan replied, he has been busy finding a house for Xiao Zhou in the city. Shen Jingyun asked, does Shirtu come back often? Daiwan nodded, saying, he comes for dinner almost every afternoon. The previous incident was quite a blow to him. He seems to have transformed into a different person, exhibiting a newfound composure. I reviewed the research materials he brought back, and they were impressively well written. As long as he remains ambitious, I hope he can maintain this momentum. When are you two heading to Lighthouse Country? Next week. The security situation there is not great. You must exercise caution, especially at night. If possible, avoid going out. Mom, rest assured. Yuqin will bring several security personnel, all of whom are former special forces, each capable of handling multiple adversaries. Additionally, Yuqin has coordinated with a local travel agency to ensure our safety. That's reassuring. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Zhou Yuqin returned home with Shen Jingyun and Xiao Yeye. Dinner was to be enjoyed at Su Xiaowan's residence. Zhou Yuqin's second uncle, Shen Hongguang, had already returned to northeast China, while his grandparents remained. Zhou Qingjian would arrive on Friday and return on Monday morning. During dinner, Zhou Yuqin mentioned their upcoming trip to Lighthouse Country. Like Daiwan, everyone cautioned them to prioritize their safety while away. Zhou Yuqin nodded in agreement and then skillfully shifted the topic, inquiring about Zhou Qingjian's retirement plans. Zhou Qingjian did not wish to retire prematurely, and Zhou Yuqin did not press the matter. Each individual possesses their own lifestyle choices. His duty is to provide financial security for his family. As for what lifestyle they choose, Zhou Yuqin would never interfere. After a hearty meal, Su Xiaowan produced a laptop and said, Yuqin, Jingyun, your second uncle sent me 6 sets of villa photos and videos after returning. I find them quite appealing, so I would like your assistance in selecting one. Zhou Yuqin remarked, Mom, these villas are for Grandpa and Grandma. As long as they approve, it is unnecessary for you to consult us. Su Binglin interjected, your grandmother and I are not well versed in such matters. Grandma Su added, all 6 villas are splendid. In my opinion, choose the most affordable option. Su Binglin nodded in agreement. Zhou Yuqin chuckled, money is the least of our concerns. The key factor is the villa itself. Su Xiaowan urged, enough chit-chat. Let's make a selection quickly. Chapter 305. A meeting of minds. Zhou Yuqin and Shun Jingyun huddled together, earnestly examining the options. After their review, Shun Jingyun remarked, the materials for my second uncle are quite detailed, and the photos and videos are excellently captured. Dear, which villa do you think would suit Grandpa and Grandma best? Zhou Yuqin pondered briefly and suggested, how about we each write down the villas we think are suitable and see if our thoughts align? Shun Jingyun nodded in agreement, saying, sounds good. The others found this quite intriguing and looked on with eager anticipation. Zhou Yuqin and Shun Jingyun each noted their preferred villa in their mobile notepads and then revealed their choices to one another. The former wrote 3, while the latter wrote 3. The couple exchanged glances and erupted into laughter. Su Xiaowan remarked in astonishment, you truly share a remarkable connection. Su Qingjin inquired, why the villa number 3? Zhou Yuqin explained, villa number 3 has only 2 floors, making it exceptionally accommodating for the elderly. If it had 3 floors, I fear that in a few years, my grandparents would struggle to ascend. Su Xiaowan countered, but villa number 1 and 5 also have only 2 floors. Why not choose those? Shun Jingyan replied. Annie, Villa number 3 boasts a significantly larger building area compared to Villa number 1 and 5, offering more rooms. More importantly, it is located merely 3 kilometers from the First People's Hospital in the city center. As my grandparents age, should they experience any health issues, my uncles can swiftly transport them to the hospital. Zhou Yuqin continued. Moreover, Villa number 3 has been built for less than 5 years and renovated for under 2, making it considerably newer than the others. Most crucially, it has ample land for a lawn. The soft grass would allow my grandparents to stroll leisurely after meals without the fear of injury. Su Xiaowan beamed. After hearing your thoughts, Villa number 3 indeed seems the most suitable. Su old lady murmured, but it is also the most expensive. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. Grandma, do you know how much your current home is worth? Su old lady was taken aback. Can it possibly compare to Villa number 3? Su Xiaowan interjected. Mom, this house cost around 44 million, while Villa number 3 is approximately 52 million. The difference isn't substantial. Su old lady gasped. 44 million? My heavens, that is exorbitant. Zhou Yuqin reassured her. Grandma, it is quite affordable. If my mother were to sell this house today, she could fetch at least 50 million, netting a profit of 6 million. The price will only continue to rise. Su old lady sighed. I still believe that the Northeast is most suitable for us old folks. Su Binglin nodded. After a lifetime of hard work, we cannot even afford a home with a proper toilet. How has the world changed so drastically? Zhou Yuqin recalled how ordinary citizens in his previous life became bound to mortgages for generations merely to purchase a home, and he couldn't help but sigh. Whether in prosperity or decline, the common people suffer. Throughout history, this has remained unchanged. Upon returning home, Shen Jingyun gave Xiao Yeye a bath. After drying her off, Zhou Yuqin entered the bedroom and embraced Xiao Yeye for a nap. Their roles were clearly defined. One handled the bedtime preparations, while the other soothed the child to sleep. Today, for reasons unknown, the little one was unusually energetic. Zhou Yuqin recounted 3 stories before finally settling her down. Stealthily entering Shun Jingyun's study, Zhou Yuqin found her searching for fine dining establishments in New York City, and he couldn't help but chuckle. Dear, there's no need to search. It's futile. Shun Jingyun turned in surprise and asked, why? Because Western cuisine is at least 2,000 years behind ours. Even the finest Western restaurants may produce dishes inferior to a plate of spicy sour shredded potatoes prepared by a top chef. Is it truly that bad? Far worse than you can imagine. Have you been to the lighthouse country? Not at all. Then how would you know? Zhou Yuqin refrained from revealing that he had visited the lighthouse country countless times in his previous life and had engaged in discussions with many prominent figures. Online critiques of Western cuisine abound. So what should we do? Naturally, we should consult a travel agency there. One thing about the lighthouse country is that if you have money, you can acquire anything you desire, including the finest food and services. How much did you exchange for dollars? No need to exchange. The mobile manufacturing companies have wired approximately $400 million to Kunping Group, which I can access at will. Husband, you are becoming increasingly impressive. Zhou Yuqin embraced Shen Jingyun from behind and said with a smile, before I met you, I was merely a penniless youth. After knowing you, I transformed into a prosperous individual, singing the praises of my newfound fortune. My dear, do you know what this indicates? Shen Jingyun, delighted by Zhou Yuqin's affection, pressed her face against his and asked, what? It signifies that you possess the fortune-enhancing aura. To express my gratitude, I shall exert every effort to ensure your happiness. I already feel immensely happy. I'm not referring to emotional happiness, but to physical bliss. Zhou Yuqin, you rogue. Zhou Yuqin lifted her playfully, exclaiming, thank you for the compliment. Let the festivities commence. Ding dong. Congratulations, player Zhou Yuqin. Through unwavering effort, your software development skills have reached the master level. You are awarded 5 attribute points and a chance to draw a reward. Hearing the system's announcement, Zhou Yuqin, who was preparing to rise for exercise, couldn't suppress his delight. Without hesitation, he requested the lottery draw. Instantly, the golden roulette began to spin before his eyes. Stop. The wheel halted, and a scroll appeared in Zhou Yuqin's item box. It was a stock prediction scroll. Unlike before, this scroll noted not a time limit, but simply the quantity of 1. This meant that Zhou Yuqin could view the daily stock trends of a company leading up to its bankruptcy. Of course, this was not the most significant aspect. The crucial point was that Zhou Yuqin could utilize this stock to predict the overall market situation. Like last time with Wulianya, Zhou Yuqin had determined the timing of a significant downturn in the summer country's stock market after analyzing its trend, resulting in substantial profits. Player, Zhou Yuqin Physique, 143, Ordinary Person 10, Spirit, 112, Ordinary Person 10, Popularity, 9, 2 million Attribute Points, 638 Skills, National Martial Arts, Master Level 8. Hacking Skills, Master Level 3, Chip Development Technology, Master Level 3, Investment skills, Master Level 4. Software engineering, Master Level 1. Tai Chi visualization method, mental cultivation. Loyalty monitoring skill, special skill. Culinary arts, proficient level 99. Singing skills, proficient level 99. Items, stock prediction scroll, quantity 1. Chapter 306. Purchasing soft star stocks having amassed 638 attribute points. Zhou Yuqin felt it was time to upgrade his somewhat stagnant physique and spirit. With this in mind, he decisively allocated 438 attribute points to his spirit attribute and the remaining 200 points to his physique attribute. Wow! Zhou Yuqin felt an immense surge of energy within him. Dividing into two streams, one small portion surged through his muscles and organs, while the larger portion flooded into his mind. The discomfort in his body was bearable, but the pain in his brain was overwhelming. Veins bulged from his forehead as his head throbbed, feeling as if it were expanding and contracting, causing him to nearly cry out in agony. Had he known it would be this painful, he would have preferred to exchange his attribute points gradually for the spirit attribute. Now, he endured this unnecessary suffering. The entire process lasted approximately 5 minutes, yet Zhou Yuqin felt as though 5 years had passed. His clothes were drenched in sweat, his body feeling utterly weak and devoid of strength. In stark contrast, his mind was remarkably clear, thoughts sharper than ever, and his spirit was at its zenith. After resting for a while, Zhou Yuqin regained his composure. Upon checking his attributes, he was pleasantly surprised to find his physique had reached 155 and his mental acuity had surged to 151. With a sigh of relief, Zhou Yuqin stood up, took his clothes, and stepped into the bathroom. After showering, he emerged just in time to see Shen Jingyun exiting the bedroom. Since Shen Jingyun learned the Tai Chi standing post, she had been standing on the balcony every morning at 6 for half an hour. Each time, she felt invigorated and her work efficiency significantly improved. "Darling, don't move," Shen Jingyun said, her expression one of astonishment as she gazed at Zhou Yuqin. "It seems as if you've transformed into a different person." Zhou Yuqin chuckled. "If I were to change, you would have 2 husbands. Wouldn't that be better?" With a slight frown, Shen Jingyun replied, "I'm not referring to your appearance, but rather your mental state. It's positively radiant." Zhou Yuqin was naturally aware of his heightened mental attributes, which showcased a demeanor vastly different from before, leaving Shen Jingyun in awe. However, he could not divulge the truth to her, and instead wore a teasing expression, saying, "This is all thanks to your remarkable performance last night." This remark effectively rendered Shen Jingyun's cheeks crimson, and she retorted playfully, "Just shut up. You've already done it, so what is there to be embarrassed about?" "That's not acceptable either," Zhou Yuqin replied with a playful smirk as she shot him a glance before walking towards the balcony, ignoring him. Zhou Yuqin smiled faintly and retreated to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. Over the next 2 days, Zhou Yuqin visited both the Moonlight Gaming Company and the Boundless Drone Group. The research and development team at Moonlight Gaming was already quite mature, with the game's progress advancing smoothly. The Boundless Drone Group, having appointed Huang Xiaowei and Luo Jia to lead the chip development department, had significantly accelerated their progress. No matter the challenges encountered, Huang Xiaowei could effortlessly resolve them. Wei Nanbei was exceedingly pleased, praising both individuals profusely in Zhou Yuqin's presence. In the evenings, apart from exercising with Shen Jingyun, Zhou Yuqin dedicated all his energy to studying the stock market of the Lighthouse Nation. After thorough contemplation, he ultimately decided to apply the stock prediction scroll to Softstar Group. Softstar Group was akin to Microsoft in his previous life, primarily engaged in the research, manufacturing, and provision of computer software services, with flagship products including the Softstar operating system and Word series software, making it the largest computer software provider globally. The difference was that Softstar Group's market value was significantly higher than that of Microsoft during the same period, reaching a staggering $530 billion. Zhou Yuqin opted for Softstar Group because his future endeavors would have minimal impact on it. Had he chosen a chip company, the future trajectory could drastically shift, rendering the hard-earned stock prediction scroll ineffective. The volatility was indeed alarming. The system provided only a 25-year stock price trajectory for Softstar Group, revealing 3 major fluctuations. The most recent occurring now. In the next 2 months, Softstar Group was projected to surge by approximately 60%, with its market value surpassing $800 billion. However, it would soon experience a 6-month decline of up to 70%, plummeting from over $800 billion to $260 billion, after which it would stabilize and gradually rise, eventually exceeding $1 trillion in 5 years and $2 trillion in 8 years. What could possibly cause such a drastic decline for Softstar Group? Was it a financial crisis? Zhou Yuqin had encountered 2 financial crises in his past life. The first resulted in an average stock drop of 58%, while the second was even worse, exceeding 75%. Fortunately, Zhou Yuqin had not leveraged his investments at that time, or his entrepreneurial dreams would have been in jeopardy. Softstar Group could be considered one of the most stable companies in the world, and if it could fall to such lows, it inevitably led Zhou Yuqing to contemplate a looming financial crisis. If a global financial crisis were indeed on the horizon, it would present an excellent opportunity for him. Even if it didn't happen, Zhou Yuqing resolved that upon arriving in the Lighthouse Nation, his first order of business would be to find a reliable bond company to purchase shares in Softstar Group. The all-encompassing nurturing system did not stipulate a limit on the funds that could be invested, so Zhou Yuqing was cautious not to invest excessively, to avoid affecting Softstar Group's stock price trajectory. His second priority was to monitor the situation in the Lighthouse Nation to assess the likelihood of a financial crisis. On Wednesday at 10 in the morning, Zhou Yuqing, Shun Jingyun, and their daughter Xiaya boarded an international flight to New York. Accompanying them were Xian Yanhai and 3 highly skilled security personnel. Naturally, the 7 of them were seated in first class, with ample resources. Zhou Yuqing never hesitated to treat himself and those around him well. It was Xiaoya's third flight, and she was brimming with excitement. Once airborne, her enthusiasm was uncontainable, and Shun Jingyun struggled to rein her in. After about 10 minutes, she finally settled down, prompting Zhou Yuqing to apologize multiple times to the surrounding passengers. Fortunately, the first-class cabin was not crowded, and the passengers exhibited high standards of conduct, showing no annoyance towards Xiaoya. Otherwise, Zhou Yuqing would have found himself in a predicament. Shun Jingyun was quite displeased with Xiaoya's behavior and scolded her lightly. Xiaoya felt somewhat wronged, her lips pouting as if they could hold an oil bottle. She glanced at Zhou Yuqing, seemingly seeking his support. However, Zhou Yuqing turned away, pretending not to notice. Regarding Xiaoya's education, Shun Jingyun had long lost hope that Zhou Yuqing, a doting father, would intervene, so they had established ground rules early on. While Shun Jingyun taught Xiaoya, Zhou Yuqing was not to defend her, regardless of her tears or tantrums. Today, Xiaoya had indeed misbehaved, so Zhou Yuqing naturally refrained from intervening. Xiaoya, being quite perceptive, noticed her father's lack of support and immediately wiped away her tears, obediently admitting her mistake to Shun Jingyun. Zhou Yuqing chuckled inwardly, finding her cleverness amusing. The flight from Yuhai to New York required 18 hours, which could be taxing for adults, let alone a child. Fortunately, Shun Jingyun had prepared in advance, downloading over a dozen animated films onto her laptop, which kept Xiaoya entertained. In the cabin, 3 other children noticed Xiaoya watching cartoons and clamored to join, leaving their parents exasperated. Zhou Yuqing called them over to watch together with Xiaoya. Soon, the 4 little ones became fast friends, their laughter filling the air. Zhou Yuqing took out a substantial book titled Fundamentals of Semiconductor Manufacturing and began reading it with great focus. The book, authored by the father of lithography, Eddie, primarily discussed the components of lithography machines. While the content was somewhat rudimentary, it was exceptionally suitable for a novice like Zhou Yuqing. However, Zhou Yuqing did not consider the development of lithography technology as the next skill to conquer. He understood well that the development of lithography machines is a monumental task. It would take him, even with the assistance of the comprehension scroll, at least a decade or 2 to master everything alone. Zhou Yuqing aimed to thoroughly grasp the internal structure and working principles of lithography machines, and then investigate the status of domestic lithography machines, focusing on the core technologies that had eluded breakthroughs, including light source technology, lens system technology, and photoresist technology. With Zhou Yuqing's formidable learning ability, coupled with the support of an all-encompassing development system, he believed that he would accomplish this in a few short years. Meanwhile, Shun Jingyun, feeling somewhat idle, began reading a collection of Western fairy tales. Recently, she had been organizing the stories that Zhou Yuqing had narrated to little Yeya, totaling 52 tales. However, her proficiency in English was insufficient to translate these stories, so she consciously began to read storybooks written entirely in English. "Sir, I am Chris Smith. May I have the pleasure of making your acquaintance?" A gentle voice reached Zhou Yuqing's ears. He looked up to find a foreign gentleman in his 30s, with blonde hair and gold-rimmed glasses, seated across from him. He was the father of one of the children watching cartoons, who had somehow taken a seat opposite Zhou Yuqing. "Hello, Mr. Smith, I am Zhou Yuqing," he replied, shaking the man's hand with a smile. Smith glanced at the book in Zhou's hands and remarked, "Are you an employee of a semiconductor company? I noticed you have been engrossed in your reading for a full hour." Zhou Yuqing shook his head, saying, "I am merely interested in semiconductors. I do not work in the industry." "Oh, I see," Smith responded. "Mr. Zhou, I am truly grateful. Without your cartoons, I would have been driven mad by little Jack." Zhou Yuqing glanced at the boy and said, "The little fellow is quite charming." Chris Smith was exceptionally loquacious, with an impressive ability to respond and articulate, quickly establishing a rapport with Zhou Yuqing. Upon learning that Smith was a senior executive at Wall Street's Ryder Bank, Zhou raised an eyebrow and remarked, "Chris, I believe I saw online that Ryder Bank declared bankruptcy a week ago. Smith shrugged, saying, that is precisely why I am on vacation. But it's all right. I have already secured a new position at an investment firm and will start upon my return. Zhou Yuqin inquired. The news stated that Ryder Bank's collapse was due to the failure of 7 or 8 tech companies. Is that true? Smith pondered for a moment and replied, that's partially correct. The other half is attributed to real estate. Zhou Yuqin asked, puzzled. As far as I know, the stock prices of tech companies there have been rising for 4 consecutive years, and real estate prices have consistently increased year after year. Logically, you should be profiting immensely. How could such a significant problem arise? Smith scoffed. The stock prices of tech companies are inflated by capital, with very poor profitability. The boom in real estate signifies an increase in bank loan limits, resulting in more bad debts. Ryder Bank's bankruptcy is primarily due to these 2 factors. Zhou Yuqin's mind raced as he recalled the financial crises in the lighthouse nation caused by the tech bubble and the subprime mortgage crisis in his previous life. In this world, the lighthouse nation faced an even more daunting situation, grappling with both a tech bubble and a subprime crisis. The potential for devastation was unimaginable. Smith leaned closer to Zhou Yuqin and whispered, Zhou, I have a strong intuition. What intuition? Zhou Yuqin asked. Smith replied, the lighthouse nation is likely on the brink of an unprecedented financial crisis. Goodness, what a talent. Zhou Yuqin thought highly of Smith, though he feigned shock and asked, is that so? What leads you to believe that? Smith adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses and said, did you know that at least half of the tech companies in the lighthouse nation have no profitability, yet their market values are alarmingly high? Why is that? It is all supported by capital. If someone were to unveil this, it would instantly trigger widespread panic. Furthermore, in the real estate sector, less than 20% of individuals can afford to repay their loans. What does that signify? You should be well aware. A glimmer of insight flashed in Zhou Yuqin's eyes as he said, if what you're saying is true, wouldn't the stock market in the lighthouse nation be on the verge of collapse? Then why don't you short it? Smith replied, the problem is, I lack the funds. But you possess them. Shen Jingyun, who had been listening to their conversation, furrowed her brows and looked up at Chris Smith. Zhou Yuqin smiled and said, Chris, you have known about me for some time, haven't you? Smith nodded, saying, indeed. You are the president of the Yuechen Gaming Company and Kunping Group in Xia Country. Many on Wall Street are familiar with your name, and I often play Fruit Hero on my phone. Zhou Yuqin inquired, then what is your purpose in approaching me? Without hesitation, Smith replied, to short the stock market in the lighthouse nation. Zhou Yuqin pressed further, when do you believe the financial crisis will occur in the lighthouse nation? Chapter 308. Smith's identity. Smith remained silent for a moment before stating, I estimate it will not exceed 6 months. Zhou Yuqin chuckled, Chris. Softstar Group's stock price has risen by 22% in the past 6 months. Using Softstar Group as an example, as you mentioned, even if a financial crisis were to occur within 6 months, the question remains, how will I endure until then? I am even hesitant to leverage, as I cannot ascertain how much Softstar Group stock will rise in the next 6 months. That said, Zhou Yuqin held a deep admiration for Chris Smith's capabilities. From the stock price trend of Softstar Group, it seemed that if a financial crisis were indeed imminent, it would likely occur in 2 months. Smith's ability to make a judgment within 6 months surpassed that of 99% of financial experts. Zhou, your Kunpeng batteries and chargers dominate the global mobile phone market. While I am unaware of the profit margins, I am certain that you make at least $1 billion a year. With your substantial financial resources, enduring for 6 months will be no issue. Moreover, it may not even take that long. It could very well be just 1 or 2 months. Apologies, Chris, but I will not short the tech stocks of the lighthouse nation. Rather, I may consider going long on Softstar Group. Chris Smith exclaimed, why? Zhou, was what I just said not clear enough? Or do you believe my judgment is flawed? Zhou Yuqin replied with a smile, on the contrary, I fully agree with your assessment. The overarching trend appears sound. However, I believe the tech financial market in the lighthouse nation has not reached a level of madness, and the potential for further growth remains. Smith raised an eyebrow and asked, Zhou, are you aiming to seize the final wave of profits? Zhou Yuqin nodded, affirming, precisely. Prior to my arrival, I conducted research on the Nasdaq in the lighthouse nation. My judgment is that there should be no issues in the next 2 months. Chris Smith inquired, what do you plan to do? Zhou Yuqin did not hide his intentions and stated directly, I plan to purchase shares of Softstar Group and, after some time, sell them all, regardless of profit or loss. In the absence of any influence from Zhou Yuqin, the stock price trend of Softstar Group had increased by 52% over the preceding 5 weeks. Zhou Yuqin possessed $400 million and intended to use 5 times leverage to acquire shares of Softstar Group. If all goes as expected, Zhou Yuqin should be able to earn approximately $700 million. When the time is right, he plans to convert $1,100 million into smaller denominations and short sell them. After these 2 rounds, Zhou Yuqing could potentially amass a fortune of $20 to $30 billion. At that point, he intends to establish an investment company on Hong Kong Island and transfer the profits into this company's account. In numerous online novels, protagonists acquire hundreds of billions or even trillions of dollars through their prophetic insights gleaned from tales of the lighthouse country, subsequently returning home to stimulate the economy. Such narratives, however, are utterly implausible in reality. The government of the lighthouse country would never allow a substantial outflow of capital to foreign lands. The so-called free trade and market economy are predicated on one crucial premise. They must not threaten the economic development of the lighthouse country. Should any form of threat arise, the consequences would be severe. Of course, the current lighthouse country undeniably reigns supreme in the realms of technology, military, economy, and culture. Even if Zhou Yuqing were to earn a mere $100 or $200 million, it would hardly provoke a reaction. In fact, they might even elevate him as a paradigm to attract global investors. However, in a decade, should Xia country develop to a level comparable to that of the lighthouse country, the situation would be markedly different. Chris Smith furrowed his brow and remarked, "Chun, you are playing with fire. One misstep could lead to your own downfall." Zhou Yuqing chuckled. "At worst, I will merely suffer severe burns. But should I succeed, I will possess the capital to soar to great heights." Chris Smith nodded, saying, "I greatly admire a saying from Xia country. Fortune favors the bold. Zhou, I can provide you with leverage." Zhou Yuqing's interest was piqued, and he replied, "Chris, I have 3 objectives for my visit to the lighthouse country. First, to find a major publishing house to publish a novel. Second, to purchase shares in Softstar Group. And third, to take my child on a brief holiday in New York. I have already contacted a travel agency for the third task, which will provide us with the best service. The remaining 2 objectives are yet to be settled." Chris Smith smiled and said, "Zhou, this is quite simple. Have you heard of my publishing company? It is one of the top 3 publishing houses in the lighthouse country, correct?" "Indeed. My father, Will Smith, is the chief editor there. As long as the quality of your novel meets the standards, I can negotiate the best price for you." Zhou Yuqing's eyes lit up. What a fortunate coincidence. Shen Jingyun also displayed a glimmer of excitement. Mike Publishing Company boasts a century-long history. Although its market value pales in comparison to that of tech giants, it is renowned for its stability and generates considerable annual profits. What Zhou Yuqing and Shen Jingyun were most concerned about was not the financial aspect, but rather the potential wait time. Before a publishing house decides to publish a new work, the editorial department conducts a thorough review. Only upon passing this review can a manuscript qualify for publication, a process that requires time. Zhou Yuqing initially planned to bribe the chief editor of a certain publishing house to jump the queue, but unexpectedly encountered the son of the chief editor at Mike Publishing Company, which was a delightful surprise. Chris Smith continued, "I have just received an offer from the prestigious Wall Street investment firm, High Rock Group. If you become my client, I can provide all services, including leverage applications and trading transactions." Zhou Yuqing pondered for a moment and inquired, "When can you help us finalize the novel's publication?" Chris Smith replied, upon landing, "I can take your work directly to my father. Whether it gets published, however, will depend on its quality. If the quality is satisfactory, we can finalize everything within 3 days." Zhou Yuqing calculated silently and said, "I have brought $400 million and would like to utilize 5 times leverage. I will approach you for collaboration as soon as the novel contract is signed. If there is no news by Sunday, then we will let it go." Chris Smith was momentarily taken aback. "Zhou, is this novel more important than your $400 million? Zhou Yuqing nodded and smiled. "This is my wife's second work. It holds immense significance." Shen Jingyun felt deeply moved. Chris Smith glanced at Shen Jingyun and said, "I truly envy both of you. Ms. Shen, may I have the pleasure of reading your work? Though I am not a professional, I can generally discern whether a book will capture attention." Shen Jingyun replied, "Sure. Honey, may I borrow your laptop?" Chapter 309. Little Ye's disdain. Zhou Yuqing stood up, retrieved a suitcase, and pulled out his laptop to hand it over to Shen Jingyun. She inserted a USB drive and copied the electronic version of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone onto the computer. Chris Smith placed the laptop on a folding table and began to read. 5 minutes later, he looked up, astonished, glancing at Shen Jingyun before returning to the screen. Over half an hour passed, and Zhou Yuqing set down his book, cleared his throat, and asked, "Chris, what do you think?" Chris Smith did not respond, his gaze still fixated on the display. Zhou Yuqing smiled softly. "Wife, it appears that your fantasy novel resonates very well with Chris." Shen Jingyun replied, "Let him read a bit longer. I am eager to hear his thoughts." All right. Another half hour elapsed, and Zhou Yuqing covered the screen with his hand, asking, "Chris, what are your impressions?" Only then did Chris Smith raise his head, giving Shen Jingyun a thumbs up. "Fantastic. The portrayal of the magical world in this book is remarkably detailed and brimming with fantastical elements. What is most impressive is the immersive experience it offers, making one feel as though they are truly present within its pages. Shun Jingyun inquired, "Can it conquer the editorial department at my publishing group?" Chris Smith replied, "Absolutely. After graduating from university, I interned as an editor for 6 months and am well acquainted with their review standards. Your book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, is a fantasy novel. Unless the editorial team collectively loses their sight, it should have no issues. Miss Shun, may I continue reading?" Shun Jingyun smiled. "Please, go ahead." Chris Smith took 10 hours to finish Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, during which Zhou Yuqing's laptop battery was recharged twice. Upon learning that 7 more volumes awaited, Chris Smith expressed great anticipation and assured both parties that he would expedite the publication of this splendid fantasy novel. At 7 p.m. Lighthouse Country Time, a plane gradually descended onto the runway of New York International Airport. After bidding farewell to Chris and his father, Zhou Yuqing and his party of 7 departed the airport in 4 luxury vehicles sent by the travel agency, heading to the Hall Hotel. Zhou Yuqing initially intended to book a stay at the most luxurious and renowned Rock Hotel in New York, but upon discovering that the nightly rate was $25,000, he was met with vehement opposition from Shun Jingyun. A single night's accommodation costing nearly 200,000 xia yuan was simply beyond the means of Shun Jingyun, who earned only 5,000 to 6,000 yuan a month. The Hall Hotel, on the other hand, is a long-established 5-star hotel in New York with somewhat outdated facilities, averaging $800 per night. Shun Jingyun had seen many favorable reviews of this hotel online and insisted that Zhou Yuqing book it. Zhou Yuqing opted for a presidential suite at $2,000 per night. Shun Jingyun still found it somewhat expensive, but compared to the Rock Hotel, it was considerably more affordable, and with the presence of little Yaya, she reluctantly agreed. Xing Yanhai and his companions resided in the presidential suite across from them. On their way to the Har Hotel, Shun Jingyun inquired, "Darling, do you truly trust Chris Smith? Aren't you worried that he might be deceiving you?" Zhou Yuqing chuckled and replied, "Given Chris's acumen and intuition in investments, it would be a gross underutilization of his talents if he were to become a con artist. Moreover, we have little of value for him to deceive us over. Surely, he wouldn't be foolish enough to impersonate the author of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for publication, would he? If that were the case, I would have no choice but to see him imprisoned." Shun Jingyun nodded in agreement. "That is a fair point. By the way, what is this about stocks? I don't recall you mentioning it." Zhou Yuqing explained, "Over the past few days, I have been analyzing the Nasdaq stock market in Lighthouse Country every night, and my conclusions align closely with Chris S. This is why I hold him in such high regard." Shun Jingyun cautioned, "The stock market in Lighthouse Country is far more perilous than ours. You ought to exercise caution." Zhou Yuqing laughed reassuringly. "Rest assured, I am well aware." At that moment, the inquisitive Xiaoya, who had been observing the outside world through the car window, suddenly asked, "Daddy, is New York really the richest place in the world?" Zhou Yuqing affirmed, "Indeed." "Why do you ask?" Xiaoya, with a hint of disdain, retorted, "I don't think it's that great. The airport is shabby, the roads are bumpy, and there's garbage everywhere." Much like in her previous life, the infrastructure in Lighthouse Country remained abysmal. The 10-kilometer stretch from the New York airport to the highway entrance was riddled with potholes. Had they been in an ordinary vehicle, the 3 of them would surely have experienced a jarring ride. Zhou Yuqing smiled and clarified, "Sweetheart, when I say New York is the richest place, I mean it has the most developed economy and the wealthiest government, not that the airport and roads are the best." Xiaoya, puzzled, asked, "If they are so wealthy, why don't they fix the airport and roads?" Zhou Yuqing pressed his lips together. "That is not something we need to concern ourselves with." Half an hour later, the car entered the bustling heart of New York City, where the surroundings transformed into a vibrant spectacle. Sleek luxury cars flowed through the streets, towering skyscrapers loomed overhead, and dazzling neon signs illuminated the night. The disparity between this lively scene and the desolate areas they had previously traversed was stark. Soon, they arrived at the Har Hotel, where a young man named Cole, in his mid-20s and quite handsome, proficient in multiple languages, greeted them for their travel arrangements. After completing the check-in process, Cole escorted them to their room. Although Zhou Yuqing had booked the presidential suite, it still paled in comparison to the luxurious Limei Hotel in Hong Kong. Cole respectfully informed, "Mr. Zhou, a sumptuous dinner has been prepared for you." Zhou Yuqing nodded. "Excellent. We shall head there shortly. Cole, I will provide your tip on our last day. If your service meets my expectations, my gratuity will reflect that. Do you understand?" Cole's eyes brightened. "Understood. Thank you, Mr. Zhou." Zhou Yuqing added, "Tonight, we shall remain indoors. Please pick us up at 10 tomorrow morning." Cole acknowledged, "Of course." After organizing their luggage, Zhou Yuqing's family, along with Xing Yanhai's group, proceeded to the second-floor restaurant for dinner. Accustomed to Zhou Yuqing's culinary talents, Xiaoya found the hotel's buffet somewhat lacking. However, she exhibited great decorum and refrained from voicing her dissatisfaction in front of the staff. It was only once they returned to their room that she expressed her thoughts. Daddy, we won't have to eat here every day, will we? It's quite terrible. Chapter 310, Self-Funded Publication. Zhou Yuqin gently pinched her cheek, lovingly assuring her, "Do not worry, my dear. I will take you to dine at the finest Western restaurant in New York. It is simply too late today, and we must adjust to the time difference, hence we stayed in." Xiaoya's face lit up with joy, and she planted a kiss on Zhou Yuqin's cheek, exclaiming, "Daddy is indeed the best dad in the world." Shun Jingyan interjected, "And what about Mommy?" Xiaoya replied, "If Mommy isn't angry with me, she is also the best mommy." Zhou Yuqin couldn't help but laugh heartily. "You are such a clever girl." Shun Jingyan smiled in amusement. After a warm bath, Xiaoya insisted on sleeping with Zhou Yuqin. Reluctantly, he embraced the little girl as they entered the inner room. Within 10 minutes, Xiaoya was fast asleep. When Zhou Yuqin emerged, he found Shin Jingyun applying a facial mask. Women are inherently drawn to beauty, and even the stunning Shin Jingyun was no exception. She practiced Tai Chi daily and never neglected her evening skincare routine. After taking a shower, Zhou Yuqin noticed that Shin Jingyun had already gone to bed. Momentarily taken aback, he quickly comprehended her intentions and shook his head, silently pondering whether he had appeared overly eager. In a private estate, Will Smith removed his glasses and furrowed his brow. Chris's expression shifted as he asked, "Father, does this fantasy novel not meet the standards of the Mike Publishing Group?" Will did not respond directly, but instead countered, "Chris, what makes you believe Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is exceptional?" Chris pondered briefly before replying, "It offers a profound sense of immersion, and both the narrative and character development are quite remarkable." Will contemplated, "Chris, I can prioritize this fantasy novel for review, but I cannot guarantee its acceptance." Chris looked at Will, puzzled. Will continued, "Last year, the Mike Publishing Group promoted 3 fantasy works, all of which failed. This year, however, the 2 detective novels they pushed have been successful. Consequently, the editorial department is exercising extreme caution when reviewing fantasy submissions, seeking merely to avoid failure rather than to achieve success. The adage once bitten, twice shy applies not only in Xia country, but also in Lighthouse country." Chris frowned. "Father, this year, a fantasy novel titled Vampire Dynasty sold an astonishing 1.8 million copies in just 3 months. I have read Vampire Dynasty. While it is indeed excellent, it does not captivate me nearly as much as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone does." Observing his son's fervent endorsement of Harry Potter, Will was intrigued and asked, "What is your relationship with the author, Miss Shun?" Chris understood the implication and replied, "Father, Miss Shun's husband is Zhou Yuqin, a wealthy magnate from Xia country, and he is of great significance to me. If I can facilitate the publication of Harry Potter, Mr. Zhou will entrust me with $400 million to manage." Will was well aware of his son's impending role at the Galleon Group. If Chris could bring along $400 million, it would solidify his position within the company. However, Chris was contemplating more than just that. He continued, "For me, the $400 million is not the main concern. What matters is the connection I can establish with Mr. Zhou through this investment." Will's gaze sharpened. "Is this Zhou Yuqin truly remarkable?" Without hesitation, Chris responded, "A commercial genius." "Father, can you believe that someone could transform from a penniless individual into a billionaire in less than 5 months? Will exclaimed in astonishment. "Zhou Yuqin achieved that?" Chris confirmed. "Indeed. Father, I know you must be speculating about his family background. I can unequivocally assure you that he possesses no background or reliance on others. He has entirely established the Yuqin Gaming Company and the Kunping Group based solely on his own talent and ability. The former has developed 3 mobile games, while the latter has nearly monopolized the global mobile battery and charger industry. What is most astonishing is that Zhou Yuqin is merely 25 years old. It is difficult for me to fathom the heights he will reach in 20 years. Those who make a name for themselves on Wall Street undoubtedly possess exceptional vision, talent, and capability. Although $400 million is a considerable sum, it pales in comparison to Zhou Yuqin as an individual. Chris seeks to cultivate Zhou Yuqin as a long-term partner rather than pursue a one-off transaction. Will, intrigued, inquired, "Chris, if Mr. Zhou is so wealthy, why not opt for self-publishing?" As the term suggests, self-publishing entails that the author bears all publishing expenses, with the publisher handling promotion and distribution. This collaboration method places the financial risk solely on the author, significantly reducing the publisher's risk. Regardless of the number of copies sold, the publisher profits without incurring losses. Thus, as the chief editor of the Mike Publishing Group, Will holds the authority to approve the publication of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone without the need for departmental review. "Father, if Mr. Zhou agrees to self-publishing, what revenue share can he expect?" Typically, authors receive 50%, while more established authors may earn 60%, and bestsellers could receive 70%. "I can negotiate a maximum of 60% for Mr. Zhou. When can we sign the contract?" "In 2 days." Chris posed several additional questions before dialing Zhou Yuchen's number. Having just settled down, Zhou Yuchen answered the call from Chris upon seeing his name on the caller ID. After listening to Chris's proposal, Zhou Yuchen inquired, "What is the minimum print run required for collaboration?" "The Mike Publishing Group starts at 30,000 copies. And the revenue share?" "My father will strive for a 55 to 60% share on your behalf. It must be above 60%. If not, I will seek another publisher." "Understood. We will endeavor to meet that." "So, does this mean you agree to self-publish?" "I need to discuss it with my wife, as it is her work. I will notify you by 8 tomorrow morning." "No problem." After ending the call, a smile graced Zhou Yuchen's lips. Self-publishing is undoubtedly advantageous for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Zhou Yuchen had researched that if published by a Lighthouse Nation as publisher, creators typically receive only 8 to 12% in royalties. Authors like Xin Jingyun, who lack substantial works, might be fortunate to receive 6%. The disparity between 6% and 60% is vast. Most importantly, Zhou Yuchen can confidently reach out to celebrities for promotional support for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Let us not forget that his repertoire extends beyond Chinese songs to include numerous classic foreign melodies. With just 2 well-chosen songs and the assistance of 2 top-tier artists, he is certain to secure their agreement. Chapter 311. Encountering a major star as usual, Shun Jingyun rose at 6 in the morning, unaffected by the time difference. Zhou Yuchen, already awake, was engrossed in a book on the balcony. "Good morning, dear," Shun Jingyun greeted as she prepared to practice Tai Chi. Zhou Yuchen set his book down, saying, "Wait, I need to discuss something with you." Surprised, Shin Jingyun sat beside him and asked, "What is it?" Zhou Yuchen shared Chris's proposal for self-publishing. After a moment's contemplation, Shin Jingyun asked, "What do you think?" Zhou Yuchen replied with a smile, "I have complete confidence in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, making self-publishing the most advantageous collaboration for us." Shin Jingyun took a sip from Zhou Yuchen's water cup and inquired, "If we self-publish, how many copies do you think we should print initially?" Zhou Yuchen held up 2 fingers and said, "At least 200,000 copies." Shin Jingyun rolled her eyes, exclaiming, "Many well-known authors in the Lighthouse Nation consider selling 100,000 copies in a year an impressive achievement, yet you propose to print 200,000 at once. Are you not concerned that you may never sell that many?" Zhou Yuchen confidently stated, "If we can't sell them, it merely indicates they lack discernment. Trust me, let's print 200,000 copies." With a shrug, Shin Jingyun replied, "It's your money, do as you wish." "Then it's settled." Zhou Yuchen snapped his fingers, standing up. "You continue your practice. I will take a stroll outside. I read online that there is a good sandwich breakfast shop not far from the hotel. I will bring something back for you." Shin Jingyun kissed Zhou Yuchen on the cheek and smiled. "Thank you, dear." Zhou Yuchen changed his clothes and invited Xian Yanhai and others for breakfast. After exiting the hotel and walking for less than 5 minutes, the group witnessed a motorcyclist speed past them, with a man on the back snatching a handbag from an unsuspecting lady walking ahead. The woman was yanked to the ground, crying out robbery. The surrounding pedestrians merely glanced at her before continuing on their way. Xian Yanhai frowned, remarking, "The security in the Lighthouse Nation is quite poor. In our homeland, such despicable acts have long been eradicated." Zhou Yuchen remarked, "Old Xian, have you not heard the internet joke? It states that there are 2 types of people in the Lighthouse Nation, those who have already been robbed and those who are about to be." Xian Yanhai scoffed. "The government is inept and the police are derelict." Zhou Yuchen patted his shoulder, saying, "The survival of the fittest is the essence of Western nations. We in our homeland emphasize righteousness, often placing it above profit. Conversely, Westerners prioritize profit. Discussing righteousness with them is the folly of fools." Soon, the 5 approached the woman whose bag had been stolen. Zhou Yuchen asked, "Is there anything we can do to assist you?" The lady turned, removing her sunglasses to reveal a pure and beautiful face. "Are you from the East?" Zhou Yuchen's expression hardened immediately as he replied, "I am from the Summer Nation." The young woman seemed to understand the deep-seated animosity between the Summer Nation and the East, quickly stating, "Sir, I sincerely apologize. My name is Delia Norman. My bag was just stolen. May I use your phone to call someone?" "Of course," Zhou Yuchen replied, handing her his phone. Delia Norman dialed the number, explaining her situation and requesting her contact to come quickly. "Thank you very much. May I know your name?" she asked gratefully as she returned the phone to Zhou Yuchen. "I am Zhou Yuchen. Ms. Norman, when will your contact arrive?" Delia Norman replied with a wry smile, "At least half an hour." Zhou Yuchen suggested, "There is a nice sandwich shop ahead. If you trust us, we can go there for breakfast. It's on me." Delia Norman hesitated slightly, her beautiful face displaying uncertainty. Recognizing her reluctance, Zhou Yuchen stated, "Goodbye." With that, the 5 walked past Delia Norman. After a few steps, they heard her voice calling out behind them, "Mr. Zhou, wait for me." Soon, the 6 of them arrived at the renowned sandwich breakfast restaurant. where many patrons were already seated. Delia Norman hastily donned her sunglasses and lowered her head. They found a table by the window, and the 6 of them ordered various items. Aside from Delia Norman, the other 5 were voracious eaters, each selecting several different flavors of sandwiches. After a while, a waitress brought out their orders. "Ms. Norman, I am your fan. Could you please give me an autograph?" The waitress asked softly. Zhou Yuqin was taken aback, casting a surprised glance at Delia Norman. Noticing Zhou Yuqin's expression, Delia Norman felt a surge of pride and replied, "Of course." After signing, she advised the waitress not to disclose her identity to others. Once the waitress left, Zhou Yuqin, while enjoying his sandwich, searched for information about Delia Norman on his phone. To his astonishment, he discovered that the beautiful woman he had casually encountered on the street was, in fact, a celebrated pop diva in the music scene of the Lighthouse Nation. "Ms. Norman, as a major star, don't you require bodyguards when you go out?" Seeing Zhou Yuqin remain unfazed upon learning her identity, Delia Norman felt relieved and said, "I was out seeking inspiration for my work, but unexpectedly had my bag snatched." Zhou Yuqin suggested, "You could compose a song based on that experience." Delia Norman's eyes lit up. "That is indeed a splendid idea." The sandwiches at this restaurant were quite commendable. Though they could not compare to Zhou Yuqin's creations, they were still reasonably well made. After finishing, Zhou Yuqin bought a sandwich each for Shun Jingyun and Xiaoya. As the 6 of them exited the restaurant, a reporter rushed over, clearly having recognized Delia Norman. "Norman, is this your boyfriend?" "No. If you are not in a romantic relationship, why were you having breakfast together so early?" "It was a chance encounter." "Norman, when can your new album be expected by your fans?" "It is currently in preparation." Zhou Yuqin noticed a crowd gathering around him, and his expression changed. "Ms. Norman, we should take our leave. Goodbye. Don't leave me behind." "I'll go with you," Delia Norman exclaimed. Realizing the situation was becoming precarious as she grasped Zhou Yuqin's arm, her eyes pleading. Zhou Yuqin, feeling helpless, said, "Then let us go." Chapter 312. A request for promotion. Xi and Yanhai and the others formed a protective circle around the two as they made their way to the hotel. The reporter captured the moment when Delia Norman pulled Zhou Yuqin's arm. Elated by the revelation of a pop music icon dining with a mysterious Asian man, this was certainly monumental news in the entertainment world, sure to garner intense attention from Norman's millions of fans. Upon entering the Har Hotel, Zhou Yuqin remarked, "Ms. Norman, it seems you've embroiled me in quite a predicament." Delia Norman understood he was referring to the reporter and replied, "Mr. Zhou, I apologize. I had no idea this would happen." Zhou Yuqin mused. "Does this mean I have done you a favor today?" Without hesitation, Delia Norman affirmed, "Absolutely." "Then might you assist me in return?" Delia Norman looked at him with suspicion. "What kind of assistance?" Zhou Yuqin smiled. "Let us discuss it further in my room." Delia Norman took a step back. "Mr. Zhou, I cannot go to your room." Zhou Yuqin quickly realized his wording was misleading. "I apologize. It was poorly phrased. My wife and child are in the room, so you need not worry about my intentions. Once your people arrive, I shall escort you downstairs." Delia Norman, taken aback, asked, "You're married?" Zhou Yuqin responded with a grin. "My child is nearly 4 years old. The sandwich I have is for my wife. The favor I seek from you also pertains to her." After a moment's thought, Delia Norman said, "Very well." Soon, they all ascended in the elevator. Upon opening the door to the room, Zhou Yuqin heard Xiaoya crying softly. Delia Norman remained on guard, but relaxed completely upon hearing the child's weeping. "Sweetheart, what's wrong?" Zhou Yuqin set the sandwich aside and hurried into the bedroom. Shun Jingyun smiled wryly. "I went to the restroom." Xiaoya woke up and, not seeing me, began to cry. Xiaoya, wiping her tears, looked utterly aggrieved. "I thought you didn't want me anymore." Zhou Yuqin embraced her, wiping her tears away. "You are daddy and mommy's precious darling. How could we ever not want you?" After calming Xiaoya, Zhou Yuqin turned to Shun Jingyun. "We have a guest." Shun Jingyun inquired, "Do you have acquaintances here?" Zhou Yuqin shook his head. "Just met her. She is Delia Norman, the pop diva of the Lighthouse Nation." "Really?" Shun Jingyun immediately exited the bedroom. Her knowledge of the Western pop scene far surpassed Zhou Yuqin's, as she often listened to foreign songs, including those by Delia Norman. "Are you Mr. Zhou's wife?" "My goodness, you are stunning." Delia Norman's voice reached Zhou Yuqin's ears. Shun Jingyun smiled. "Ms. Norman, it's a pleasure to meet you. I am Shun Jingyun." Delia Norman took Shun Jingyun's hand, scrutinizing her from head to toe. "Are you a star from the summer country?" Shun Jingyun shook her head. "No." Delia Norman replied. "What a pity. If you were willing to debut, you would undoubtedly become the most dazzling star in the summer country and even the world." Shun Jingyun modestly responded. "You flatter me. I lack that talent." Zhou Yuqin, holding Xiaoya, stepped out. "Ms. Norman, my wife has written a fantasy novel titled Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which will soon be released in the Lighthouse Nation." Delia Norman's eyes brightened. "You want me to help promote it, correct?" "Indeed." "Mr. Zhou, do you know how much I earn for a commercial?" "No." $5 million. If I were to assist you in writing a classic English song, would you agree? Delia Norman looked astonished. You can write songs? Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow. Of course. Delia Norman, being a person who valued her reputation, pondered for a moment. I will need to assess the quality of your song and the quality of Ms. Shen's novel. How straightforward these Westerners are? Zhou Yuqin replied, no problem. Dear, please send Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone to Ms. Norman's email. All right, Shen Jingyan responded, opening her laptop. Delia Norman provided her personal email address. Once that was settled, Delia Norman asked, what about my song? Zhou Yuqin replied, you should first read the novel. If it meets your standards, I will send you the song demo. If not, I will seek assistance from other stars. Delia Norman agreed, very well. I will give you a response within 3 days. Zhou Yuqin nodded. I will also have the demo ready within 3 days. Just as they concluded their business, Zhou Yuqin's phone rang. It was the number Delia Norman had called earlier. Zhou Yuqin handed the phone to Delia Norman. Delia Norman invited the individuals to the Har Hotel, where Zhou Yuqin personally escorted her downstairs. As she was leaving, Delia presented him with a private business card. Upon returning to the room, he found Shen Jingyun and Xiao Yeye dining. Zhou Yuqin inquired, how do you find these sandwiches? If they do not meet your satisfaction, I can take you out to eat. Shen Jingyun responded with a smile, they are quite delightful. Xiao Yeye added, much better than the sandwiches from last night. But nothing compares to the ones made by Dad. Zhou Yuqin affectionately ruffled the little girl's hair, saying, thank you for the compliment, dear. Xiao Yeye flashed a sweet smile and replied, you're welcome. Shen Jingyun, curious, asked, darling, what is the story with Delia Norman? How do you know her? Zhou Yuqin recounted the events of the morning, explaining, I was contemplating the promotion of my novel when I fortuitously encountered this renowned pop diva. It feels like destiny. It would be a disservice to myself if I do not capitalize on this opportunity. Shen Jingyun remarked, Delia Norman boasts over 10 million fans. If she is willing to assist with promotion, the results could be extraordinary. The question is, can you compose a classic song that suits her? Zhou Yuqin confidently responded, as I always say, as long as one has the ability to write, that suffices. You both enjoy your meal while I listen to some of Delia Norman's songs. Shen Jingyun was taken aback and asked, haven't you heard them before? Zhou Yuqin replied, have you seen me listening to music often, let alone songs by foreign artists? Shen Jingyun was left speechless. After listening to 2 of Delia Norman's signature pieces, Zhou Yuqin noted her voice possessed a remarkable clarity, effortlessly transitioning between various high notes and tones, reminiscent of the illustrious pop icon Beyoncé from his previous life. Chapter 313. Business Negotiation. Zhou Yuqin retrieved a pen and paper from his suitcase and moved to the balcony, diligently writing. Approximately 15 minutes later, he returned. Shen Jingyun inquired, have you finished? Zhou Yuqin proudly handed her the sheet of music, exclaiming, indeed. My dear, we may need to find a recording studio to finalize the demo. After reviewing the sheet music, Shen Jingyun's face radiated admiration as she remarked, darling, you truly are a creative genius. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. Whether I am a genius is inconsequential. What matters is whether I can secure Delia Norman's collaboration. Without hesitation, Shen Jingyun stated, I believe this song surpasses her breakout hit. Zhou Yuqin nodded in agreement. I share your sentiment. They exchanged a glance and burst into laughter. Zhou Yuqin called Cole, who promptly arrived with his team. The family initially toured the Statue of Liberty before visiting the Empire State Building, where they ascended to the rooftop, causing Xiao Yeye to shriek in excitement. Shen Jingyun clutched Zhou Yuqin's arm tightly, unwilling to let go. In the afternoon, they explored Times Square, Central Park, and Wall Street, though Zhou Yuqin found little enjoyment. Even compared to Xiao Yeye, Shen Jingyun, on the other hand, was quite engaged and asked Zhou Yuqin to take numerous photographs of her. At 8 in the evening, Zhou Yuqin received a call from Hearst, the deputy editor of Mike Publishing Group, inviting him to discuss the publication of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone the following morning at 10. Just after concluding his conversation with Hearst, Chris called. Mr. Zhou, I assume Mike Publishing Group has reached out to you? Hearst just informed me about the negotiation tomorrow. The highest revenue share they can offer is 65%. Zhou Yuqin questioned, isn't it said that renowned authors can receive up to 70%? Why are they offering us 65? Chris explained, recently, a fantasy novel titled Vampire Dynasty sold 180,000 copies in just 3 months. The editorial department believes Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is of superior quality and more innovative. Since you are self-publishing, after negotiations, they have settled on 65%. Zhou Yuqin acknowledged, understood. Chris, I need a reliable lawyer. Understanding this was a sign of Zhou Yuqin's trust in him, Chris quickly assured him, I will contact someone right away. After hanging up, Zhou Yuqin briefed Shen Jingyun on the upcoming negotiation with Mike Publishing Group. Shen Jingyun couldn't help but laugh, saying, they even disclosed the maximum revenue share they can offer you. Is Chris trying to pledge his loyalty? A glimmer of insight flashed in Zhou Yuchen's eyes. Chris is astute. His interest likely lies not in my $400 million, but rather in establishing a long-term partnership with me. Shen Jingyan noted. But your company is based in Xia country. Zhou Yuchen chuckled. Have you forgotten? We all suspect that the lighthouse country is on the brink of a financial crisis. Shen Jingyun's heart raced. Darling, are you considering shorting the lighthouse country stock market? Zhou Yuchen nodded. That is indeed my intention. The forthcoming $400 million is a test for Chris. If he passes, I would not mind bestowing upon him great wealth. Shen Jingyan queried. Didn't you mention that Shiyan is quite capable? Why not enlist his help? Zhou Yuchen glanced at Shen Jingyan and smiled. You're always thinking of your brother. My dear, you truly are a wonderful sister. Rest assured, once we complete this venture with Softstar Group, I will have Shiyan come to the lighthouse country to assist me. According to Zhou Yuchen's plan, he intended to use $400 million with a 5 times leverage to invest in Softstar Group, selling after 5 weeks. If all went according to plan, he expected to earn around $1 billion. Subsequently, he would personally bring Shun Shiyan over and utilize $1.5 billion to short the lighthouse country stock market. Once this was accomplished, Zhou Yuchen would leave Shen Shiyan behind and return home. Throughout this process, Zhou Yuchen required a trading team, the formation of which depended on Chris, the local expert. The following morning at 10, Zhou Yuchen and Shen Jingyun arrived punctually at Mike Publishing Group, accompanied by a lawyer named Khan whom Chris had introduced. Shen Jingyun's purpose for being at Mike Publishing Group was not for negotiation but rather for signing after the discussions, so she did not enter the conference room. Instead, taking Xiao Yeye to the lounge to watch an animated film. Hurst, a man in his 50s with a towering stature and a beard, exuded an air of wildness that could not be concealed even in a suit. Flanking him were a young man and woman, who appeared notably more refined. Mr. Zhou, our editorial department has reviewed the fantasy novel Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone written by your wife, Shun. We unanimously believe it is an outstanding work that immerses readers in its world. Hurst began with a mixture of flattery and formality. Zhou Yuchen graciously replied. Thank you for your kind words. Mr. Hurst, I am prepared to print 200,000 copies. What do you think? Hurst shrugged. Of course, that is no issue. It seems you are quite confident. Mr. Zhou, according to our publishing group's long-standing policy, we can offer you a 50% revenue share. Zhou Yuchen directly stated. I require 75%. Hurst looked utterly astonished as he inquired. Mr. Zhou, are you jesting? Zhou Yuchen responded with a smile. Mr. Hurst, it is you who initiated the jest. In that moment, Hurst realized he had encountered a formidable opponent. Mr. Zhou, 55% is our utmost limit. Zhou Yuchen waved his hand dismissively and said, Mr. Hurst, please allow me to elaborate. My wife and I possess immense confidence in the Harry Potter series. Otherwise, we would not have agreed to self-fund its publication. To boast a bit, I am not in need of money. A couple of $100 million is insignificant to me. However, this book holds profound significance for my wife, which is why I plan to invest heavily in hiring top Hollywood stars to promote it once it is released. Should sales exceed 3 million copies, I will collaborate with a Hollywood film company to bring Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone to the silver screen. If it performs well at the box office, the book's sales will undoubtedly soar. Conversely, even if the film fails, its notoriety will still elevate sales. To promote the Harry Potter series, I am prepared to expend at least $200 million, while you will simply reap the rewards. Mr. Hurst, do you truly believe I would consent to a mere 55% share? Chapter 314. Reaching an agreement. Hurst's face was a portrait of shock as he reiterated, Mr. Zhou, are you certain you are not joking? Zhou Yuchen replied firmly, everything I have stated can be inscribed in the agreement, but I demand a 70% share. This is my final stance. If your company disagrees, so be it. I am confident there will be other publishers interested in the Harry Potter series. A shrewd businessman never adheres to conventional tactics. Although he was aware that the maximum share offered by the Mike Publishing Group was 65%, Zhou Yuchen had never intended to accept that. His goal had always been 70%. In his previous life, the Harry Potter film series grossed over $7 billion, with total book sales exceeding $80 billion and merchandise surpassing $200 billion. With such a treasure trove at stake, Zhou Yuchen would not foolishly relinquish it to companies in the lighthouse country. Collaboration was welcome, but Zhou Yuchen insisted on claiming more than half of the profits. That was his bottom line. Hers and the 2 other young men listened in disbelief. For the promotion of a fantasy novel, this individual before them was willing to expend such a staggering sum. The term fool simultaneously surfaced in their minds. This Zhou Yuchen was indeed a colossal fool with money to spare. Hers exclaimed, Mr. Zhou, you are utterly insane. Zhou Yuchen replied nonchalantly, I have faith in Harry Potter. Hers inquired about the copyright issues. Zhou Yuchen paused, then laughed. Of course, it belongs solely to my wife. Mr. Hers, the film rights and merchandise rights are non-negotiable. Hers stood up and said, please hold on. I need to seek approval from my superiors. Zhou Yuchen rose as well, stating, I will wait no longer than half an hour. Should it exceed that, I will assume you lack the sincerity for collaboration. Hers felt a tinge of irritation at Zhou Yuchen's assertiveness, but nodded in agreement. Very well. Zhou Yuchen exited the conference room and found himself in the lounge, watching cartoons with his child. Shen Jingyun asked, have you finished your discussion? Zhou Yuchen replied, not yet. They need to deliberate on my proposal. Shen Jingyun, taken aback, asked, what proposal? Zhou Yuchen smiled, you will know when we sign the contract. 20 minutes later, Hers reappeared before Zhou Yuchen. Zhou Yuchen asked, have you come to an agreement? Hers nodded and said, we have agreed, but your assurances must be documented in the contract. Zhou Yuchen snapped his fingers, no problem. Soon, the staff at Mike Publishing Group printed 2 copies of the agreement. Zhou Yuchen and Shen Jingyun reviewed it earnestly before handing it to their lawyer, Khan. Khan examined it with even greater scrutiny, and upon confirming its accuracy, nodded to Zhou Yuchen. Shen Jingyun signed her name at the bottom right corner of the agreement, affixing her seal. Thus, the issue of publishing Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was resolved. Hers extended his hand, saying, Miss Shun, may our collaboration be fruitful. Zhou Yuchen grasped his hand firmly, declaring, may our partnership flourish. Hers smiled, Mr. Zhou, it is evident that you hold Ms. Shun in great affection. However, here, Hers seemed to choose his words carefully. If I am not mistaken, you intend to enlist Delia Norman to assist in promoting Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, correct? Zhou Yuchen was taken aback. How did you know? Hers wore an odd expression. Mr. Zhou, the world is already aware of your close relationship with Delia Norman. Is that so? Zhou Yuchen pulled out his phone and checked online, furrowing his brow. A photo from the previous morning, depicting Delia Norman grasping his arm, had indeed ascended to the 6th position on Google's trending list. It was undoubtedly the handiwork of that reporter. Zhou Yuchen sighed, resigned. It seems I am destined to become a celebrity. Hers chuckled. Delia Norman is the most successful female singer in today's music scene, boasting countless fans, and has never been embroiled in any scandals. Mr. Zhou, you are the first, so the impact of this rumor is likely to be substantial. Zhou Yuchen responded, since it is merely a rumor, clarifying it should pose no issue. Upon uttering these words, not only did Hers find it hard to believe, but even Zhou Yuchen himself felt incredulous. On their way back, Shen Jingyun glanced over the agreement again, asking, darling, do you truly intend to adapt Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone into a film? Zhou Yuchen smiled. If sales reach 3 million, it would indicate that Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone resonates well with Western audiences. Thus, adapting it into a film to reach a broader audience would be a natural progression. Shen Jingyun remarked, I have researched online. In the past 5 years, fewer than 10 books have sold over 3 million copies. Zhou Yuchen encouraged, wife, could you not have a bit more faith in yourself? Given the quality of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, selling 3 million is but a modest goal. Even 30 million is not out of reach. Shen Jingyun rolled her eyes. Let us be realistic. I cannot digest this grandiose vision you've painted. Zhou Yuchen chuckled. Dreams must be nurtured. Who knows what may come to fruition? Shen Jingyun insisted, we can discuss dreams later. Right now, I am keen on having lunch. Little Yaya is hungry. Little Yaya patted her tummy, exclaiming, my little belly is about to collapse from hunger. Zhou Yuchen replied, then let us hasten to dine. To be frank, the Mike Publishing Group is rather stingy. After all, they are our partners, yet they cannot even treat us to lunch. In truth, even if Hers had offered to treat them, Zhou Yuchen would have declined, as Call had already arranged a lavish seafood feast at the most renowned restaurant in New York. The issue lay not in the invitation being declined, but rather in the absence of an invitation altogether. The implications were wholly different. The seafood feast arranged by Call was quite splendid, leaving little Yaya with grease on her cheeks. In the afternoon, Zhou Yuchen and Shen Jingyun arrived at a recording studio. Throughout the afternoon, Shen Jingyun recorded a demo of Crazy in Love, which Zhou Yuchen had previously appropriated in his past life, and sent it directly to Delia Norman. In less than half an hour, Delia Norman called Zhou Yuchen, her voice brimming with excitement. Zhou, is this song written by you? Indeed, he replied. It's simply magnificent. Ms. Norman, would you be willing to promote Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in exchange for my song Crazy in Love? What do you think? I've been watching Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone these past few days. It is remarkably well written. I can assist in promoting it. That is splendid. When shall we sign the contract? My manager and I will come to your hotel tonight. No problem. We should return around 9. All right, see you at 9. After hanging up, Zhou Yuchen snapped his fingers and said to Shen Jingyun, it's done. Shen Jingyun replied, darling, you've worked hard. Zhou Yuchen smiled. It's a minor task. Chapter 315. No cleansing in the Yellow River. Upon returning to the hotel, The trio emerged from the car only to be besieged by a throng of reporters. Zhou Yuqin was taken aback and quickly instructed Shen Jingyun and Xiao Yeye to return to the vehicle. Xi and Yanhai and several bodyguards promptly encircled Zhou Yuqin. Mr. Zhou, may I inquire about your relationship with Delia Norman? We observed you having breakfast together and holding hands while shopping. Are you in a romantic relationship? Zhou, how long have you been dating Delia? Are there plans for marriage? The reporters bombarded him with questions, their microphones thrust forward like a barrage. Zhou Yuqin, feeling quite helpless, realized that in both his past and present lives, he had never encountered such intense media scrutiny. Ladies and gentlemen, I only met Ms. Delia Norman yesterday morning. I merely assisted her with a small favor. The images circulating online have been taken out of context, so please refrain from spreading misinformation. The reporters, however, remained unconvinced. One journalist remarked, "You had breakfast together at 6:30, then returned to the hotel together. Mr. Zhou, do you think that is possible without a close relationship?" Another added, "According to hotel insiders, Ms. Delia Norman accompanied you to your room, where you remained for 20 minutes. Damn, this is an inextricable situation," Zhou Yuqin thought. Old Xin, distract the reporters while you take Jingyun and Xiao Ye back to the hotel. Zhou Yuqin whispered to Xi and Yanhai. Understood, Xi and Yanhai responded. Zhou Yuqin raised his voice. Dear reporters, this location is obstructing traffic. Let us relocate, and I shall explain everything at a more suitable venue. With that, he stepped forward, and the reporters hurriedly followed. Once the crowd dispersed, Xi and Yanhai opened the car door to escort Shen Jingyun and Xiao Ye back to the hotel. Zhou Yuqin recounted the events of the previous morning to the journalists. Unfortunately, his explanations proved futile. They simply did not believe him. He quickly grasped that it wasn't disbelief, but rather a refusal to accept the truth. The notion of Delia Norman dating an Asian man could benefit both them and the media outlets behind them, making it unlikely for them to let go of such a lucrative opportunity. To hell with this, I won't play along any longer, Zhou Yuqin cursed internally, maneuvering through the reporters with the help of security back to the hotel. Darling, is everything all right? Shen Jingyun asked. It's become quite serious. These reporters aim to sensationalize my rumored romance with Delia Norman. I suspect it won't be long before I become a celebrity in the United States. Did you not explain the situation to them? I did, but they deliberately chose not to believe me. What about the child? They will likely view your presence with Xiao Yeye as a mere smokescreen for my rendezvous with Delia Norman. Sweetheart, if they wish to fabricate stories, they will conjure countless reasons unless I acknowledge that Delia Norman and I are a couple. Have they departed? They thrive on this drama. How could they leave? When will Delia Norman arrive? Zhou Yuqin suddenly recalled that she was due to meet him at the hotel. If she arrived, the situation would worsen. He quickly pulled out his phone, stating, I will call her to reschedule for tomorrow. Soon, the call connected. Delia, there is a swarm of reporters outside the hotel. You shouldn't come. It's too late. I'm already surrounded. What should we do? Do not engage or explain anything. The more you clarify, the more versions will emerge. Zhou Yuqin wholeheartedly agreed, saying, understood. 5 minutes later, Delia Norman and her manager, Nicole Shelley, entered Zhou Yuqin's room. Nicole merely glanced at Zhou Yuqin and immediately discerned that he was not Delia's type. Her attention then shifted to the stunning Shen Jingyun. Oh, Ms. Shun, would you be interested in becoming a Hollywood star? Nicole's face radiated with anticipation. Shen Jingyun smiled. Thank you for your consideration, but I have no interest in stardom. What a pity, Nicole replied. With your beauty, figure, and poise, you would undoubtedly become one of the most dazzling actresses globally if you chose to act. Delia Norman interjected. Nicole, Mr. Zhou is a billionaire tycoon. As Mr. Zhou's wife, you need not entertain thoughts of Ms. Shun pursuing an acting career. Zhou Yuqin added. Whether one acts or not is unrelated to status. It primarily depends on my wife's preferences. If she desires it, I will support her. Hearing Zhou Yuqin's words, Shen Jingyun felt a surge of sweetness within her heart, her gaze toward him filled with affection. Delia Norman praised, well said. Zhou, who sang the demo of Crazy in Love. Zhou Yuqin was taken aback, responding, what do you mean? Delia explained, her performance was exceptional. I would like to ask her to sing harmony. You might need to seek someone more suitable. Zhou Yuqin gestured towards Shen Jingyun, as the demo was sung by my wife. And she likely lacks the time to provide harmony for you. Delia Norman exclaimed in surprise, Ms. Shun, are you a singer? Shen Jingyun chuckled. I am merely a music enthusiast. Delia sighed, you are truly multifaceted. Nicole is correct. If you entered the entertainment industry, you would undoubtedly become a superstar. Zhou Yuqin inquired. Delia, how shall we handle the reporters? Your arrival will only complicate our situation further. Delia replied, since clarity eludes us, let us refrain from saying anything and allow them to speculate. In time, the rumors will gradually subside, and I can later clarify on a show, it will be fine. Zhou Yuqin rubbed his forehead, lamenting, I somewhat regret inviting you to breakfast now. Delia laughed. On the contrary, I have no regrets. Although my bag was stolen, my fortune was good enough to acquire a classic song. Joe, I have brought the agreement. If all is in order, we may proceed to sign. Nicole Shelley promptly retrieved 2 copies of the agreement from her LV bag. One for the transfer of the copyright for Crazy in Love and another for Delia's promotional assistance for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Zhou Yuqin nodded after reviewing them, saying, "No issues here." Nicole Shirley stated that the copyright transfer agreement for the song Crazy in Love is to be signed by you, while the promotional agreement for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone will be signed by Ms. Shun. Chapter 316, Scandals Abound. Zhou Yuqing and Shen Jingyun each affixed their signatures to the respective agreements. Delia Norman inquired, "When will Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone be published?" Zhou Yuqing replied, "In half a month." Delia nodded and said, "Just give me a call when you need me to step in." "Do you have any other songs?" Zhou Yuqing smiled. "Why? Are you interested in purchasing?" Delia replied, "Indeed." Zhou Yuqing shrugged. "I'm afraid I don't lack for money. Should any promotional matters arise in the future, I will seek your assistance in exchange for a new song, just as I have done now." Delia expressed her eagerness. "I look forward to it. By the way, should the songwriter's name be directly attributed to you?" Zhou Yuqing immediately waved his hand. "No, please write Jack's name instead." "No problem. By the way, I have a gift for the little one." Delia took out a box from her bag and handed it to Shen Jingyun, saying, "This is a music box I had specially made. I hope the little one will like it." Shen Jingyun smiled. "Thank you." After Delia left, Shen Jingyun opened the box to reveal a beautifully crafted music box adorned with delightful cartoon patterns, playing Delia Norman's soul whimsical song. Little Yaya adored it, holding the music box and listening for a long time. Yunhai City Government Compound. Shen Shiyan returned home carrying a bag of premium fruits. During this period, Shen Shiyan had traversed nearly all the upscale villas and apartments in Yunhai, selecting 36 properties and completing a research report exceeding 500 pages. Perhaps due to his extensive travels, Shen Shiyan's complexion had darkened slightly, exuding a newfound gravitas. "Mom, what do you think of my research report?" he asked while munching on a large apple. Daiwan set down the report and smiled. "It is quite objective and very detailed regarding the properties. If a perfect score is 100, I would give you 95. Shen Shiyan snapped his fingers. "I'll send it to my brother-in-law right away." Daiwan chuckled. "Are you worried that your report won't pass your brother-in-law's review?" Shen Shiyan nodded. "He is the client and has offered me such a high salary. I must deliver exceptional work." Daiwan asked, "Now that the work in Yunhai is complete, are you planning to go elsewhere?" Shen Shiyan replied, "That depends on my brother-in-law's feedback. If all is well, I will need to negotiate with developers or homeowners to acquire these properties." Daiwan frowned. "By yourself?" Shen Shiyan laughed. "How could that be? I have established a team comprising several legal experts from Yuechen Gaming Company and Kunping Group, along with 3 real estate agents. We will conduct a comprehensive assessment of the properties and only negotiate after determining the highest price." Daiwan responded, "That sounds good." Shen Shiyan stood up. "I'll go send an email to my brother-in-law." Daiwan urged, "Go ahead and be busy." After Shen Shiyan left, Shen Chenggang, who had been reading on the balcony, walked in, glanced through the research report, and remarked, "This kid has made significant progress." Daiwan retorted, "You never praise him." Shen Chenggang shot her a glare. "If I praise him, he will strut around for a day. Let's wait and see. I hope he has truly changed." Just then, Shen Shiyan burst out of the bedroom, exclaiming, "Dad, Mom, my brother-in-law is embroiled in a scandal." "A scandal?" Shen Chenggang raised an eyebrow. "What scandal?" Shen Shiyan pointed at the report on his phone. "He is closely linked to a music diva named Delia Norman, and this has been reported by reporters in the Lighthouse Nation." Shen Chenggang took the phone, glancing at the accompanying image of Delia Norman with her arm around Zhou Yuqing. Daiwan furrowed her brows. "This seems like publicity." Shen Chenggang set down the phone, asking, "What makes you say that?" Daiwan explained, "Firstly, Xiaozhou has never been to the Lighthouse Nation. Even his passport was arranged by you, so he couldn't possibly know any stars there. Secondly, if Xiaozhou truly had something going on, he certainly wouldn't take Jingyun and little Yaya along." Shen Chenggang continued, "Thirdly, since this news has reached our country, it indicates that this star is exceptionally famous, and the influence from the Lighthouse Nation would far exceed ours. If such a significant event occurred and Jingyun hasn't called, it suggests she is aware of Xiao Zhou's relationship with that star." Hearing his parents' calm analysis, Shen Shiyan gave them a thumbs up. "You are impressive. This matter is simple. I will just call my sister." Shen Chenggang cautioned, "It's 11 at night in New York. Your sister and little Yaya are likely asleep, so don't disturb them." Shen Shiyan replied, "I'll call my brother-in-law instead. He never sleeps at night." Regarding Zhou Yuqing's nightly practice of Tai Chi meditation, Shen Chenggang and Daiwan had heard Shen Jingyun mention it before and even attempted it, but unfortunately, they could not succeed. Not to mention, the barrier of an empty mind was insurmountable for them. Soon, the call connected. Zhou Yuqing's voice came through. Shiyan, what's up? Shiyan pressed the speakerphone. Brother-in-law, where are you? I'm on the hotel balcony. Your sister and little Yaya just fell asleep. Luckily, I set my phone to vibrate. Otherwise, I would have woken them. You aren't with Delia Norman, are you? What? This mess has reached our country? The news is going wild online. Brother-in-law, you didn't really do anything to betray my sister, did you? I happened to meet Delia and asked her to promote your sister's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I didn't expect it to be captured by entertainment reporters in the Lighthouse Nation. Within 2 days, the scandal spread throughout Europe and America, and I unexpectedly became a public figure. I didn't realize Delia's influence was so much greater than I imagined. Delia is the most famous female singer in Europe and America, with countless fans. You actually thought to ask her to promote a fantasy novel? Brother-in-law, you are quite bold. Your sister has already signed the promotional agreement with Delia. Upon hearing this, Shiyan was astounded, his eyes nearly bulging out. That is impossible. Zhou Yuqing chuckled. There is nothing impossible here. Moreover, I have good news. Today your sister signed a cooperation agreement with Macmillan Publishing Group, one of the 3 major publishers in the Lighthouse Nation. We will be self-publishing and retaining 70% of the profits. Chapter 317, A Grand Gesture. Shiyan incredulously exclaimed. In the West, even novice authors can only receive a maximum of 50% of the profits from self-publishing. How did my sister manage to secure 70%? Brother-in-law, what exactly did you do? Zhou Yuqing explained, publishing a book is essentially a business. As long as Macmillan Publishing Group believes they can derive substantial benefits from it, they will naturally agree. Shiyan frowned. But what benefits can a book provide them? Zhou Yuqing did not withhold information and briefly outlined the contents of the signed agreement. After listening, Shiyan was thoroughly convinced by Zhou Yuqing and remarked, Brother-in-law, you are truly remarkable. You have crafted such an enticing proposal for the Mike Publishing Group, and they have bought into it wholeheartedly. I am in awe of your capabilities. Zhou Yuqing chuckled and replied, Shiyan, have you never considered that your sister might become the world's foremost fantasy novelist thanks to Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone? Shiyan swallowed hard, unable to suppress his astonishment, and said, is that even possible? Zhou Yuqing confidently responded, why not? Let me tell you, once Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is officially released, I will enlist some online influencers to create a buzz around it in collaboration with Delia. As long as sales surpass 3 million copies, I will return to the Lighthouse country to negotiate with the 8 major Hollywood studios for a film adaptation of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Once the movie is produced, regardless of its box office performance, there will be no force that can hinder your sister's progress. Shiyan remarked, if that's the case, you might incur significant losses. Zhou Yuqing replied, at most, a loss of $100 million. But if my plan succeeds, the 8 Harry Potter films could very well become the most successful fantasy series globally. The rights to the novels, films, and merchandise will explode like a volcanic eruption, with total revenues exceeding $10 billion not being out of the question. Shiyan gasped, exclaiming, brother-in-law, you are simply insane. Not only Shiyan, but even Xin Changgang and Dai Wan were left speechless after hearing Zhou Yuqing's promotional strategy. The scale was astonishing. Zhou Yuqing laughed, saying, if I didn't have high hopes for Harry Potter, I wouldn't have brought your sister to New York to seek a partnership with the publisher. By the way, have you completed the property research in Yanhai? Shiyan replied, I have sent it to your email. There are a total of 36 properties, valued at $32 billion. Zhou Yuqing acknowledged, I'll review it shortly. Once the Yanhai project concludes, you must lead your team to Yengdu, Guangxing, and Pingcheng to finalize the properties within a month. Shiyan, puzzled, asked, brother-in-law, why the urgency? Are you worried that property prices will soar during this period? Zhou Yuqing clarified, no, because in a month, I will bring you to the Lighthouse country to undertake a significant venture. If successful, not only will your debts to me be erased, but I can also reward you with 100 million. Shiyan's pupils dilated with excitement as he said, brother-in-law, have you discovered a lucrative opportunity in the Lighthouse country, prompting you to take such bold steps? Zhou Yuqing replied nonchalantly, we'll discuss it when I return. Don't forget to explain things to Uncle Shun and Aunt Dai. Shiyan glanced at Xin Changgang and Dai Wan and said, understood. After hanging up, he hastily made his way to his bedroom. Xin Changgang inquired, what are you off to do? Shiyan replied, since my brother-in-law is planning something grand, it must indicate a significant issue in the financial market of the Lighthouse country. I need to check the situation online. As he spoke, he entered his bedroom and closed the door. Dai Wan sighed. Today's youth are truly remarkable. Their vision, capabilities, and ambitions far exceed our own. Both Zhou Yuqing and Shiyan were delving into the analysis of the financial market in the Lighthouse country, which left Dai Wan astonished. Xin Changgang nodded and said, honestly, every time I see Xiao Zhou, I feel acutely aware of my own age. His ambitions are extraordinary, beyond what ordinary people dare to conceive. Professor Dai, Have you read Jingyun's fantasy novel? What do you think are its chances of success? Daiwan pondered and replied. Jingyun's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is filled with fantastical elements, and the character development is exceptionally well executed, undoubtedly a masterpiece. Given Xiao Zhou's cost-agnostic operational strategy, the chances of success could reach 60 to 70%. Shen Qinggong's eyes lit up as he said, So, Jingyun has the opportunity to become a world-class novelist, correct? Daiwan affirmed, indeed. Shen Qinggang chuckled, I hope that day arrives soon. Zhou Yuqin's rumored relationship with Delia Norman was making waves in major Western media, causing him to sneak around to avoid reporters. Delia's Twitter was bustling, overtaken by fans. Thousands of posts boiled down to two sentiments: a vehement opposition to her friendship with Zhou Yuqin and harsh criticism aimed at him. As the situation escalated, Delia felt compelled to clarify on her Twitter, which yielded some success as the posts diminished, though most remaining were still critical of Zhou Yuqin. After resolving the publication of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Chris had not contacted Zhou Yuqin, demonstrating remarkable patience. It wasn't until Sunday evening at 8 that Chris called, asking him to meet at a bar not far from the Har Hotel. This timing was ideal, as it coincided perfectly with their family's return from an outing. Shen Jingyun, feeling uneasy about the safety of bars in the lighthouse country, asked Xi and Yanhai to accompany them. Soon, Zhou Yuqin and Xi and Yanhai arrived at the bar Chris mentioned. Charm Capital. The name sounded alluring, but in reality, it was a quaint establishment with a pleasant ambience, perfect for intimate conversations among friends. A beautiful singer was performing soothing songs on stage, her voice melodious and professional. Upon seeing Zhou Yuqin, Chris stood and waved him over. Zhou Yuqin smiled faintly and took a seat opposite him, while Xi and Yanhai chose a nearby table. Chris remarked, Zhou, the bartender here is exceptionally skilled, particularly with their signature 7-color rainbow cocktail. Zhou Yuqin shrugged and replied, Then let us order 2 to sample. Chris snapped his fingers, and a waitress promptly approached. Please have Mr. Fusk mix 3 7-color rainbows for me. Thank you. After giving a $5 tip, the waitress beamed even brighter, Certainly, sir. Soon, 3 7-color rainbows were served. Zhou Yuqin took a sip and nearly spat it out. Goodness, how dreadful it tastes. It paled in comparison to the liquor from Xia country. He turned to Xi and Yanhai, who was also grimacing at the drink. Chris, perceptive to Zhou Yuqin's reaction, quickly offered, I can have something else made for you. Since they were in New York, it was best to embrace local customs. Zhou Yuqin raised his glass and said, Chris, I genuinely appreciate your help with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Chris clinked his glass against Zhou Yuqin's and smiled. It's my duty. After a few pleasantries, Zhou Yuqin transitioned to the main topic. Chris, have you officially joined the Guyan Group? Chris confirmed. I completed the paperwork on Friday and am now the deputy director in the investment department. With a $400 million 5-fold leverage, it should be manageable, right? Zhou Yuqin replied. I'll handle it for you first thing tomorrow morning. Great. Zhou, what are your thoughts on short selling? Zhou Yuqin fell into a contemplative silence before raising his head and stating, I have mentioned that in a few weeks, I will sell my shares in the Soft Star Group. At that time, I will visit the Lighthouse Nation to assess the situation. If I decide to short the market, I may require a team. Chris, would you be interested in joining me on a personal basis? Chris's eyes brightened as he replied, Absolutely. Zhou, I know several traders who could help you assemble an elite team. Zhou Yuqin responded, We shall discuss this further when the time comes. Chris, what remuneration do you expect? Chris inquired, What amount are you prepared to invest? Zhou Yuqin replied, $1.5 billion. After a moment's thought, Chris suggested, $500,000 plus 1% of the profits. Zhou Yuqin smiled and said, Chris, what I need is not your expertise, but a team leader who will be entirely obedient to my directives. In the realm of stocks and futures, I believe no one can rival my capabilities. Chris frowned and remarked, Zhou, you seem overly confident. Zhou Yuqin asserted, in the financial market, a lack of confidence only leads to total failure. With the future trajectory of Soft Star's shares, should a market crash occur, I can accurately identify the turning point without needing anyone's counsel. Moreover, I am an investment master myself. In terms of professional ability, I undoubtedly stand at the pinnacle of the investment world. Chris sensed that the situation was slipping from his grasp and asked, Zhou, how much are you offering me? Zhou Yuqin stated, $500,000 or 0. 3% of the profits. You may choose one. Chris's expression changed as he exclaimed, 0. 3% profit? That is far too low. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. Earning over $500,000 risk-free in 2 months. Do you truly consider that low? Frankly, had you not assisted me with the publication and distribution of Harry Potter, I would not have offered such favorable terms. After some consideration, Chris opted for the 0. 3% profit. Zhou Yuqin inquired, why not the 500,000? Chris replied, I believe you will earn much more. Zhou Yuqin gazed at him intently and said, You have made a wise choice. Time will tell. If the Lighthouse Nation stock market behaves as we anticipate, I assure you your profits will exceed $10 million. Chris replied, let us hope so. Half an hour later, the three exited the bar. As Chris watched Zhou Yuqin and Xian Yanhai depart, the smile on his face gradually faded, replaced by a profound displeasure. Zhou Yuqin's compensation was far below Chris's expectations. A 0.3% profit felt like a pittance. Unbeknownst to Chris, Zhou Yuqin's impression of him had also diminished significantly. Despite Chris's efforts to conceal it, Zhou Yuqin discerned his dissatisfaction. However, Zhou Yuqin was not concerned that Chris would sabotage his $400 million. Given Chris's authority, he could at most delay the approval of the five-fold leverage. Chris was intelligent and would certainly avoid such foolishness. Yet, when the time came to form the team, the situation could change. Thus, Zhou Yuqin quietly resolved to establish a team domestically and then employ loyalty testing skills on Chris's team, expelling anyone deemed unfit. The following morning, Shun Jingyun and Xiao Yiye went to the Green Apple amusement park, while Zhou Yuqin arrived at the Gaoyan group. Chris greeted him with a beaming smile, showing no signs of his earlier discontent. He deliberately took Zhou Yuqin on a tour, ensuring everyone knew that Zhou had become his client before proceeding with the necessary formalities. Once settled, Butler Terrence, the head of the investment department, personally invited Zhou Yuqin to his office for a brief discussion. Expressing great pleasure at Zhou's choice to collaborate with Gaoyan Group, Zhou Yuqin, intrigued, asked Mr. Terrence, what conditions would I need to meet should I wish to secure a loan from your esteemed company in the future? Butler Terrence responded, Mr. Zhou, we have conducted a background check on you. Given your current status, loans below $500 million require no collateral. Simply sign a contract, and we can disburse the funds within 2 hours. Hearing Butler's response, Zhou Yuqin recognized that he had become a significant figure in the global business arena. However, he considered himself merely a minor player for now. Were he a true heavyweight, it would likely be the CEO of Gaoyan Group receiving him instead of Butler Terrence. Zhou Yuqin nodded and said, very well. I will approach your company for any future financial needs. Butler Terrence smiled, replying, it would be our pleasure to serve you. Declining Butler and Chris's invitation to lunch, Zhou Yuqin returned to his hotel, opened his computer, and accessed the Gaoyan Securities platform. According to the system's prediction of Soft Star Group's stock trajectory, the share price was set to surge by 8% at 2:30 in the afternoon. And Zhou Yuqin was determined not to miss this opportunity. Without hesitation, he invested the entire $20 billion into Soft Star Group's shares. Perhaps due to the rapid increase in Soft Star Group's stock price over the past few months, numerous investors were actively buying, allowing Zhou Yuqin's $20 billion order to be executed within 5 minutes. However, considering Soft Star Group's market capitalization of over $540 billion, $20 billion was relatively modest. Chapter 319. No impact on the overall trend. After completing his transactions, Zhou Yuqin did not leave the room immediately. Instead, he meticulously monitored the stock price movements of Soft Star Group, comparing them with the curve in his mind. He discovered that his $20 billion investment had indeed caused a slight increase of $1 in the stock price, but had not affected the overall trend. With that reassurance, he picked up his phone and called Shun Jingyun, learning that she and their daughter were having lunch. Zhou Yuqin quickly grabbed a bite on the go before heading to the Green Apple amusement park. The Hong Kong Green Apple amusement park had numerous attractions, and the New York version offered even more. As it was the off-peak tourist season, the park was not overly crowded, allowing Xiao Yiye to fully enjoy herself. At 4 o'clock, with the Nasdaq stock market closing, Zhou Yuqin logged into his account via his mobile device to check the progress, an increase of 78%. Based on Soft Star Group's stock price curve, he should have seen an increase of 81% at that moment. However, his intervention had slightly affected the stock price, resulting in a missed opportunity of 3%, but the overall market capitalization of Soft Star Group was only about $10 million off. In other words, Zhou Yuqin's $20 billion investment had only caused a $10 million fluctuation in Soft Star Group stock, having virtually no impact on the overall trend. Tomorrow, Soft Star Group was expected to decline by approximately 3%, and significant market volatility was anticipated. Nevertheless, this no longer concerned Zhou Yuqin, as he had no intention of selling. Thus, Zhou Yuqin and Shun Jingyun completed all their tasks in New York. After spending 4 delightful days with Xiao Yiye, the family of 3 boarded a flight back to their home country. 18 hours later, the plane landed gently at Yunhai International Airport, where they were greeted by security personnel from Kunpeng Group, who brought 4 off-road vehicles. Standing nearby was Shun Shiyan. Shurtu, what brings you here? Shun Jingyun asked in surprise. Shun Shiyan chuckled, I had nothing to do at home, so I came over. Shun Jingyun scrutinized Shun Shiyan and remarked, you've tanned. Shun Shiyan replied, a little sun exposure is good for health. Xiaoyu, are you having fun outside? Yes, came the response, though the 18-hour flight had left Xiaoyu somewhat lethargic. her voice noticeably softer. Zhou Yuqin said, "All right, let's discuss everything when we get back." Shen Shiyan added, "Brother-in-law, you all can take my car." Zhou Yuqin had anticipated that this fellow had matters to discuss, nodded, and said, "Sure." On the way, Xiaoyu fell asleep in Shun Jingyun's embrace. Zhou Yuqin, seated in the passenger seat, gazed outside at the twinkling lights, saying, "There's no place like home." Shen Shiyan wholeheartedly agreed. Who can argue with that? While studying in Australia, I always feel a pang of homesickness upon returning. I used to scoff at tales of overseas Chinese returning home with tears, kissing the ground. Now, if I were to be abroad for 10 years and return, I might not only kiss it, but perhaps even lick it. Zhou Yuqin burst into laughter, exclaiming, "Shen Shiyan, could you be any more disgusting?" Shun Jingyun interjected, "Dear, could you refrain from using foul language, especially in front of Xiaoyu?" Zhou Yuqin promptly raised his hands, replying, "I can." Shun Shiyan grinned, "Brother-in-law, I sense you have the makings of a henpecked husband." Zhou Yuqin retorted confidently, "Not just henpecked, I'm also a daughter slave." After a few casual exchanges, Shun Shiyan broached a serious topic. "Brother-in-law, as per your instructions, we have reached an agreement with the owners of 24 villas. We only need your signature now." Zhou Yuqin had meticulously reviewed the research report Shen Shiyan had sent, selecting 30 properties from a total of 36. Eventually settling on the 24 villas after discarding 6 larger flats. Although the flats were decent, they lacked privacy, making the villas a more cost-effective choice. "What about the loan process?" Zhou Yuqin inquired. The total price for the 24 villas was 2.8 billion, a sum Zhou Yuqin did not possess. "We have contacted the bank. The cheapest option is a mortgage loan with an annual interest rate of 4 to 6%. Mortgage Kunpeng Group? Exactly. The bank requires you to mortgage 5% of your shares in Kunpeng Group. Having already mortgaged 70% of the shares to acquire a few mobile battery manufacturing factories. Only 25% would remain. This was perilously low for a company. However, Zhou Yuqin had 50 billion in his account, which mitigated the risk. He suspected that the bank was willing to extend such favorable loan terms largely due to this substantial sum. Sure to expedite the loan application with the bank, and also mortgage the remaining 25% of Kunpeng Group's shares to secure 10 billion. Additionally, have the bank appraise Yuechen Gaming Company for another 2 billion. I will contribute 3 billion, totaling 15 billion, to purchase the courtyard houses or villas in Yindu, Guangqing, and Pengcheng." Shen Shiyan was taken aback, exclaiming, "Brother-in-law, are you out of your mind?" Zhou Yuqin smiled. "One must seize the moment. Just wait and see. I estimate that within 6 months, property prices will soar as if propelled by a rocket. If a financial crisis erupts in the lighthouse nation, it will inevitably impact the domestic economy. To swiftly mitigate adverse effects, the government will undoubtedly bolster the real estate sector, as it encompasses construction, materials, sales, and finance, generating substantial fiscal revenue and promoting national economic growth. This is the most direct and effective means of weathering a financial crisis." Zhou Yuqin previously predicted that property prices would rise 1 to 2 times over the next 3 years. It now appeared that this time frame might be significantly shortened, contingent upon a financial crisis in the lighthouse nation. Shen Shiyan took a deep breath, saying, "All right, I'll handle it tomorrow." "Brother-in-law, has there been an issue with the technology industry in the lighthouse nation?" Zhou Yuqin was taken aback, turning to Shen Shiyan and asking, "How did you deduce that?" Shen Shiyan nodded. "The tech stocks have risen too rapidly and too high, yet their profitability is abysmal. Only 1 in 10 companies is self-sufficient. Clearly, a significant bubble exists in the tech sector of the lighthouse nation. Once it bursts, it will inevitably lead to a financial collapse." At this point, Shen Shiyan paused abruptly, his mind racing. "I think I understand why you are willing to pay such a high price for the villas." Chapter 320, Shen Shiyan's Insight. Zhou Yuqin's eyes flickered, and he inquired nonchalantly why. Shen Shiyan explained, "If the economy in the lighthouse nation falters, the global economy will suffer, and we are no exception. To resolve this issue swiftly, the real estate industry is the best option, bar none. Your villas are likely to skyrocket in value within 6 months. Shorting the lighthouse nation stock market while preemptively purchasing property in Shaohua, brother-in-law, you are indeed playing a grand game. If successful, your net worth could easily double." Zhou Yuqin remained silent for a moment before asking, "If it were you, what would you do?" Shen Shiyan pondered. "Everything hinges on the collapse of the lighthouse nation stock market. If the judgment is flawed, it could spell disaster. Even if the judgment is correct, determining the inflection point is beyond my capability. However, regardless of whether the lighthouse nation stock market crashes, a surge in Shaohua's property prices is inevitable. The only variable is the timing. Thus, I would likely follow your lead, acquiring substantial real estate to safeguard my interests, and then concentrate funds to short the lighthouse nation stock market." Zhou Yuqin turned to Shen Jingyun, saying, "Dear, I previously mentioned that Shiyin is a prodigy in the investment field. You should now have no objections to my assessment. Shen Jingyan nodded. Sure too. Your plan is nearly identical to your brother-in-law's. Shen Shiyin furrowed his brow. However, this plan presents two significant issues: funding and the determination of the inflection point. Zhou Yuqin replied, aside from the tech bubble, there is also a real estate bubble in the Lighthouse Nation, along with an excess of bad debts at the banks. Together, these factors could precipitate an unprecedented financial crisis. I believe the inflection point lies between 2 months to half a year. As for the funding issue, I have already found a solution. Shen Shiyin curiously inquired. What solution? Zhou Yuqin casually replied. I am leveraging $400 million with 5 times the leverage to go long on Softstar Group. Are you insane? Shen Shiyin exclaimed in disbelief. You've already concluded that tech stocks are on the verge of collapse, yet you still choose to go long on Softstar Group? This is sheer folly. If it were Shen Shiyin, he would never consider such a move. Zhou Yuqin, dissatisfied, remarked, keep your voice down. Don't wake Xiao. The reason Zhou Yuqin revealed his audacious strategy to Shen Shiyin was primarily to demonstrate that his professional acumen far surpassed Shen Shiyin's. Shen Shiyin, being a proud individual, would only be convinced if he was bested in expertise. Shen Shiyin lowered his voice, asking, what if your judgment is incorrect? Zhou Yuqin replied calmly. A successful stock investor need not make judgments. But once a judgment is made, one must have unwavering faith in its correctness. Shen Shiyin swallowed hard and remarked, previously, when I invested in gold futures, you all deemed my actions too reckless and unsteady. Yet now, it seems you are 100 times more audacious than I ever was. If it were me, I would never engage in such operations. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. Fortune favors the bold, Shiyin. I have a task for you. Shen Shiyin inquired. What task? Zhou Yuqin replied. Once the real estate issues are settled, I need you to assemble a 10-member trading team in Xia country, with you as the leader. I will then take you all to the Lighthouse country to collaborate with another trading team to short-sell their technology stocks. Shen Shiyin's eyes brightened. No problem. Brother-in-law, how much capital do you have prepared? Zhou Yuqin stated. Initially, it was $15 billion. After visiting the Gaoyan Group, the investment manager informed me that I could borrow $500 million from them. Shen Shiyin, puzzled, asked, brother-in-law, where did you acquire $15 billion? Zhou Yuqin smiled. Once I sell the stocks of Wanqing Group, I will have it. Shen Shiyin was left speechless. You expect to turn $400 million into $11 billion? How is that feasible? Zhou Yuqin confidently asserted, the tech stocks in Lighthouse country are currently in a frenzy before their inevitable demise. It's not unusual for them to surge 1 or 2-fold. If you doubt this, we can wager. If I succeed, the $100 million reward I promised you will be forfeited. If I fail, I will gift you 2 villas worth $100 million. Without a moment's hesitation, Shen Shiyin replied, I will not wager. Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow. Why not? Shen Shiyin explained, the reason is simple. I have no need to take such risks. According to our previous agreement, regardless of whether Zhou Yuqin's judgment proves right or wrong, Shen Shiyin would still receive a $100 million bonus after settling debts. While betting could potentially yield $200 million, a loss would mean losing the guaranteed $100 million, leaving him penniless and unable to act. At this juncture, Shen Shiyin cannot afford to take risks. A glimmer of admiration flashed in Zhou Yuqin's eyes, a wise choice. Shen Shiyin paused. Brother-in-law, were you testing me just now? Zhou Yuqin chuckled. Not at all. Shen Shiyin scoffed, unconvinced by his words. After enjoying a delightful dinner, Zhou Yuqin and his family returned home. Shen Jingyun surveyed the surroundings and noticed the house was impeccably clean. Dear, did Annie come to tidy up for us? Zhou Yuqin replied, yes. My parents visited today, intending to wait for us at home, but seeing that it was getting late, they decided to leave. Dear, tomorrow at noon. Let us dine at your parents' home and visit mine in the afternoon. Shen Jingyun hesitated. Shall we go to my parents first? Will Uncle and Annie mind? Zhou Yuqin laughed. You think too much. They are not that petty. However, if you feel it's inappropriate, we can drop by in the morning to leave our purchases and chat with them for a while. Shen Jingyun nodded. That sounds good. The mother and daughter were somewhat exhausted from the flight, took a shower, and went to bed. Zhou Yuqin sat cross-legged on the bed, practicing Tai Chi visualization, soon entering a state of oblivion. The next morning, after breakfast, the family of 3 arrived at the home of Zhou Qingjian and Su Xiaowan, laden with bags. Upon seeing Xiaoya, Su Xiaowan immediately scooped her up. Darling, how was your time in New York? It was fantastic. Grandma, did you know there is a gigantic statue called the Statue of Liberty? Xiaoya wriggled free from Su Xiaowan's embrace and animatedly recounted her experiences in New York, captivating everyone with her charming expressions and exaggerated gestures. After a delightful 15-minute narration, she concluded. Chapter 321. Su Binglin's decision. Once the little girl finished, Zhou Yuqin asked, Grandfather, how is your health recovering? Su Binglin patted his belly and replied, I am perfectly fine now. I feel invigorated, ready to venture into the northeast's deep mountains for hunting. Su Laotai rolled her eyes at him, retorting, oh please. You used to eat 5 steamed buns in one sitting, and now you can't manage 3. Su Binglin shot back, why can't I eat? Isn't it because I'm too idle here? Xiaocheng, after your checkup next week, I intend to return to the northeast with your grandmother. Before Zhou Yuchen could respond, Su Xiaowan interjected, don't even think about it. Dad, you must stay here for at least 3 months before we can consider going back. Su Binglin frowned. I can't stand the environment in Yunhai. Staying at home day in and day out might lead to problems, even if I'm fine. Zhou Yuchen chuckled, grandfather. If you find yourself with too much time on your hands, you can always play cards or chess with the elderly, or take a stroll in the yard. Su Binglin waved his hand, sighing, I miss my old friends there. Su Laotai added, I must admit, I miss home a bit too. Su Xiaowan's expression shifted slightly, Dad. It's not that I don't want you to go back, I just worry about your health. Zhou Yuchen remarked, it's hard to leave one's homeland. Mother, grandfather's condition isn't that severe. If it were, we wouldn't allow him to return with grandmother. If you are still concerned, you can accompany them to the northeast for a while. Su Binglin's eyes lit up, exactly. Xiaowan, it has been over 20 years. How many times have you returned to the northeast? It probably hasn't even totaled 2 months. I refuse to believe you don't miss your hometown at all. He caught Su Xiaowan off guard with his counter. A hint of melancholy crossed her face. How could I not miss it? It's just. Su Binglin waved his hand. No more objections. Once my checkup is complete, we will return together to the northeast. With today's convenient travel, if anything happens, I can be back within 12 hours, and it won't delay my treatment. Su Xiaowan remained silent for a long moment, then turned to Zhou Qingjian, asking, Old Zhou, what do you think? Zhou Qingjian responded, Mom and Dad have lived their whole lives in the northeast. Suddenly changing their environment might not be good for them. Su Xiaowan then looked at Zhou Yuchen, who decisively stated, Mother, don't hesitate. The one recovering is grandfather. His comfort matters most. After next week's checkup, if all is well, then we shall return to the northeast. Su Xiaowan nodded but suddenly felt something amiss, raising an eyebrow. What tone was that just now? Zhou Yuchen was taken aback, quickly putting on a smile. Of course, it was a tone of negotiation. Su Xiaowan huffed. Zhou Yuchen, let me tell you, no matter how impressive you are outside, at home. Zhou Yuchen immediately interjected, you are the big boss. Everything in this house is at your discretion. If you tell me to go east, I shall not go west. If you tell me to chase dogs, I will not drive away chickens. I understand our family's corporate culture. Laughter erupted in the living room. Su Xiaowan couldn't help but laugh too, turning to Xiaoya, sweetheart. Never learn your father's slick tongue. Xiaoya, puzzled, innocently asked, Grandma, is Dad's mouth really oily? Once again, everyone burst into laughter. After chatting for a while, Zhou Yuchen stood up, Grandfather, Grandmother, Dad, Mom, we'll be going to Jingyun's parents for lunch and we'll return in the afternoon. Su Xiaowan nodded. Off you go. Jingyun, please convey our regards to your parents. Shin Jingyun replied, all right, thank you, Andy. An hour later, Zhou Yuchen drove Shin Jingyun and Xiaoya to the city government's residential complex. As the young couple entered, laden with bags, Daiwan sighed and remarked, there is nothing lacking at home. Why have you bought so many things? Zhou Yuchen chuckled, Aunt Dai, after our arduous journey to the land of lighthouses, how could we not indulge in a few purchases to justify the 36 hours spent in transit? Daiwan lifted little Yeya and asked, was the flight tiring, my dear? Yeya replied, not at all. I watched many animated films. Daiwan laughed, do take care of your eyes. We wouldn't want you to end up like your grandmother with poor eyesight. Yeya tilted her head, glancing at Daiwan's glasses, and said, but I think Grandma looks beautiful in her glasses. Daiwan beamed with delight, planting a kiss on Yeya's cheek. Thank you for the compliment, sweetheart. Shin Jingyun set down her belongings, surveyed the room, and inquired, where are Dad and Shirtu? Daiwan responded, your father is at a meeting. He will return shortly. Shirtu went to the bank after breakfast to discuss a loan. Shin Jingyun remarked, I noticed Shirtu seems to have changed quite a bit. Daiwan nodded, indeed. Ever since that incident, Shirtu has matured significantly. Xiaozhou, both Lao Shun and I owe you our gratitude. Had it not been for your support, the Shin family would have faced dire straits. Zhou Yuchen quickly replied, please, do not mention it. I maintain that Shurian's capabilities are beyond question. With more experience, he shall undoubtedly achieve great things. Daiwan commented, I do not expect him to become a great man. I merely hope he does not cause trouble. After organizing the newly acquired items, Daiwan prepared to head to the kitchen to cook. Zhou Yuchen offered, let me handle it. Without a moment's hesitation, Daiwan responded, that won't do. Shun Jingyun chimed in, Mom, little Yia wants Wensi tofu and squirrel fish. Can you manage one of those? Daiwan paused, her face reflecting a look of helplessness. The culinary skills required for Wensi tofu and squirrel fish are quite advanced, beyond the reach of most. Shen Jingyan suggested. If you find it too challenging, we can handle the prep work and let Xiao Zhou take care of the cooking. Honestly, I am eager to taste his dishes. After a moment's thought, Daiwan relented. All right then, Xiao Zhou, it seems I must trouble you again. Zhou Yuqing smiled. It's a trivial task, not worth mentioning. Daiwan and Shen Jingyun busied themselves in the kitchen for over 40 minutes before they completed their preparations. Zhou Yuqing entered the kitchen, observing the array of ingredients: fish, shrimp, beef, pork ribs, tofu, and various vegetables. Shen Jingyun said, aside from little Yeye's squirrel fish and Wensi tofu, feel free to prepare whatever you wish, chef. Zhou Yuqing grinned. Then I shall keep it simple. I have heard that the simplest dishes often pose the greatest challenges for a chef. Indeed. Take the example of scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Anyone can make it, but achieving a flavor that satisfies the majority tests a chef's skill. Dear, shall we give it a try? Try what? Try cooking. Leave the Wensi tofu and squirrel fish to me, and you can handle the rest. No problem. Mom, you can keep little Yeye company. All right. Daiwan agreed and exited the kitchen. Chapter 322. Can Jingyun really become a world-class novelist? Zhou Yuqing began instructing Shen Jingyun in the culinary arts. Although she had learned over a dozen dishes from him previously, significantly enhancing her skills, she was still merely at a beginner's level according to the standards of a comprehensive training system, far from mastery. To advance, she would need to invest considerable effort. While they were cooking, Shun Chenggang returned from his meeting. Upon seeing the adorable Yeye, the esteemed figure of the police force broke into a broad smile. Are the two of them in the kitchen? Yes, Xiao Zhou is teaching your daughter how to cook. Lao Shen, you entertain little Yeye. I will join them in the kitchen, Daiwan said as she re-entered. Shen Chenggang, rubbing his nose, mused that having a talented son-in-law as a chef was quite advantageous. At least he would enjoy good food in the future. Under Zhou Yuqing's guidance, Daiwan and Shen Jingyun each prepared 3 dishes, and together with Zhou Yuqing as squirrel fish and Wensi tofu, they had a splendid total of 8 dishes. The family gathered around the table as Shen Chenggang opened a bottle of Wulianya. Lao Shun, hold off on the drinking for a moment. Taste the dishes prepared by Jingyun and me. Are they not significantly improved? All right. Shen Chenggang took a bite of the stir-fried shredded potatoes. This sweet and sour potato dish is crisp and refreshing, with just the right acidity. Quite impressive. The scrambled eggs with tomatoes are delightful as well, rich in flavor and perfectly smooth. The stir-fried prawns are succulent and tender, with a delightful crunch. Each dish he tasted earned praise, leaving Daiwan and Shen Jingyun feeling somewhat incredulous. Is it really that good? Daiwan picked up a piece of her own tomato dish and tasted it. Afterward, she exclaimed, it is indeed quite flavorful. Xiao Zhou, my usual method for scrambled eggs with tomatoes is similar to yours. Why does it taste so different? Zhou Yuqing explained. The distinction between chefs lies in their control of heat. For instance, knowing precisely when to sauté the garlic and ginger before adding the tomatoes, or when to introduce the seasonings for optimal results. Timing and quantities are crucial. Daiwan marveled. It seems that every profession is complex. How did you master this? Zhou Yuqing shrugged. Perhaps I have a bit of a talent for it. Shen Chenggang interjected. Enough with the small talk. Come, Xiao Zhou, let us raise a toast. I have heard from Shurtu about the things you did for Jingyun in the land of lighthouses. As her father, I must express my gratitude. Zhou Yuqing quickly replied. Uncle Shun, Jingyun and I are like one. Her success is my success, and assisting her is akin to assisting myself, so please do not mention thanks. Shen Chenggang laughed heartily. I relish hearing that. Cheers. The two clinked glasses and downed their drinks. Shen Jingyun frowned slightly. Dad, take it easy. Shen Chenggang reassured her. No worries. If I were 20 years younger, I would dare to challenge Xiao Zhou. Now that I am older, my capacity for alcohol has diminished. Xiao Zhou, I will be more lenient with this second round. Zhou Yuqing smiled. Uncle Shun, we are drinking at home, where comfort is paramount. Drink as much as you like. I would never urge you to drink more, nor would I dare to. Shen Chenggang couldn't help but chuckle at this. After several rounds of drinks and dishes, Shen Chenggang began discussing Harry Potter. Xiao Zhou, do you truly believe Jingyun has the potential to become a world-renowned fantasy novelist? Absolutely. The narrative of Harry Potter is exceptionally compelling, appealing to all ages. With proper promotion, selling 3 million copies should pose no issue. Upon reaching 3 million copies, will you invest $100 million to make a movie? 100 million barely covers production costs. When factoring in promotional and distribution expenses, a minimum of $1.6 billion is required. My plan is to collaborate with a film company, splitting the necessary costs evenly. This way, they will be motivated to ensure the film's quality. How confident are you in recouping the costs? Harry Potter comprises 8 installments. The profitability of the first is not critical. What matters is generating enough fame and influence to lay a solid foundation for the subsequent 7 novels. There is a saying in the entertainment industry, any publicity is good publicity. Even if Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone does not perform well at the box office. As long as the name remains familiar to the public, we will consider it a success. If the box office performs exceptionally well, it signifies that the Harry Potter series possesses immense commercial value, akin to a treasure trove, provided the copyrights are developed appropriately. This treasure trove could conservatively yield a profit of $50 billion for Jingyan. Are you certain you are not indulging in fanciful dreams? Zhou Yuchen smiled and replied, Jingyan is not my employee making money for me. What purpose does it serve to paint grandiose visions for her? The release of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is imminent, and we shall wait in anticipation. As for Zhou Yuchen, Shen Chungang and Dai one could not be more satisfied with their son-in-law. Aside from his average appearance, his abilities, talents, and character are all exemplary. Even now, with a net worth exceeding 100 billion, his demeanor remains unchanged, devoid of any arrogance, an accomplishment not easily achieved. Unlike those wealthy heirs who leech off their forebears, often lacking self-awareness and brimming with arrogance, had they achieved Zhou Yuchen's success, they would have likely fled abroad to revel in extravagance. Shen Chungang, having encountered countless individuals and met Zhou Yuchen on numerous occasions, felt as though a veil of mystery shrouded him, rendering him perpetually inscrutable. After a hearty meal, just as Zhou Yuchen was about to take his leave, Shen Shiyan, reeking of alcohol, staggered in. Shen Qinggang's brow furrowed, his expression darkening. Shen Jingyan supported the swaying Shen Shiyan, asking, Sure too, why have you consumed so much alcohol? Shen Shiyan chuckled ruefully. There was no choice. The bankers are heavy drinkers. Thankfully, we are not lightweights either. Otherwise, I might have been carried in. Zhou Yuchen's eyes gleamed with interest as he inquired, Was it successful? Shen Shiyan nodded affirmatively. Yes, brother-in-law. We can sign the contract tomorrow at 9 in the morning. 30% of Kunping Group's shares can be pledged for a loan of 150 billion. Zhou Yuchen, taken aback, asked, How could they possibly lend such a sum? Although Kunping Group has flourished, leveraging 30% of its shares for a loan of 150 billion seemed implausible. Shen Shiyan shook his head to clear his thoughts and explained, brother-in-law. They stipulated that this 150 billion must be used exclusively for real estate purchases, with ownership held by the bank until the loan is fully repaid. Chapter 323. The real estate strategy. Real estate is a tangible asset with inherent high value. Given the current circumstances, a decline in property prices is virtually impossible. Kunping Group has emerged as a dark horse in the telecommunications sector, nearly monopolizing the global market for mobile batteries and chargers, with annual profits exceeding 100 billion almost guaranteed. Furthermore, the rapidly flourishing Yuchen Gaming Company ensures Zhou Yuchen will never be short of funds. Even if Zhou Yuchen were unable to repay the loan, the value of the properties he acquires, coupled with 30% of Kunping Group shares, would easily suffice to settle any debts. Zhou Yuchen personally poured a cup of tea for Shen Shiyan, saying, Shiyan, have a sip of tea. You did exceptionally well. Shen Shiyan accepted the cup with a chuckle. Brother-in-law, this is the first time you've served me tea. Zhou Yuchen smiled. You have achieved a significant accomplishment this time. Serving tea is a minor gesture. Once the property acquisition is finalized, I shall personally cook some dishes to celebrate. Zhou Yuchen initially thought securing a loan of 100 billion would be commendable, but the unexpected increase of 50% brought him immense joy. Presently, Zhou Yuchen possesses over 50 billion xia yuan, roughly equivalent to $700 million. He intends to transfer $500 million to Lighthouse Country to explore the vast financial market. Witnessing Shen Shiyan's inebriation for the sake of business, Shen Qinggang's anger dissipated entirely. He refrained from commenting on Zhou Yuchen's plans to secure 150 billion for real estate. Recent government meetings have solidified the rise of real estate and surging property prices as an established fact. Zhou Yuchen's approach is undoubtedly a surefire investment. The following morning at 9, Zhou Yuchen arrived at Xia Country Bank to sign the mortgage agreement. He pledged the future ownership of purchased properties and 30% of Kunping Group's shares to secure a loan of 150 billion, with an interest rate of 4.2 over 3 years, allowing for early repayment. After signing the agreement, Zhou Yuchen promptly finalized purchase agreements with 24 villa owners, paying the entire amount that afternoon and proceeding to the Yunhai Housing Management Bureau to complete the transfer procedures. The new property certificates would be ready in 3 days. Zhou Yuchen would merely handle the paperwork before entrusting all property certificates to Xia Country Bank for safekeeping, preventing him from leveraging these villas for further loans elsewhere. Going to Yindu tomorrow? Why the rush? Shen Jingyun asked, her expression one of astonishment as she looked at Shen Shiyan during dinner. Shen Shiyan replied, I dispatched a team to Yindu a week ago. So far, they have identified 8 villas and 15 courtyard houses for sale. I must go inspect them. Pausing, he turned to Zhou Yuchen, saying, Brother-in-law, The interiors of those courtyard houses are quite poorly decorated. Are you certain you want to purchase them? Without hesitation, Zhou Yuqin responded. Courtyard houses are a rare resource in Yindu. If they are for sale, we shall acquire them, regardless of their decor. I estimate that within a year or two, the Yindu government will implement purchase restrictions. Even with wealth, acquiring courtyard houses may become impossible. Shen Shiyan asked, you won't sell them all, will you? Shouldn't you retain one or two? Zhou Yuqin replied, in Yindu, Guangqing, and Pengcheng, I will keep one property each. As for which one to retain, that decision rests with your sister. I shall not interfere. Shen Jingyan frowned slightly, questioning, what need is there for so many properties? Shen Shiyan was rendered speechless. His elder sister was truly oblivious to her fortune. Countless women would vie to marry into affluent families for monetary gain, sometimes marrying men decades their senior merely to serve as childbearing vessels. Only after bearing children would they receive a villa or some financial reward from their husbands. Yet Shen Jingyun could marry her beloved and become the first-generation matriarch of a wealthy family, possessing both wealth and villas, a character straight out of a web novel's heroine. It was no wonder she could utter such trivial remarks about the necessity of multiple properties. Zhou Yuqin stated, I cannot confine all my assets to Yunhai. Eventually, I will establish ventures in Yindu, Guangqing, and Pengcheng. Having a property in these locations will facilitate future business trips. Shen Shiyan curiously asked, brother-in-law, what are your plans moving forward? Zhou Yuqin candidly replied, to acquire or establish a telecommunications company. Shen Shiyan remarked, isn't there already Hello and IQ? Zhou Yuqin laughed. I refer to mobile communications. Hello and IQ are quite inconvenient. I envision future smartphones equipped with voice chat, video chat, and everyday payment functionalities. Without a moment's pause, Shen Shiyan countered, that is impossible. Zhou Yuqin asserted, we live in a technological age. The only limitations are those you impose upon yourself. Shen Shiyan, somewhat unconvinced, retorted, let us not even discuss other features. How would I pay when shopping at the supermarket? Zhou Yuqin replied nonchalantly, with a QR code. Shen Shiyan paused, bewildered, and asked, what is a QR code? Zhou Yuqin shrugged and remarked, you will understand once I have developed it. In this world, there exists only barcodes, while QR codes have not yet emerged. Once Su Yang completes the Meet Xian app, Zhou Yuqin intends for her to continue leading the team in developing QR codes. Zhou Yuqin's strategy is to secure the patent for QR codes before promoting the Meet Xian app, as QR codes hold immense significance in the realm of payments, functioning as a potent tool capable of transforming lifestyles. With QR codes in place, it would be exceedingly challenging for other mobile communication apps to compete. Damn, it seems it hasn't even been developed yet. Shen Shiyan rolled his eyes in exasperation. The following day, Shen Shiyan boarded a plane directly to Yindu. After another day, Su Xiaowan returned to northeast Jishur with the elderly couple. Su Bingling's follow-up examination results were remarkably good, showing no significant differences from a normal person. The elderly couple had grown weary of their stay in Yunhai and departed the very afternoon their checkup concluded. Shen Shiyan was exceptionally efficient, having finalized negotiations for 8 villas and 16 courtyard houses in Yindu within just a week. The villas predominantly ranged in size from 1,000 to 2,000 square meters and were situated in prime locations. The sizes of the courtyard houses varied, with the smallest being around 200 square meters and the largest boasting 1,500 square meters. Prices ranged from just over 10 million to several hundred million. Upon receiving a call from Shen Shiyan, Zhou Yuqin personally flew to Yindu to inspect the various courtyard houses. Though these properties bore signs of age and their decor left much to be desired, they were imbued with considerable cultural and historical value. Once property prices soared, the commercial value of these courtyard houses would undoubtedly become apparent. A singular villa might yield Zhou Yuqin a profit of 1 or 2 times his investment. Yet the courtyard houses held the potential for appreciation of 4 to 5 times over a span of 4 to 5 years. Chapter 324. A date with Su Yang at the Romanesque restaurant in Yindu. Zhou Yuqin sat near the window, engrossed in his phone. It had been 2 weeks since he purchased shares in Soft Star Group. During this fortnight, technology stocks in the United States skyrocketed like a volcanic eruption. The share price of Soft Star Group had risen by 38%, which was quite substantial, yet it ranked 78th in terms of growth. This indicated that 77 other technology companies had experienced even greater increases. Such a phenomenon could scarcely be described as anything short of madness. Yesterday, Zhou Yuqin had signed purchase agreements with over 20 homeowners and subsequently visited the Yindu Real Estate Bureau to handle the formalities. The staff at the bureau were left astounded upon learning that someone had spent 30 billion to acquire 24 properties. Such wealth was staggering. The head of the registration department personally escorted them to an office to facilitate the transfer process. After settling the housing matters, Zhou Yuqin contacted Su Yang to arrange a lunch at the Romanesque restaurant. This establishment is regarded as one of the most expensive in Yindu, with a chef who has garnered acclaim working at numerous renowned Western restaurants. The restaurant serves a maximum of 8 tables for lunch and dinner, with a minimum spending of 5,000 yuan per table, making it quite an extravagant choice. Shortly thereafter, a young woman in her 20s, possessing striking features, entered the restaurant. She wore a white knitted jacket paired with tight-fitting jeans, exuding a simple yet fashionable aura that accentuated her curvaceous figure. "Are you Yuchen, my cousin?" she asked softly, scanning the room before approaching Zhou Yuchen. Looking up, Zhou Yuchen stood and smiled. "Yang. I recall our last meeting was 7 years ago when you were in the second year of junior high. Time flies. You've blossomed into a young woman. I might not even recognize you if we passed each other on the street." Su Yang, embodying the straightforwardness and vivacity characteristic of northeastern women, replied, "Cousin, you're only 5 years older than me. Can we not make me sound so elderly?" Zhou Yuchen chuckled. "All right, I concede. Please, have a seat." They settled into their chairs, and Zhou Yuchen handed the menu to Su Yang. "I've ordered everything I want. Feel free to choose whatever you like." As Su Yang perused the menu's prices, she gasped, "Cousin, the Western dishes here are quite pricey." Zhou Yuchen smiled. "I'm treating you. So what is there to worry about?" Her eyes lighting up, Su Yang grinned. "Well then, I shall not hold back." Nonetheless, she only selected 3 relatively inexpensive dishes. Zhou Yuchen appreciated her restraint, taking the menu back to add 2 more dishes and a soup before handing it to the waiter. "But cousin, I can't eat this much," Su Yang protested. Zhou Yuchen replied with a grin. "If you can't finish, we can always take it home. I won't let my employees go hungry." With a resigned shrug, Su Yang acquiesced. "Fine, you are the boss, after all." After some light conversation, they quickly became comfortable with one another. While dining, Zhou Yuchen inquired about the progress of the Mi Xian app's development. "Yang, how is the Mi Xian app coming along? Are there any challenges?" Su Yang nodded. "The difficulties are considerable. After Zhou Yuchen sent the project proposal to me, I promptly reported it to the university. Yindu University is far more open than in the past. For a project that allows students to earn while honing their skills, the school not only facilitated the process but also provided me with a workspace, albeit for a rental fee." As the belle and top student of Yindu University, Su Yang wielded considerable influence. Within just a day, she gathered 24 talented computer science students. Upon receiving Zhou Yuchen's approval, she offered them a monthly salary of 150,000 yuan, with a 1-month probation period. If their skills proved inadequate, she could dismiss them at any time. It was evident that the computer science students at Yindu University were remarkably capable. After working for over half a month, each was performing admirably. In the previous timeline, the team developing the Mi Xian app consisted of only 10 individuals and took 80 days to produce the first version, which only allowed for the transmission of basic messages and images. However, the proposal Zhou Yuchen provided was akin to the 4th version of the app, enabling not only messaging and image sharing but also features such as Shake to Connect, social feeds, voice calls, video chats, and a web-based version of Mi Xian, among others. Thus, to fully develop the Mi Xian app would require at least a year. Zhou Yuchen asked, "Do you think we need to bring in some experienced software developers from outside to assist you?" Su Yang shook her head. "No need. Cousin, I would like to hire academician Wu Xingyan from our computer engineering college as a consultant for our development team. What do you think?" "An academician?" Zhou Yuchen set down his cutlery, astonished. "You can manage to invite a national academician?" Regardless of the timeline, anyone who achieved such a prestigious title was invariably a genius perched at the pinnacle of their field. According to the standards of the comprehensive development system, they would likely possess mastery of at least 80% of their domain. Having such an individual as a mentor would undoubtedly prove invaluable for the Mi Xian development team. A glimmer of pride flickered in Su Yang's eyes as she said, "As long as I rank among the top 3 in my major next semester, Professor Wu will recommend me as her graduate student." Zhou Yuchen, filled with joy, inquired, "That's wonderful. What was your ranking in the final exam last semester?" Su Yang raised an eyebrow and replied, "Naturally, I was first. Otherwise, how could I expect such treatment? If you agree, I will take your proposal to Professor Wu tomorrow and ask her to mentor me. Last year, I accompanied her to a company for research, and her salary was 100,000 a month." Pausing here, Su Yang gazed intently at Zhou Yuchen. He responded, "As long as we can invite academician Wu, money is no object. How about this? I can raise the monthly salary to 120,000. Su Yang gave a thumbs up, exclaiming, "Generous." Zhou Yuchen lifted his glass of red wine, asserting, "This is essential. Cheers to your imminent success." Su Yang raised her glass and clinked it with his, affirming, "Indeed." Zhou Yuchen couldn't help but smile. Outside the Roman restaurant, Shun Shiyan watched the amiable exchange between Zhou Yuchen and Su Yang, furrowing his brow. It turned out that he had overheard Zhou Yuchen making the reservation over the phone. Thus, he had driven over discreetly and witnessed the scene before him. Chapter 325. Did Zhou Yuqin cheat? Who was that girl? A mistress? Or perhaps an online acquaintance? Shen Shiyan swiftly dialed Zhou Yuqin's number. Brother-in-law, what are you up to? Nothing much. Is there something you need? No. Just thought since it's noon, we could have a meal together. I've already eaten. You should take your team out to eat. After hanging up, Shen Shiyan's frown deepened. Already eaten? You're clearly dining right now. This is infidelity. He resolved to expose him. Shen Shiyan opened his phone's camera. Due to the distance, the resolution was lacking, but he exerted considerable effort to capture a photo of the duo. After sending the picture to Shen Jingyun, he immediately called her to relay the situation. Shen Jingyun was dining in the company cafeteria, and upon hearing Shen Shiyan's report, her expression remained unchanged. Shiyan, your brother-in-law dining with a beautiful girl at a Western restaurant doesn't imply he has wronged me. I trust his character. You should not be so suspicious. Shen Shiyan urged. Sister, what kind of person is your brother-in-law now? A billionaire. Countless beautiful women in society would seek to attract him. If something were to happen, it would be too late for regrets. Shen Jingyun paused momentarily, her grip on the chopsticks hesitating. If your brother-in-law were to have an affair, it would indicate my poor judgment in choosing a partner. I would end the relationship, but I would not regret it, nor would there be any need for regret. Shen Shiyan felt a sense of urgency, akin to an anxious official. Sister, I must say, your resolve is admirable. After their conversation, Shen Shiyan did not leave. Instead, he hid in his car, keeping a watchful eye on Zhou Yuqin and Su Yang. Meanwhile, Shen Jingyun's friend, Luo Xinxin, set down her chopsticks and remarked, Jingyun, is Zhou Yuqin unfaithful? Shen Jingyun rolled her eyes and replied irritably, not at all. He is on a business trip to Yindu. Luo Xinxin pouted, stating, don't kid me. I overheard your conversation. Jingyun, you should ask Zhou Yuqin about it. Ask what? Where he is and who he is with. If he tells the truth, it indicates nothing is amiss. If he lies, then caution is warranted. Trust is paramount in a relationship, and its foundation is honesty. This is an excellent opportunity to test him. After considering Luo Xinxin's words, Shen Jingyun found them reasonable and picked up her phone to dial Zhou Yuqin's number. Luo Xinxin immediately perked up her ears. Honey, what are you busy with? Having a meal with a stunning beauty. Shen Jingyun shot a glance at Luo Xinxin and laughed. A stunning beauty? How beautiful is she? More so than me. In my eyes, you are the most beautiful, a perfect score. This one before me is just slightly lower. Perhaps a 999. Cousin, can you refrain from complimenting my wife in front of me? A female voice chimed in, cousin. Upon hearing this term of endearment, Shen Jingyun recalled that Zhou Yuqin's cousin was studying at Yindu University. Honey, was that Su Yang speaking just now? Indeed. Yang, say hello to your sister-in-law. Hello, I am Su Yang. Hello, Su Yang. Our grandparents often praised you before us. When will you come to Yunhai for a visit? I am currently working for my cousin, so I can't come for now. If I have time during the winter break, I will come to visit you. Please don't find me bothersome. After a brief conversation, they hung up. Shen Jingyun exhaled in relief. That girl is my husband's cousin. Luo Xinxin chuckled. Are you reassured now? Shen Jingyun feigned nonchalance. I was never worried. You, with your stubbornness. Oh, please. Shen Jingyun shot her a glance, suddenly recalling Shen Shiyan might still be on surveillance, and quickly sent him a text. Upon receiving the message, Shen Shiyan dared not linger and promptly drove away. After finishing lunch, Zhou Yuqin followed Su Yang into Yindu University, renowned as the foremost institution in Xiaogua. Given Zhou Yuqin's college entrance examination results, he could have attended this prestigious school, but he ultimately chose Yunhai University. Unexpectedly, circumstances left him without even a bachelor's degree. Upon entering the research room of Su Yang's team, he saw over a dozen university students fervently typing away at their keyboards. Spotting Su Yang, a girl with thick glasses paused and smiled. Boss Su, who is this handsome guy? A shorter girl beside her teased. Could he be your Prince Charming? Clearly, these two girls shared a close rapport with Su Yang, evidenced by their playful banter. Hearing their remarks, the others turned to look at Zhou Yuqin. Su Yang retorted. Xiaolei, Zhanya, you two should be cautious when speaking in front of the real boss. Otherwise, you might find yourselves without a salary, and those lovely bags and clothes will be out of reach. The girl with glasses remarked. The real boss? Is this the wealthy cousin you spoke of? Su Yang snapped her fingers and announced. Correct. Allow me to introduce Mr. Zhou Yuqin, our team's benefactor. Let us welcome him with applause. With that, over a dozen students stood up and applauded, leaving Zhou Yuqin feeling quite embarrassed. He shot a glare at Su Yang and said, Everyone, please take your seats. This is the highest institution of learning in Xiaogua. We need not engage in such superficial displays. I am here mainly to visit and observe your working environment and progress. A man in the group called out, Since you're visiting us, did you bring anything? Zhou Yuqin chuckled. What would you like to eat? The man replied, Fruits, snacks, and beverages. Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow, saying, I did not bring those items. However, I can allocate 100,000 to Su Yang to purchase fruits, snacks, and drinks for you all. Hooray for Mr. Zhou. Long live Mr. Zhou. As a crowd erupted with excitement, Zhou Yuqin found himself rejuvenated in spirit while gazing at the vibrant group of university students before him. He inquired about the development progress of the Mi-Xine app, describing its pace as neither excessively fast nor painfully slow. When he asked if there were any challenges during the development process, numerous hands shot up in response. Zhou Yuqin urged everyone to remain calm and to speak one at a time, promising to address each concern individually. As a master recognized by the comprehensive development system, Zhou Yuqin's prowess in software engineering was nothing short of divine. Regardless of the complexity of the questions posed, he could offer optimal solutions within mere seconds. Chapter 326. The successful development of Temple Escape was astounding. This level of expertise could rival that of academicians. I would wager that Su's cousin is undoubtedly a scholarly genius, if not a deity of knowledge. Including Su Yang, everyone was left in awe of Zhou Yuqin's seemingly terrifying capabilities. Many young women gazed at him with admiration gleaming in their eyes. After spending 2.5 hours in the development room, Zhou Yuqin left with Su Yang only when all inquiries had been resolved. On their way, Su Yang incredulously asked, "Cousin, you are truly remarkable. How do you know so much?" Zhou Yuqin chuckled, "Have you forgotten? I was the top scorer in the college entrance examination in Xinjiang province." Su Yang replied, "But those students who just attended your lecture are also top scorers from various regions, and none of them are as impressive as you." Zhou Yuqin shrugged. "What can I say? I am a genius among geniuses." Su Yang pursed her lips, momentarily at a loss for words. After conversing with Su Yang's development team, Zhou Yuqin felt a weight lifted off his shoulders. "Hey, Brother Chun, Temple Escape has completed testing." He received a congratulatory call from Zheng Tong as he returned to the hotel. Among the 4 games under development at Yueqin Game Company, Temple Escape posed the least difficulty and was solely being developed as a mobile game, thus progressing rapidly. "That's fantastic. When do you plan to launch?" "Next Friday at 8 p.m. It was Wednesday, leaving 9 days until Temple Escape would meet its players. "All right. I entrust you with the promotion and distribution of Temple Escape. I shall refrain from intervening, and I hope this game achieves remarkable success. Thank you for your trust, Brother Chen. I am confident it will be a success." The following morning, Zhou Yuqin, along with Shun Shiyan and his home-buying team, arrived at Yindu Airport. The two parties had different destinations. Zhou Yuqin was headed to Yunhai, while Shun Shiyan and his team were bound for Pengcheng. At 4:30 p.m., Zhou Yuqin arrived at the kindergarten to pick up Xiao Yeye. "Daddy, you're finally back. I thought I would miss you to death," Xiao Yeye exclaimed. Wrapping her arms around Zhou Yuqin's neck, her cherubic face alight with innocent joy, Zhou Yuqin felt his heart melt as he replied, "My dear, I missed you terribly as well. Tell me, what would you like to eat this afternoon?" Hearing this, Xiao Ye's face brightened as she declared, "I want sweet and sour shredded potatoes, sweet and sour pork tenderloin, and braised lion's head." Zhou Yuqin chuckled. "Have you been planning this all along, little girl?" Xiao Ye giggled. "Last night, Mommy told me you were coming home today, so we went to the supermarket to buy a lot of groceries." Zhou Yuqin feigned anger. "Oh, so you two conspired against me." Xiao Ye burst into laughter. Upon returning home, Zhou Yuqin turned on the television for Xiao Ye to watch cartoons while he busied himself in the kitchen. Before long, Shun Jingyun returned home. "Honey, did everything go smoothly?" After changing into slippers and casual clothes, Shun Jingyun entered the kitchen, wrapping her arms around Zhou Yuqin from behind and softly inquiring. Zhou Yuqin smiled, very smoothly. "Shiyan has completed all the preparations. I just need to sign and make the payment." "Dear, you're unusually affectionate today. Are you feeling guilty about something?" Shun Jingyun paused. "Guilty? How could that be?" Zhou Yuqin turned the heat down and gave her an oddly amused look. "Did you call me yesterday because you received a call from Shiyan? You knew?" Shun Jingyun's expression shifted slightly as she hurried to explain, "Honey, it's not that I don't trust you. I'm just a bit worried." Zhou Yuqin asked, "Worried about what?" "Worried that you might be taken away by another woman." Zhou Yuqin rolled his eyes. "Are you trying to comfort a child?" Shun Jingyun playfully retorted, "So? You won't forgive me?" Zhou Yuqin casually remarked, "To earn my forgiveness is not difficult. Just agree to one condition." "What condition?" Shun Jingyun inquired. Zhou Yuqin replied, "I secretly bought you a few outfits in Yindu, and I want you to model them for me. Is that all? I can wear them for you." Upon seeing the slightly mischievous glint in Zhou Yuqin's eyes, Shun Jingyun paused, asking, "What outfits?" Zhou Yuqin raised an eyebrow. "Flight attendant uniform, nurse outfit, office lady attire, and black stockings." Shun Jingyun's face flushed crimson. "Zhou Yuqin, you are such a pervert." Zhou Yuqin grumbled, "I call it marital playfulness. Thank you very much." Shun Jingyun huffed and turned to leave. As she reached the kitchen door, she paused to ask, "How did you know Shiyan called me?" Zhou Yuqin explained, "That rascal was using his phone to take pictures of me, which I caught him doing, and then you called me. I wasn't sure if he had contacted you. So I decided to test you, and you fell for it. You are too cunning. Shun Jingyun gritted her teeth. Zhou Yuqin beamed with pride. Thank you for the compliment. That evening, under Zhou Yuqin's persistent coaxing, Shun Jingyun ultimately yielded to his whims. Thus began Zhou Yuqin's blissful life. At 8 a.m., a melody roused Shun Jingyun from sleep. Blinking her drowsy eyes, she picked up her phone from the bedside and answered. This is Shun Jingyun. Who is this? Hello, Miss Shun. This is Eva Roy from Mike Publishing Group. A voice as clear as a lark reached her ears, though the pronunciation was somewhat off, causing her mild discomfort. Upon realizing it was a representative from Mike Publishing Group, Shun Jingyun jolted upright, asking, Ms. Roy, what can I do for you? Eva Roy responded. I wanted to inform you that tomorrow at 8 a.m., your fantasy novel, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, will be available in major bookstores across the United States. I will be the point of contact for this publication, so feel free to reach out to me with any inquiries. A glimmer of joy spread across Shun Jingyun's face as she asked, when will I know the sales figures for the first day? Eva Roy replied, we should have the first day's results by 10 a.m. the following day. Rest assured, I will notify you immediately. All right, thank you. After hanging up, Shun Jingyun saved Eva Roy's number. Just as she was about to get dressed, Xiaoye burst through the door, exclaiming, Mommy, how come you're still in bed this late? Feigning anger, Shun Jingyun retorted, Oh you, little Yaya, have you learned to tease your mother now? Come here, and see if I want to spank your little bottom. Upon hearing this, Xiaoye immediately climbed onto her bed, raised her little bottom, and said while shaking, Go ahead, hit me. Chapter 327. The novel is a hit. Ha ha. Shun Jingyun was thoroughly amused by Xiaoye's antics, scooping her into her arms and planting a hearty kiss on her cheek, exclaiming, Mama loves you to bits. Xiaoye reciprocated with a kiss, saying, Xiaoye loves you too. Zhou Yuqin, with his school bag in hand, stood at the doorway and said, Xiaoye, it's time for school. Xiaoye responded with an O and climbed down from the bed. Zhou Yuqin added, Darling, breakfast is on the table, don't forget to eat. Shun Jingyun recalled the mortifying scenes from last night and shot Zhou Yuqin a glare, replying, I know. Zhou Yuqin smiled smugly at her and left the house with Xiaoye. As Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was about to meet its readers, Shun Jingyun felt a mix of anxiety and anticipation. At 10 o'clock on Friday night, the first day sales figures for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone were released, 200 copies. Upon learning this number, Shun Jingyun felt a wave of disappointment wash over her. She had expected at least 5,000 copies to be sold on the first day, but it hadn't even reached half that amount. Staring at the computer screen where she was writing the second book in the Harry Potter series, she felt a surge of frustration. She got up and walked into Zhou Yuqin's study, perching herself on his lap and sighing, Darling, the first day sales of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone are quite dismal, only 200 copies. Zhou Yuqin laughed. Why is that considered dismal? My dear, you're merely a fledgling author. Achieving this result on the first day is already among the best for newcomers. But don't forget, we invested over $1 million to print 200,000 copies and spent more than $2 million on promotion. The real promotional campaign hasn't even started yet. The figures from the first 3 days don't count. The true explosion will occur after 3 days. Tonight, DLE will post about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on her social media, and the online marketing teams will begin promoting it across major forums. Thus, whether Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone soars or falters, the third day will be pivotal. Shun Jingyun exhaled, saying, Darling, to be honest, I've been quite anxious and unsettled over the past couple of days, fearing that Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone might fail. Zhou Yuqin gently stroked her hair. Even if you don't believe in yourself, you should believe in me. The concept and outline of Harry Potter originated from me. I am a genius storyteller, and you are a writing prodigy. With our combined talents, we shall be invincible. Even if Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone ultimately underperforms, it won't be our fault. Shun Jingyun queried, Then whose fault is it? Zhou Yuqin replied with conviction, It's obviously the reader's fault. It just shows they lack discernment. Shun Jingyun chuckled, You have quite the audacity to say such a thing. Zhou Yuqin replied earnestly, My dear, I have already earned enough money for us to last 10 lifetimes, so the outcome of the Harry Potter series is not what matters. What is important is the journey. Whether in the creative process or the promotional phase, we must strive to do our best, and then accept success or failure with grace. Shun Jingyun nodded, smiling, Darling, I didn't realize you had a knack for psychology. Your words have lightened my spirits. Zhou Yuqin lifted her up, saying, I am not only a psychologist, but also a physician, the kind that administers injections. With a playful glint in her eye, Shun Jingyun whispered in his ear, I'll go change into a nurse's outfit. Zhou Yuqin replied, Let us go together. Soon, a passionate encounter erupted in the bedroom. The following evening at 8, the luminary singer DLE praised Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on her Twitter, stating that the novel was irresistibly captivating, igniting her desire to practice magic and soar through the skies on a broomstick. Although Dia Lee's review was brief, it had a tremendous impact on her millions of followers. The next day, sales of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone surged to 500 copies, and following Dia Lee's endorsement, the sales skyrocketed exponentially on the third day, reaching 850,000 copies. This was despite the fact that the Mike Publishing Group had only printed 100,000 copies. Otherwise, surpassing 200,000 copies would have been entirely feasible. Countless bookstores called the Mike Publishing Group, urging them to expedite shipments of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The response from Mike Publishing Group was swift. They mobilized 3 printing houses and, within just 24 hours, printed another 100,000 copies and distributed them to major bookstores. In less than a day, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was sold out once again. Ms. Shun, I apologize for disturbing you at this hour. At 3 in the morning, Shin Jingyun was awakened by a call from Eva Roy. Ms. Roy, is there something urgent? Ms. Shun, your 200,000 copies of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone have all sold out and require reprinting. Since you opted for self-financed printing, our publishing group needs your authorization. Upon hearing this, Shin Jingyun was overjoyed. That's wonderful. Ms. Roy, how many copies do you think we should reprint? Based on information from various bookstores and online pre-sales, a conservative estimate would be to reprint 500,000 copies. So many? Ms. Shun, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone has already created quite a stir in the Lighthouse Nation, and the online reviews are overwhelmingly positive. 500,000 copies may not even suffice. Please hold on for a moment. I need to discuss this with my husband. Of course. Shin Jingyun exited the bedroom and found Zhou Yuqin still reading in his study, not yet resting. Darling, I have great news. Sales of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone have surpassed 200,000 copies. Mike Publishing Group called and wants to reprint 500,000 copies. What do you think? Zhou Yuqin, who had been closely monitoring the situation in the Lighthouse Nation, was not at all surprised by the sales figures. After a moment of contemplation, he said, "That's too little. Let us go for 1,000,000 copies. I will immediately get the 3 online marketing teams we hired to work on selling that million copies within 10 days. Haha, in less than 2 weeks. Sales will exceed 1.2 million. At that point, it will be impossible for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone not to be a sensation. 1,000,000 copies? Isn't that a bit excessive? Less than 1% of authors worldwide can sell 1 million copies of their novels." Shin Jingyun struggled to believe that she could achieve such a feat. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. What is excessive about that? Do you believe that within a week, Mike Publishing Group will be contacting you again to request another reprint? Shin Jingyun, puzzled, asked why. Zhou Yuqin explained. Because Mike Publishing Group will not limit the sales of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone to just the Lighthouse Nation. Their sales reach extends to Europe and South America as well. The success of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in the Lighthouse Nation fully demonstrates the book's potential. The leadership of Mike Publishing Group would have to be utterly foolish not to extend sales to other regions. Shin Jingyun nodded and replied, "Then I will go respond to them." Upon hearing Shin Jingyun's request for an additional print run of 1 million copies, Iwa Li readily acquiesced without a moment's hesitation. 20 minutes later, an electronic agreement landed in Shin Jingyun's inbox. Concurrently, Zhou Yuqin contacted the 3 heads of the online marketing team, instructing them to create a significant buzz for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. These 3 individuals were introduced by Dia Li, seasoned professionals who had long collaborated with Hollywood film groups and artists, their promotional prowess rivaling that of any traditional marketing team. Had it not been for Dia Li's endorsement, they might not have entertained Zhou Yuqin's request at all. Soon, numerous posts regarding Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone flooded renowned forums across the Lighthouse Nation. Today, a magical novel titled Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone received resounding recommendations. Its character development and narrative were exceptionally captivating. Dia Li is indeed my dream goddess. I purchased a copy of the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone she recommended, and although I have only read half of it, I can assure you with utmost sincerity that this book is unequivocally a masterpiece. In just 4 days, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone sold 200,000 copies, garnering an avalanche of positive reviews. It is said to be the creation of a talented woman from the summer country, which is truly remarkable. I completed reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone today, and if the highest rating is 5 stars, I would award it a perfect score. The magical elements presented in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone felt almost tangible, but I must advise all readers against any attempts at practicing magic. With the combined efforts of the 3 online marketing teams, the influence of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone steadily grew. Many netizens could not resist the allure, flocking to bookstores to purchase their copies. Those who were unable to find one resorted to online orders, with pre-sales exceeding 200,000 at one point. The book became a sensation. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone exploded in popularity across the Lighthouse Nation. In the government housing complex of Yanhai, while cooking, Shen Jingyun received a call from Iwa Li. The two engaged in an animated conversation in English. Nearby, Daiwan managed to catch a few snippets, alluding to matters concerning Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. After hanging up, a smile illuminated Shen Jingyun's face. Daiwan inquired, "What has brought you such joy?" Shen Jingyun beamed. "Mom, do you know how many copies of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone have been sold?" Daiwan shot her a quizzical look, urging her to spill the beans. Shen Jingyun raised 5 fingers, indicating, "This many." Daiwan exclaimed, 50,000 copies? Shen Jingyun shook her head, and Daiwan gasped. Could it be 500,000 copies? Shen Jingyun replied with pride, "Indeed, 500,000 copies." Daiwan, incredulous, remarked, "How is that even possible?" Shen Jingyun smiled and said, "Nothing is impossible. The 500,000 copies are merely those sold. When factoring in pre-sales, the total has surpassed 800,000. Unfortunately, due to our miscalculations, the Mike Publishing Group did not print enough copies, causing some delays. However, their printing facility is currently working around the clock. If all goes well, we expect to surpass 1 million copies in just 3 days." Even Daiwan, known for her composure, took a considerable time to digest this astonishing news. Previously, Zhou Yuqin had asserted that he would sell 3 million copies of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, subsequently turning it into a film series and selling the rights for billions. While I remained silent then, I always considered it a fanciful dream. I never anticipated that the first step would proceed so smoothly. Shen Jingyun continued, "Our current success heavily relies on robust promotional efforts. Sustaining this momentum will depend on reader feedback. There exists a highly regarded rating website in the Lighthouse Nation, known as Good Book. Out of a possible 5 stars, approximately 30,000 reviewers have rated Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone with an impressive average of 4.73 stars. Daiwan asked, "How does this score rank for the year?" Shen Jingyun replied, "It stands as the top-rated book in the past 3 years. However, with an increasing number of reviews, the average score is likely to decline." Daiwan's face lit up with pride as she said, "Jingyun, keep pushing forward. You have made an excellent start on your literary journey, and the prospect of becoming a world-class author is very promising." Shen Jingyun nodded, stating, "I will strive diligently. Mom, I am contemplating resigning. What do you think?" Daiwan, seemingly having pondered this matter previously, replied, "Whatever decision you make, your father and I will support you." In the past, Shen Jingyun's resignation would have been met with disapproval from Daiwan, but circumstances had changed. Zhou Yuqin's presence granted Shen Jingyun the autonomy to choose her path in life. Not to mention, the billion-dollar fund Zhou Yuqin allocated for Xiao Yeye would suffice for both mother and daughter to live comfortably for a lifetime. Daiwan and Shen Jingyun prepared the meal and had just set it on the table when Shun Chungang returned home from work. After playing with Xiao Yeye for a while, he inquired, "Where's Zhou?" Shun Jingyun replied, "He went to Tianjiang Drone Group to address a challenge with chip development." Shun Chungang responded, "This lad is becoming increasingly busy." Daiwan chimed in, "Old Shun, I have delightful news. Your daughter is on the path to becoming a world-renowned author." Shin Qinggang raised an eyebrow, asking, "Has your novel succeeded?" Shun Jingyan replied, "In 3 days, our sales are expected to surpass 1 million copies." Shin Qinggang exclaimed joyfully, "That's wonderful. It's a pity Zhou isn't here today. Otherwise, I would celebrate with him." Shin Jingyan sighed, stating, "Actually, the entire concept and creative process of the novel originated from Yuqin. I merely refined it. If a title such as world-renowned author were to be bestowed upon me, I would feel quite unworthy." Shin Qinggang waved his hand dismissively, saying, "One cannot diminish the value of your contributions. No matter how excellent the outline, without sufficient literary prowess, it could never achieve success. However, the fact that you recognize this is commendable. Strive to produce a truly original world-class work in the future." Chapter 329. The Escape from the Divine Temple. Daiwan chuckled, "Old Shun, look at you, encouraging others. I thought you only knew how to scold." Shin Qinggang retorted playfully, "With a person like Shirtu, if I don't scold or chastise him, he might just ascend to the heavens. By the way, what is Shida's current situation?" Shin Jingyan replied, "According to Yuqin, he is currently searching for suitable properties in Pengcheng." Shin Qinggang asked, "How is he faring?" Shin Jingyan answered, "In Yunhai and Yindu, Shirtu has performed admirably without a hitch. With his experience, I believe he will manage well in Pengcheng and Guangxing as well. He should be back in about half a month." Shin Qinggang nodded, "That's good to hear. The retail price of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is 115. Based on the agreed-upon profit-sharing arrangement, after deducting relevant costs, Shun Jingyun stands to earn 25 from each book sold. For Zhou Yuqin to recoup the expenses of printing and marketing, Shun Jingyun would need to sell between 2 and 3 million copies. Given the current fervor surrounding Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, reaching 3 million copies seems entirely feasible. Indeed, following the overwhelming acclaim from readers, sales continued to soar day by day. A week later, total sales reached 1,200,000, with pre-orders exceeding 300,000. Shun Jingyun found it necessary to order another 100,000 copies. Meanwhile, the Yueqin Game Company also brought forth promising news. With the reputation accumulated from previous successes, Temple Escape launched and within merely 24 hours, achieved over 40 million downloads globally, astonishing countless competitors. Most remarkably, Temple Escape continued the stellar reputation of its predecessors, Fruit Night, Angry Birds, and Leisure Match, garnering unanimous acclaim from gamers. Unlike before, the download price for Temple Escape abroad has risen to $2. As nearly all mobile games have adopted this price point, Zhou Yuqin opted for conformity, recognizing the considerable advantages it brought. Naturally, this decision elicited some complaints from players. In the office of the president of Yueqin Game Company, Zheng Tong presented last month's financial report to Zhou Yuqin. The 4 games collectively generated a staggering revenue of 480 million, with Leisure Match accounting for the majority at over 45 million. Fruit Night and Angry Birds, relying on download figures and advertising revenues, attained merely over 20 million. Temple Escape, having been online for only 7 days, had yet to finalize settlements with all platforms. However, given its alarming 200 million downloads and advertising revenue, its earnings were expected to exceed 300 million. After reviewing the report, Zhou Yuqin remarked, "Old Zheng, the operation of Leisure Match is crucial. We must avoid any missteps." Zheng Tong nodded in agreement, affirming his understanding. Currently, Leisure Match continues in active development, having reached 7,500 levels, with the development team aiming for 9,999 levels. Zhou Yuqin inquired, "What is the highest level completed by the top players?" Zheng Tong replied, "Less than 1,000 levels. By the way, Brother Chun, the operations department has devised a method to attract players by rewarding the first 50 players to clear the 3,000th, 5,000th, 8,000th, and final levels." Zhou Yuqin's interest piqued. He said, "Do elaborate." Zheng Tong explained, "They propose to reward the first player with 500,000, the second with 300,000, the third with 200,000, the fourth to 10th with 100,000 each, and the remaining with 50,000. Zhou Yuqin pondered, "That seems rather stingy. If we are to proceed, let us be generous. Double the number of recipients to 100 and increase the rewards accordingly. The first prize will be 1 million. The second 700,000, the third 500,000, the fourth to 6th 300,000 each, the 7th to 10th 200,000 each, the 10th to 20th 100,000 each, and the remaining 80 players will receive 50,000. Zheng Tong chuckled, "With such rewards, players will surely go wild." Zhou Yuqin affirmed, "That is precisely the intent. Furthermore, instruct the development team to increase the difficulty of these 4 levels, forbidding the use of any items. To pass, players must showcase their true skills." Zheng Tong nodded, "Understood. Brother Chen, given Temple Escape's impressive performance, should we not reward the development team?" Zhou Yuqin replied, "Proceed as per the usual protocol." Shortly thereafter, Yueqin Game Company issued an announcement, rewarding the first 100 players to clear the 3,000th, 5,000th, 8,000th, and final levels of Leisure Match. Upon discovering the first prize was 1 million, prospective competitors became frenzied. For an entire week, the revenue from Leisure Match and items and advertisements surpassed 30 million, before settling around 20 million. The modest investment yielded unexpectedly substantial returns, even surprising Zhou Yuqin himself. The following day, Zhou Yuqin traveled to Pingcheng to meet with Shun Shiyan, spending 36 billion to acquire 22 villas. Shun Shiyan expressed a desire to head to Guangqing immediately. But Zhou Yuqin interjected, "Shiyan, do you know what day after tomorrow is?" "What day?" Zhou Yuqin rolled his eyes, exasperated. "Your sister's birthday." Shun Shiyan smacked his forehead. "How could I forget?" Zhou Yuqin continued, "I plan to host a birthday banquet for your sister, gathering friends and family together. In front of everyone. I will propose to her. What do you think?" Shun Shiyan exclaimed, "That sounds wonderful." Zhou Yuqin added, "You will accompany me back. But do not mention my proposal to your sister." Shun Shiyan gave an okay gesture. "No problem. Brother-in-law, have you bought a diamond ring for her?" Zhou Yuqin replied, "Of course I have." Shun Shiyan, curious, asked, "How many carats?" Zhou Yuqin answered, "A 5-carat pink diamond." Shun Shiyan gasped, "How much did that cost?" Zhou Yuqin replied, $1 million. I had it secretly auctioned on Hong Kong Island. Shun Shiyan sighed, "My sister is truly fortunate." Zhou Yuqin urged, "Hurry and buy a plane ticket. After the birthday banquet, you can head to Guangqing." Shun Shiyan lamented, Why must I always be the one to suffer? Chapter 330. A birthday surprise on the day of Shun Jingyun's birthday. It just so happened to be a Saturday. At 6 in the evening, Zhou Yuqin drove Shun Jingyun to the renowned Starry Sky Hotel in Yunhai. Upon exiting the car, Shun Jingyun sighed. Darling, it's just a birthday. We could have simply had dinner at home. Wait, Xin. What are you doing here? Spotting Luo Xin standing not far ahead, Shun Jingyun felt a bit dazed. Luo Xin approached her with a smile. Of course I'm here to celebrate your birthday. Not just me. Our department is here too. Shun Jingyun turned to Zhou Yuqin. Did you arrange this? Zhou Yuqin confirmed, indeed. Luo Xin linked arms with Shun Jingyun. Your husband is planning a surprise for you. Come on, everyone is waiting. Shun Jingyun shot Zhou Yuqin a glare and said to Luo Xin, right now, I feel more shocked than surprised. They took the elevator to the 9th floor of the Starry Sky Hotel. Luo Xin opened the banquet hall door, and a wave of enthusiastic applause and cheers erupted. The hall was adorned in a warm and romantic manner, with colorful balloons adorning the walls and dazzling yet cozy lighting, creating a scene that could only be described as breathtaking. Shun Jingyun scanned the room and spotted Shen Chenggang, Daiwan, Shen Shiyan, Zhou Qingjian, Su Xiuwan, Zhou Qing, along with many colleagues and close friends, totaling nearly 30 people. They applauded while smiling at Shun Jingyun. Covering her mouth, Shun Jingyun displayed a look of disbelief. Mom. Little Yaya, with her short legs, dashed towards Shun Jingyun. Shun Jingyun quickly picked her up, asking, Aren't you at your grandparents' house? Little Yaya giggled. Uncle said we were going to celebrate your birthday tonight, so he brought us here. Happy birthday, Mommy. After saying this, little Yaya kissed Shun Jingyun's cheek and presented her with a drawing. Shun Jingyun unfolded the artwork, depicting their family playing on the grass, unmistakably portraying them together. Thank you. Sweetheart, Shun Jingyun said, kissing little Yaya. Zhou Yuqin smiled. Hand little Yaya to me. You go greet everyone. Shun Jingyun passed little Yaya to Zhou Yuqin, gritting her teeth. Tonight, I'm settling the score with you when we get home. Zhou Yuqin shrugged. We'll see about that. Shun Jingyun greeted everyone in turn and then turned her gaze towards Su Xiuwan, saying, Auntie, it's merely a birthday celebration. Was it truly necessary for you to rush back from the northeast? Su Xiuwan replied with a smile. Today marks a significant occasion, and I naturally wish to witness it in person. Shun Jingyun, somewhat perplexed, asked, What occasion is so significant? Su Xiuwan revealed a mysterious expression, saying, You will understand soon enough. Shun Jingyun remarked, I have a feeling today harbors some sort of conspiracy. Isn't that right, Mom? Daiwan interjected. It is merely to celebrate your birthday. What conspiracy could there be? Shun Jingyun countered. Then why did you usher us out, claiming we should enjoy a world for two? Daiwan responded. It is to provide you with a surprise. Shun Jingyun sighed. I am utterly bewildered. Nonetheless, I am truly delighted to see everyone gathered here. At that moment, the door swung open. Hotel staff wheeled in a cart laden with an array of exquisite dishes and bottles of fine wine and beverages. For today's celebration was a buffet. As music began to play, Shun Jingyun's best friend, the celebrated singer Yang Lei, appeared on stage, performing a warm and melodious song that earned her a resounding applause. After her performance, Yang Lei gazed down at Shun Jingyun, saying, Darling, happy birthday. Did you expect me to come? Shun Jingyun ascended the stage and embraced Yang Lei, exclaiming, How did you manage to find the time to come? Yang Lei smiled. Today is your momentous day. How could I not be here? Shun Shiyan announced, Ladies and gentlemen, let us extend our warmest applause to celebrate today's birthday star. Shun Jingyun, alongside our illustrious singer, Yang Lei, as they perform a duet. The audience erupted in applause and cheers. Shun Jingyun confidently announced, Singing is certainly no issue. However, once we finish, we will invite others to join in. Let the microphone never cease. Agreed? A chorus of yes echoed from the crowd. Yang Lei suggested, Darling, shall we sing that song from our high school New Year's Eve party? Shun Jingyun nodded, Certainly. Both were ethereal beauties, their singing talents rivaling even professional artists. Their duet resonated like celestial music, captivating the audience, who momentarily forgot to eat, wholly absorbed in the performance. Su Xiuwan praised, Daijia, Jingyun sings beautifully. Daiwan replied with a smile, She used to study singing and even aspired to be a star, but we didn't agree. Su Xiuwan remarked, If Jingyun were to become a star, she would undoubtedly be a diva of the highest caliber. Upon concluding their song, Shun Jingyun pointed at Shen Shiyan, who had been teasing from the audience. Sure too, you were the one causing a ruckus just now. Now it's your turn to come up. Shen Shiyan feigned dismay. No way. Sister, you're exacting revenge without delay. Shen Jingyun laughed. Enough chatter. Will you come up or not? Shen Shiyan puffed up his chest. Fine, I'll go. Amidst the audience's applause, he strode confidently onto the stage. Shen Jingyun handed him the microphone and descended with Yang Lei to enjoy some food. Shen Shiyan selected a slow ballad, but his singing was comically off-key, drawing laughter from the audience. He was so absorbed in his performance that the hilarity only intensified. The director of the taxation department, Zhang Yiming, couldn't he help but chuckle, remarking, "Old Shun, didn't you say sure to frequented karaoke? This level is quite underwhelming. Isn't it? You're not much better." Shen Qinggang retorted, "This kid can't hold a candle to my singing." Zhang Yiming quipped, "You truly lack self-awareness. But honestly, I haven't felt this relaxed in a long time." Shen Qinggang agreed. Indeed, being with the youth rejuvenates one's spirit. Meanwhile, Yang Lei and Shun Jingyun were engaged in conversation. "Jingyun, to be honest, are you the internet singer Huayu?" Since the release of her song Possible, it had taken the internet by storm, amassing 60 million downloads. After returning from the lighthouse country, Zhou Yuqing had penned another song for her, Legend, which had also shaken the music industry. Currently, Legend had surpassed Possible with downloads exceeding 80 million, trailing Zhou Yuqing's Irrelevant Romance by merely 20 million. "How could you think I am Huayu?" Shen Jingyun feigned surprise. Yang Lei replied, "Stop pretending. I may not have recognized Possible, but Legend is unmistakably you." Shen Jingyun conceded with a smile. "All right, I admit it's me." Yang Lei inquired, "What about Wu Jie? Is he your partner?" Shen Jingyun retorted, "Who else could possess such a trite name as Wuming Wu Jie?" Yang Lei chuckled, "That's true. Jingyun, do you intend to live anonymously as an internet singer for life?" Shen Jingyun clarified, "Singing is merely our passion, not our profession." Yang Lei sighed in relief, "That's good to hear." Shen Jingyun was taken aback. "What do you mean?" Yang Lei grinned, "I wish to purchase the rights to Legend and Possible. Are you willing to sell?" Shen Jingyun shot her a glance. "Are you offering $1 or 50 cents?" Yang Lei replied, $1.50 is acceptable." Shen Jingyun dismissed, "Let us not kid around. That lacks sincerity. Given that you traveled so far to celebrate my birthday, I'll prepare a song rights agreement for you tomorrow. You can sing any of my songs in performances or recordings without issue." Yang Lei wrapped her arm around Shen Jingyun's neck and planted a kiss on her cheek, exclaiming, "Jingyun, I truly adore you." Shen Jingyun wiped her cheek in mock disgust. "Yang Lei, how repulsive. By the way, where's my birthday gift? You didn't come empty-handed, did you?" Yang Lei replied, "Of course not. You are now a world-renowned author. So I bought you a collection of the top 10 best-selling English novels in North America." Shen Jingyun was left speechless. "You can't even give a birthday gift without reminding me to study. I truly appreciate it." Yang Lei proudly stated, "No need to mention it." As the host of the birthday banquet, Shen Jingyun could not solely attend to Yang Lei. After exchanging pleasantries, she and Zhou Yuqing each took a glass of red wine and made their rounds in the banquet hall, expressing gratitude to everyone present. Once Shen Shiyan had initiated his off-key performance, the atmosphere relaxed entirely. Even Zhou Qingjian belted out a rock song, elevating the ambience to a crescendo. The cuisine provided by the Starry Sky Hotel was of the highest quality, and as guests savored the music, they exchanged drinks, filling the birthday celebration with laughter. When the guests had nearly finished their meals, the banquet hall lights suddenly dimmed. All except Shen Jingyun were aware that the main event was about to unfold. Indeed, when the lights brightened once more, Zhou Yuqing stood center stage, microphone in hand, gazing deeply at Shen Jingyun. He took a deep breath and slowly began, "Jingyun, today is your birthday, and it is also the day I feel most anxious. Ever since that incident 5 years ago, I thought I would never believe in love again. Until I met you. During the time we have spent together, you have completely opened my heart, allowing me to believe that love truly exists in this world. It was merely that I had not encountered it until now. Today, I have composed a song for you, titled The Rest of Our Lives, and I hope you will enjoy it." As I listened to Zhou Yuqing's heartfelt confession on stage, Shen Jingyun seemed to grasp his intentions. Feeling both touched and filled with anticipation, the melodious tune began to play, and Zhou Yuqing began to sing. His voice was gentle and imbued with emotion, every note seemingly articulating his innermost feelings. The entire banquet hall fell into a profound silence, not a single sound to be heard. "The rest of our lives. Through wind and snow, it is you. In simplicity, it is you. In modesty, it is you. In glory, it is you. In tender warmth, it is you. In every gaze, it is you. The rest of our lives. In winter's snow, it is you. In spring's blossoms, it is you. In summer's rain, it is you. In autumn's gold, in every season's warmth and chill, it is you. In every gaze, it is you." The profound emotions contained within the lyrics were masterfully conveyed by Zhou Yuqing's near-masterful singing. Many young girls were moved to tears. As for Shen Jingyun, her feelings were even more pronounced. As the song neared its conclusion, Shen Shiyan approached Shen Jingyun, took her hand, and softly said, "Sister, come with me." Shen Jingyun was taken aback as Shen Shiyan led her onto the stage. Just as the song concluded, Zhou Yuqing set down the microphone, raised his hand, and snapped his fingers. A drone slowly ascended, gliding above the crowd and hovering before Shin Shuryan. He retrieved a box from the drone, opened it to reveal a pink diamond ring, which sparkled magnificently under the lights. Goodness, this is the pink heart auctioned on Hong Kong Island recently, worth $10 million. Exclaimed someone. $10 million? My heavens, that's equivalent to a modest villa. I couldn't help but envy Jingyun. If only I had a husband like that. Many girls in the audience gazed at the dazzling ring, their eyes sparkling with admiration. Zhou Yuqin knelt on one knee, gently proclaiming, Jingyun, meeting you is the greatest fortune of my life. For the rest of our days, you shall be my one and only. Will you marry me? Marry him. Marry him. Marry him. The crowd chanted in unison. All eyes were fixed upon Shin Jingyun. Tears sparkled in her eyes, and a blissful smile graced her lips as she extended her hand and said, I do. Amid the thunderous applause of friends and family, Zhou Yuqin placed the ring on her ring finger, and they embraced tightly. The applause and cheers grew even more fervent. Daiwan removed her glasses, wiping away tears, while the traditionally stoic Shin Qinggang could not help but redden his eyes. Zhou Qingjian extended his hand to him, chuckling, Brother Shun. Can we officially call each other in-laws now? Shin Qinggang laughed heartily, of course. Su Xiaowan handed Daiwan a tissue, saying, Mother-in-law, you are a university professor. It would be best to maintain a bit of composure. Daiwan accepted the tissue, smiling through her tears. Let the festivities commence. Shin Shuryan picked up a walkie-talkie and made a call. Moments later, a series of whooshing sounds erupted outside. Fireworks ascended into the sky, bursting with colorful brilliance that illuminated the entire night. Everyone flocked to the windows to admire the beautiful fireworks display. Aunt, look, how beautiful, little Yaya exclaimed, pointing excitedly at the fireworks. Zhou Qing smiled. Look over there, it's equally stunning. Zhou Yuqin, with his arm around Shun Jingyun's shoulder, remarked, Darling, how do you like this birthday gift? Chapter 332. The little aunt's family. Shun Jingyun glanced at the diamond ring on her hand and, with a hint of pride, replied, At first, I was quite moved, but now I feel a bit upset. Zhou Yuqin was taken aback, asking why. Shun Jingyun explained, because everyone knew the theme of today. Except for me, the main character. Zhou Yuqin shook his head, saying, That's not true. There's one other person who didn't know. Shin Jingyun inquired, Who? Zhou Yuqin chuckled, Little Yaya. Oh, you. Shin Jingyun playfully nudged him and rested her head on his shoulder, gazing dreamily at the fireworks. After the display, the older guests began to depart, and the banquet hall transformed into a vibrant realm for the young. Everyone sang, danced, and reveled joyfully. When Zhou Yuqin and Shun Jingyun finally returned home, it was already 1 o'clock in the morning. Little Yaya had long fallen asleep at Su Xiaowan's place, leaving the house empty. They exchanged glances and embraced each other tightly. Before long, clothes were strewn across the floor. Shun Jingyun exhibited an unusual assertiveness, initially gaining the upper hand, but her strength was soon subdued by Zhou Yuqin. After 2 hours of passionate entanglement, their fervor finally came to an end. The following morning, Zhou Yuqin awoke abruptly from a nightmare, sitting up straight. This was his first dream since practicing the Tai Chi visualization method. Shun Jingyun stirred awake from the commotion, blinking sleepily, and asked, Honey, what's wrong? Zhou Yuqin shook his head, replying, I had a nightmare. Shun Jingyun curiously inquired, What kind of nightmare? Zhou Yuqin recounted, I dreamt that the three of us were on a plane returning from the lighthouse country, and then the plane was shot down. Shin Jingyun laughed. Dreams are often the opposite of reality. Zhou Yuqin nodded. It's still early. You should sleep a little longer. Shin Jingyun replied softly. Okay, stay with me. Zhou Yuqin agreed. Sure. Just as they were about to drift back to sleep, Shin Jingyun's phone rang. Upon glancing at it, her demeanor brightened considerably. It was a call from her future mother-in-law, Su Xiaowan. Hello, Mom. It's me, Little Yaya. Little Yaya, it's Sunday. Why are you up so early? I can't sleep. Mommy, can you come pick me up? I want to go out and play. Shin Jingyun exchanged a wry look with Zhou Yuqin, helplessly saying, All right, we'll be there shortly. After hanging up, Shin Jingyun yawned and said, Honey, the princess has summoned us. Zhou Yuqin shrugged, saying, In this vast world, the princess is paramount. We should hurry. The two quickly dressed, freshened up, and rushed to Su Xiaowan's house. Little Yaya was already awake and, upon seeing them, dashed into Shun Jingyun's arms with her tiny legs. Shin Jingyun lifted her and asked, So, where do you want to go play today? Knowing her daughter well, Shun Jingyun suspected that if Little Yaya had called so early, there must be a scheme at play. Sure enough, Little Yaya giggled, Mommy, I want to go to the Elfin Amusement Park. Shin Jingyun playfully tapped her little nose, saying, I knew it. Su Xiaowan emerged from the kitchen, saying, Xiaoyu, Jingyun, you haven't tea at breakfast yet. Come sit down and eat together. Thank you, Auntie, Shun Jingyun replied. Su Xiaowan feigned dissatisfaction, saying, We are all family. There's no need for thanks. Shin Jingyun smiled. Yes, Auntie, I was wrong. I shouldn't be so polite. By the way, where are Uncle and Zhou Qing? I haven't seen them. Su Xiaowang remarked. Zhou Qing returned to school early this morning, while your uncle went to the highway entrance to pick someone up. Zhou Yuqin inquired with curiosity. Mom, who is Dad going to pick up? Su Xiaowang replied, your aunt and uncle. A flicker of joy crossed Zhou Yuqin's face as he exclaimed, that's wonderful. I haven't seen them in 5 or 6 years. Mom, is there a special reason for their visit to Yunhai? Su Xiaowang nodded, saying, they are coming to meet the in-laws. It turned out that Zhou Yuqin's cousin, Cheng Tao, had a girlfriend named Du Yi while studying at South China University, who hails from Yunhai. After graduation, Du Yi was offered a job at a financial company in Yunhai, while Cheng Tao chose to stay at South China University as a teacher. The distance of over 300 kilometers between Huashan City and Yunhai posed challenges for the couple, leading to inevitable misunderstandings in their relationship. Consequently, Cheng Tao decided to take the civil service exam. After 6 months of diligent preparation, he succeeded in securing a position at the Yunhai Forestry Bureau. Though the Forestry Bureau is not particularly prestigious within government circles and lacks significant authority, it offers a commendable salary and, most importantly, stability. The young couple was elated. Cheng Tao seized the opportunity to propose a meeting between their families, to which Du Yi readily agreed. The meeting was scheduled for today. After hearing this, Zhou Yuqin asked, where's Taozi staying now? It's been over half a month since he arrived, and you haven't been in touch with him? Su Xiaowang replied, I only just learned he has arrived in Yunhai. Xiaoqing, you are now a big boss. If Taozi needs anything in the future, you, as his cousin, must not stand idly by. Zhou Yuqin chuckled, understood. That guy used to be quite the handsome one. After years apart, I wonder if he has changed for the worse? Su Xiaowang retorted playfully. Taozi is still quite the handsome lad. Besides, even if he has changed, he will undoubtedly remain more attractive than you. After all, he has a solid foundation. Zhou Yuqin opened his mouth in exasperation. You truly are my mother. With a chuckle, Shen Jingyun could not help but laugh at Zhou Yuqin's dejected expression. After finishing breakfast, Zhou Yuqin glanced at the clock and noted it was nearly 9 o'clock. He asked, Mom, when will Dad and my aunt and uncle arrive? Su Xiaowang replied, you don't need to wait for them. Just take Ziyu out to play. Zhou Yuqin insisted, let's wait a bit longer. I haven't seen my aunt and uncle in 5 or 6 years. Since they have come all this way, I must meet them. Su Xiaowang waved her hand dismissively. No need. I've already arranged with your aunt to come over for dinner this afternoon, and they won't be going back tonight. You all should come home early. We can have a meal together. Zhou Yuqin smiled. That sounds delightful. It would be best to invite Taozi and his girlfriend over as well. Su Xiaowang replied. Taozi will definitely come, but his girlfriend might not. Zhou Yuqin agreed. All right, we will arrive before 5 o'clock. I'll make sure to enjoy a drink with my uncle. Soon, the family of 3 arrived at the Spirit Amusement Park. Being a Sunday, the park was bustling with children. As before, Zhou Yuqin splurged on a super VIP ticket, ensuring that the little girl had a splendid day of fun. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the family returned to Su Xiaowang's home. Aunt, Uncle, Taozi, it's been a while. Zhou Yuqin greeted them as he changed out of his slippers. Compared to 5 years ago, Aunt Zhou Yaling appeared noticeably older. Despite her designer attire and meticulous grooming, she could not hide the rough texture of her skin and the wrinkles on her face. Uncle Qing Yanqiu, who had spent years toiling on construction sites, bore sun-kissed, dark skin that made him look a decade older than Zhou Yaling. Nevertheless, Cheng Yanqiu maintained a good physique and had striking features, reminiscent of a handsome young man. In contrast, Cheng Tao was dressed far more stylishly, clad in a suit and sporting glasses. His dark, thick eyebrows, coupled with a striking resemblance to Cheng Yanqiu, exuded a scholarly aura that made it nearly impossible to see the traces of his childhood. Xiaoyu, Zhou Yaling stepped forward, her eyes glistening with emotion. It's been 5 years since we last met, and you've grown up. Zhou Yuqin could feel Zhou Yaling's affection and opened his arms for an embrace, smiling as he said, Aunt, my daughter is already over 3 years old. How could I not grow up? Zhou Yaling then turned to Shen Jingyun and her daughter, saying, so this is Jingyun and Xiaoya? Shen Jingyun smiled. Hello, aunt, uncle, and cousin. I am Shen Jingyun. Xiaoyu, greet them. Little Xiaoyu dutifully chimed. Hello, auntie, grandpa, and cousin. The room erupted in laughter at the little one's endearing greetings. Shen Jingyun, both amused and exasperated, remarked, Sweetheart, have you forgotten what to call your dad's brother? Of course, it's uncle. Oh no. Little Xiaoyu, resembling a miniature adult, slapped her forehead. I must have called it wrong. It should be cousin uncle. Cousin uncle, can you forgive me? Cheng Tao chuckled. Our little Xiaoyu is so adorable. Of course, cousin uncle will forgive you. Hello, sister-in-law. Zhou Yuqin teased. What is this? Are your eyes only for your sister-in-law? Can't you see me? Cheng Tao adjusted his glasses and jokingly replied, Cousin, when you and sister-in-law stand together, who do you think everyone will look at? Hey, Zhou Yuchen laughed, scolding. I just thought you looked more mature than before. I didn't expect your mouth to still be so annoying. Cheng Tao replied helplessly. Perhaps that's just the way it is. The leopard doesn't change its spots. After a round of pleasantries, everyone settled down. Zhou Yuchen smiled and asked, Aunt, Uncle, now that you have met your future daughter-in-law and in-laws, how do you feel? When can we toast to Tao Zi's wedding? At this question, Zhou Yaling and Cheng Yinshu's expressions darkened, and Cheng Tao furrowed his brow, causing an immediate shift in the room's atmosphere. Realizing something was amiss, Zhou Yuchen quickly inquired, Is there an issue? Zhou Yaling sighed and said, Yi is clearly a wonderful girl. Your uncle and I are very pleased with her. However, her parents' demands are simply too high for us to meet. Zhou Yuchen raised his eyebrows. What are the demands? Zhou Yaling continued. First, they require us to purchase a house in Yunhai that is no less than 120 square meters, and it must be in a school district. Additionally, the property deed must be in Yi's name. Secondly, the bride price is exorbitant. Zhou Yuchen laughed. I thought it was something significant. With both Taozi and Du Yi having housing loans, they could cover the down payment, and if you add a little, wouldn't that suffice for the house? As for the bride price, that's even simpler, just a mere 10,001. I'll cover it as a gift for Taozi. Be quiet, Su Xiaowang chided. If it were that simple, your aunt and uncle wouldn't be so troubled. The so-called school district house must be purchased outright, no loans allowed. And your aunt and uncle must bear the entire cost. Her family won't contribute a penny. And the bride price isn't 10,001. It's 1,000,001. Goodness, Zhou Yuchen exclaimed. Is this a marriage or a sale? Shen Jingyan added. A school district house over 120 square meters, even if it's in a less desirable area, would still cost around 5 million. Adding in renovations and a 1 million bride price, we're looking at a minimum of 7 million. Cheng Yinshu forced a wry smile and said, We have worked our entire lives, and we can't even come up with 1 million, let alone 7 million. Zhou Yuchen turned to Cheng Tao and asked, What do you mean, Taozi? Cheng Tao's expression was extraordinarily calm as he simply uttered 2 words, break up. A glimmer of appreciation flashed in Zhou Yuchen's eyes. The young man was not dazed. Had he compelled his parents to find a way to buy a house and gather the betrothal gifts, Zhou Yuchen would have certainly had a stern lesson for him. Cheng Yinshu opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but the words caught in his throat. It was futile. The other party's demands were too steep, and they simply could not afford it. Zhou Yuchen inquired, Does Du Yi have a younger brother? Cheng Tao nodded, saying, Indeed. Her brother is 3 years younger than her, and I suspect they want the 1 million betrothal money for him. Zhou Yuchen pressed on, And what about Du Yi? Did she not voice any objections to her parents' excessive demands? Zhou Yaling sighed and said, Yi is a good child. She was unwilling right from the start, and after being slapped by her mother, she left the hotel in tears. Zhou Yuchen pondered for a moment and stated, I believe this matter ultimately hinges on Du Yi. If she has the courage to defy her parents and insists on marrying Taozi, then no one can do anything about it. Cheng Tao shook his head with a bitter smile, saying, Countless facts have proven that without their parents' blessing, it is exceedingly difficult for a young couple to attain genuine happiness. Zhou Yuchen responded directly, There is another way. Let Du Yi conceive your child. By then, even if her parents oppose it, it will be of no consequence. Zhou Qingjian, who had been silent, interjected, Stop suggesting such foolish ideas. Zhou Yuchen retorted, Father, parents who truly care for their daughter would never make such demands. Everyone understands that even if the man is wealthy and endures his anger to meet the woman's demands, this issue will inevitably become a flashpoint for disputes after marriage. Given her parents' stance and the deep love between the two young people, the only solution is to have children before marriage. Once the child is born, everything will fall into place. Just as Cheng Tao was about to speak, his phone suddenly rang. Picking it up, he saw it was a call from Du Yi. Chapter 334. Directly registering for marriage. Cheng Tao, where are you? I'm at my third uncle's house. What's wrong? I had a huge fight with my parents and have nowhere to go. Cheng Tao's expression changed dramatically, and he immediately stood up, saying, I'll come to get you. I'm at the KFC on Xingyang Road. Okay, wait for me. Hanging up, Cheng Tao said, Yi had a big argument with her parents. I'm going to pick her up. Brother, may I use your car? Zhou Yuchen stood up with a chuckle, saying, I'll go with you. It's a good opportunity to meet my future sister-in-law. Su Xiaowang added, Xiaocheng, if you can bring Yi home for a meal, that would be wonderful. Zhou Yuchen made an okay gesture, replying, No problem. On the road, Cheng Tao enviously remarked, Cousin, your car must be worth 2 or 3 million, right? Zhou Yuchen nodded. About that. Did you also buy the house where my third uncle and aunt live? Yes. I purchased 2 apartments in Lijiang Garden. They are close by for easier care. How much did that cost? Less than 90 million for both. Cheng Tao gasped, Cousin, which company do you work for? This is astonishing. Who would hire a former prisoner like me? I ventured into entrepreneurship on my own, and fortunately, I succeeded, which allowed me to buy a house. You are impressive. Unlike me, I lack the courage to start a business. My original plan was to become a teacher at Yunhai University. But then things happened, and I had no choice but to pursue entrepreneurship. If there had been another way, I would not have ventured out. Perhaps this is simply the way of the times, Zhou Yuqin observed, glancing at him. Taozi, do you have any aspirations? Cheng Tao shrugged, saying, brother, we are adults. Who still talks about aspirations? Zhou Yuqin self-deprecatingly replied, that is true. 15 minutes later, the car came to a steady stop outside the KFC on Qingyang Road. As Zhou Yuqin stepped out, he saw a girl rush out from the store and embrace Cheng Tao, sobbing uncontrollably. Without a doubt, this girl was Du Yi. Yi, don't cry. I will take care of everything. Cheng Tao consoled her, feeling equally distressed. After a while, Du Yi lifted her head from Cheng Tao's embrace, gazing at him with swollen eyes, asking, are you going to break up with me? Cheng Tao paused for a moment before saying, your parents' demands are something I could never meet, even in 10 years. Du Yi wiped her tears and asked, do you love me? Cheng Tao nodded without hesitation, declaring, yes. I love you very much. Du Yi then pulled out her household registration book from her bag, stating, I don't want a house or betrothal gifts. If you truly love me, then let us register for marriage tomorrow. What a girl of both softness and strength. Zhou Yuqin was greatly impressed. His gaze towards Du Yi filled with admiration. Cheng Tao was momentarily stunned, then overwhelmed with emotion, choked out, I vow to love you for a lifetime. For a girl to resolutely choose to marry him, if Cheng Tao hesitated now, what kind of man would he be? The two embraced tightly, noticing the onlookers around them. Zhou Yuqin coughed lightly and said, well, Taozi, shall we head home first and discuss the registration matter? It was only then that Du Yi realized there was another person standing nearby, her face turning crimson as she hurriedly tucked the household registration book away. Cheng Tao said, let me introduce you. This is my cousin Zhou Yuqin. Du Yi greeted, hello, brother Chun. Zhou Yuqin smiled, hello? How should I address you? Du Yi replied, you can just call me Yi. Zhou Yuqin nodded, saying, all right. My parents and Taozi's parents are at home and would like to invite you for a meal. What do you think? Du Yi nodded, sure. Zhou Yuqin said, then let's get in the car. Before long, the three returned to Lijiang Garden. As soon as Du Yi entered, everyone stood up. After some cordial exchanges, Zhou Yuqin directly stated, Aunt, Uncle, Yi has brought her household registration book and wishes to register for marriage with Taozi tomorrow. Huh, what? Cheng Yanxiu and Zhou Yaling were left in a daze. Du Yi bit her lip and said, Uncle, Aunt, the reason my parents made such unreasonable demands was to dissuade Cheng Tao. They hope I will marry the son of my mother's old classmate, but I refuse. I only want to be with Taozi, and I ask for your understanding. Upon hearing Du Yi's words, the gazes of everyone towards her shifted significantly. It was clear to all that Du Yi's actions were a gamble of her entire life on Cheng Tao. Shen Jingyan tugged at Zhou Yuqin's sleeve and whispered, this girl is very courageous. Zhou Yuqin nodded, indeed. Zhou Yaling's tears flowed with emotion. She held Du Yi's hand, saying, what merit does Taozi possess to deserve such a sacrifice from you? Child, rest assured, if you marry Taozi, I will treat you as my own daughter. Du Yi immediately broke down in tears, embracing Zhou Yaling as she sobbed. Her greatest fear was that Cheng Tao's family would reject her due to her parents' exorbitant demands. At last, a sense of relief washed over him. 10 minutes later, the family gathered around the dining table. After several rounds of drinks and a variety of dishes savored, Zhou Qingjian inquired, Taozi, where are you residing now? Cheng Tao replied, I have rented a modest apartment of about 40 square meters near my workplace. Zhou Qingjian remarked, if you and Yi are to register your marriage tomorrow, it is high time to consider purchasing a home. Cheng Tao sighed, the housing prices in Yunhai are escalating daily. Given my current circumstances, it is utterly unaffordable. Cheng Yanqiu interjected, your mother and I can contribute 800,000. That should suffice for a down payment. Cheng Tao responded with a bitter smile, the prices for homes in the second and third rings of Yunhai have already soared to 30,000 per square meter. At this rate, they will continue to rise. With EEs and my salaries, repaying the mortgage would leave us barely able to sustain our basic living. Zhou Yaling exclaimed, are the housing prices in major cities truly this high? That is rather alarming. It's all right, Yaling, Su Xiaowan reassured, gesturing towards Zhou Yuqin. Your nephew has become quite the affluent individual. If Taozi is in need of funds, he can borrow from him, interest-free. Xiao Chun, do speak up. Zhou Yuqin chuckled. Since you have decreed it, what more can I say? Cheng Tao's face lit up with joy. Brother, are you truly willing to lend me money? Zhou Yuqin replied. Yi's parents proposed a wise condition. If you buy, make it a property in a good school district. If my predictions hold true, within 5 years, properties in prime locations will appreciate by at least 2 to 3 times. Particularly, homes near reputable schools could potentially multiply 4 to 5 times in value. Taozi, allow me to share a profitable strategy with you. After you two register your marriage tomorrow, consider viewing school district properties in the second ring, ideally with an area exceeding 150 square meters. Whatever shortfall remains, I shall cover. Once purchased, you can reside there for 2 to 3 years. When the prices soar, you can sell it and then acquire a 120 square meter property in the third ring. This way, not only will you repay my loan, but you might also earn a profit of 1 to 2 million. Chung Tao furrowed his brow. The average price for school district properties in the second ring is 30,000. A 150 square meter unit amounts to 4.5 million. Including parking and renovations, it nearly reaches 5 million. Having worked for 2 years, I've only saved 100,000. With my parents' contribution of 800,000, we still fall short by 4,100,000. Du Yi added, I have also saved 100,000. Zhou Yuqin regarded Du Yi with admiration. Taozi, I can lend you 4.5 million, interest-free. However, as we are family, we must keep clear accounts. You will need to provide me with a written note. Of course. Chung Tao raised his glass. Cousin, thank you. Chung Yinshu also lifted his glass. Xiao Chun, allow me to toast you as well. Your generosity alleviates a significant burden for our family. Zhou Yuqin replied, Uncle, Taozi, we are all family here. No need for such formality. The three clinked their glasses and drank deeply. Zhou Qingjin smiled. Taozi, once you purchase a home, you will have truly settled in Yunhai. Should you require assistance in the future, do not hesitate to call your brother. Chung Tao nodded. I will certainly rely on you, cousin. Zhou Yeling could not help but inquire. Xiao Chun, what line of work are you in? How have you accumulated such wealth? Zhou Yuqin responded, I have established 2 companies, which could be deemed a successful venture. Chung Tao pressed on. Brother, what are the names of your companies? If others inquire, I would feel embarrassed if I were